Chapter 1 Brother Xian, you are a good person. Jiancheng, Chu Xian waited at the entrance of Oscar's bar. Life is not easy, just unemployed Chu Xian do chauffeur. Let go of me, I'll call the police. Little sister is so handsome. You're alone. Have a drink with me. Bar door is very noisy. Chu Xian frowned at a few drunken punks to a girl surrounded. Frivolous words, there are two punks even reached out to pull the girl. What are you doing? Let go of her. Chu Xian did not think that much. Encountering this kind of thing, any good citizen with a proper outlook would come to the rescue. Who the hell are you? Mind your own business. A few punks turned their heads and viciously warned Chu Xian not to mind his own business. Chu Xian threw away the cigarette in his hand and rushed towards those punks. A few punks were not good people in the first place, and they were not afraid of the large number of people, and they punched and kicked Chu Xian. Chu Xian protected the girl behind himself and carried it off. At this time, one of the punks carrying a beer bottle to Chu Xian's head ruthlessly smashed down. The bottle broken, Chu Xian only feel the sky spinning, straight down on the ground. Seeing that the matter has become big, a few punks sobered up half of the wine, a few people scattered and fled. The girl squatted beside Chu Xian with a worried expression. When Chu Xian woke up, he was in a hospital emergency department bed. Ding, congratulations to the host for binding the red packet pickup system. The host can pick up the randomly dropped red packets and unwrap the red packets to get a generous reward. Red packet pickup system? Chu Xian couldn't care less about his headache. The expression on his face was ecstatic, and his heart was even more excited. You've woken up. That's really great. Chen Mushui, who had just finished paying the medical bills, returned to the bedside, and seeing Chu Xian sitting up, a smile finally surfaced on her haggard face. Thank you for saving me. It's all right, the road sees the injustice and pulls out the knife to help. Chu Xian smiled and said, My name is Chen Mushui, I work part-time in a bar. If it wasn't for you helping me tonight, I really don't know what to do. You're a girl, especially a pretty girl like you, or don't go to a bar to work part-time. Chu Xian heard that Chen Mushui was working part-time in a bar, and also kindly reminded a sentence. After all, in a place like a bar where fish and dragons mix, there are all kinds of people. Aha! Chen Mushui nodded heavily. I also came over here for the first time to work part-time, and I didn't expect to encounter this kind of thing. Chen Mushui was also a bit scared afterward. Today it was fortunate that she was lucky and encountered Chu Xian, who was willing to pull out a sword to help her, or else she really didn't dare to think about what would happen. Chu Xian looked at Chen Mushui, and the corners of his mouth involuntarily rose. He saw a red packet floating around Chen Mushui, and as soon as he reached out, the system's beep sounded in his head. Ding, congratulations to the host for picking up a red packet and obtaining 100,000 yuan in cash. Ding, congratulations to the host for picking up 100,000 yuan in cash. It has been deposited into the host's bank account with the tail number 8190, please check and receive it. Crap. Chu Xian was shocked. $100,000 in cash. Chu Xian was truly not expecting to have so much money. Chu Xian got down from the hospital bed and raised his head to look around. Almost everyone had a red envelope floating around them. Sent out. Chu Xian held back his inner surprise, but in his heart, he could not help but cry out. Eh? Chen Mushui froze as she looked at Chu Xian, and she felt that Chu Xian was unexpectedly a little hyperactive. Mr. Chu, are you all right? Do you want me to ask the doctor to check you again? Thank you, I'm fine. Chu Xian walked out of the hospital bed and said with a smile towards Chen Mushui. After Chu Xian finished speaking, he strolled around this side of the hospital's emergency department, picking up all of those eye-catching red envelopes. The system beeps in Chu Xian's mind were also frantically reminding. Ding, congratulations to the host for picking up a red packet and obtaining 20,000 yuan in cash. Ding, congratulations to the host for picking up a red packet and obtaining 50,000 yuan in cash. Ding, congratulations to the host for picking up a red packet and obtaining 200,000 yuan in cash. Ding, congratulations to the host for picking up a red packet and obtaining 20 million yuan in cash, master-level medical skills. All the way to Chu Xian's side of the emergency department director, Chu Xian picked up a red packet that not only opened 20 billion in cash, but it also opened master-level medical technique. Crap. Awesome. Chu Xian had just picked up hundreds of red envelopes in one breath, and the cash alone added up to more than $30 million. The most crucial thing was that he realized that in addition to the cash rewards, there were actually skill rewards. Only at the moment, skill rewards were very scarce. After all, he had only obtained one skill reward after picking up hundreds of red envelopes. Chen Mushui had been following Chu Xian around, watching Chu Xian stop to reach out for a while, and the corners of his mouth rising to reveal an excited smile. She was very worried about Chu Xian's state. After all, Chu Xian had been hit on the head by the punk with a bottle. It might not be certain that Chu Xian's current state was the aftermath. "Mr. Chu, are you really all right?" Chen Mushui asked without any concern. No problem. Your body is great, and you'll be able to eat well." Chu Xian looked at Chen Mushui and said with a smile, "Don't call me Mr. Chu, it sounds quite awkward. I'm not much older than you, so call me Brother Xian." "Brother Xian." Chen Mushui had a very soulful voice, and when a Brother Xian shouted out, Chu Xian immediately had a tingling sensation. "I really don't have anything going on, you don't have to worry. Let me add your WeChat, I'll give you the medical expenses." Chu Xian knew that it was Chen Mushui who had sent himself to the hospital, and not only did he busy himself, he also advanced several $1,000s in medical expenses. "The first time I saw you, I was so happy to see you, and I was so happy to see you." Although Chen Mushui's family background is ordinary, but she still knows the truth that a person should know how to repay kindness. "You are still a student now, right? See, you are still doing part-time work, this money will not need you to pay out." Chu Xian heard Chen Mushui say this, his heart is also very pleased. "But Brother Xian, you..." Chen Mushui looked at Chu Xian wearing a chauffeur's clothes, and also knew that Chu Xian's economic conditions were not very rich. "It's fine, your Brother Xian, I'm a part-time chauffeur to experience life." Although Chen Mushui did not finish her sentence, Chu Xian also heard what Chen Mushui meant and hurriedly explained. After all, he also came from the university, a few $1,000s, although not much, but for a college student is not a small amount of money. Chen Mushui pursed her lips and slightly lowered her head. She really needed this money. Her family conditions were average, her parents favored sons over daughters, and even her college tuition was earned from her part-time job. These several $1,000s were her living expenses for this semester, and when she paid the bill just now, she was planning to eat only one meal a day for this semester. "How about this, you treat me to a meal as a thank you. You can keep the medical fee, your Brother Xian, I am really not poor in money." Chu Xian said with a smile. He is really not poor in money now. Just now in such a short while, he picked up more than $30 million in cash, a few $1,000s in medical expenses he naturally will not put on his mind. "Well, Brother Xian, you're really a good person." Chen Mushui nodded, her clear big eyes looked at Chu Xian and said very sincerely. Don't, I say you this little nymph, how can you still send me a good person card?" Chu Xian said with a heartfelt smile as the corners of his mouth rose. "Ah." Chen Mushui's white and tender face instantly blushed, and only after reacting did she hurriedly explain, "Brother Xian, I don't mean that, what I mean is that you are really nice." Chapter 2 picked up a Lamborghini Big Bull A. It was already more than 2 o'clock in the morning when I came out from the hospital, and it was so late that the doors of Chen Mushui's dormitory were already closed. "I will give you a room in a hotel near the school. That's the only way to go." Hui Hotel, the highest-end 5-star hotel in Jiangcheng, Riverview room, 1,588 yuan a night. Chu Xian directly opened 2 rooms. When he learned that a night stay would cost 1,588 yuan, Chen Mushui stood behind Chu Xian and gently pulled Chu Xian's clothes with her hand, saying softly, "Brother Xian, the price here is too expensive, why don't you change it? It's this time of the day, so don't change it, rest early." Chu Xian knew that Chen Mushui was paying by the money. After all, 1,588 yuan a night for the hotel, in his place before, that was certainly also not able to give up. But now it was different. He is now a hanging ratio with the system, not to mention, just now so a moment ago picked up more than 30 million, there is money in his pocket, his heart is not panicked at all. That's good. Chen Mushui looked around the hotel hall, this kind of high-end 5-star hotel, she had never come in before. Checked in, the two rode the elevator upstairs together. "Sleep early, good night." Lying on the soft big bed, Chu Xian sent Chen Mushui a good night message and went straight to sleep. As for Chen Mushui, for a while, she lost some sleep. Brother Xian, he is indeed a good person. Brother Xian, he also looks quite handsome, I wonder if he has a girlfriend? If it wasn't for Brother Xian today, the consequences would really be unimaginable. The grace of saving my life, I can't repay it. If Brother Xian didn't have a girlfriend, then it would be good. Chen Mushui lay on the bed, closing her eyes was the smile of Chu Xian with the corners of his mouth rising like a spring breeze on her face. Sleeping until more than 9 o'clock in the morning, Chu Xian stretched his back and took out his cell phone to check his bank account balance. It wasn't a dream. There really was more than $30 million. Xu Xian looked at the account balance, and joy ran through his heart. Next, he set a goal of picking up at least 100 red envelopes every day. After becoming violently rich, Xu Xian did not lose himself. It was also unknown if Chen Muxue had woken up yet. Xu Xian got up and stood in front of the floor-to-ceiling window with a great view of the entire river city. This is life. Xu Xian sighed, lit up a cigarette in his hand and gulped it down. A cigarette was just finished when his cell phone vibrated and he saw that it was a message from Chen Muxue. Brother Xian, did you get up? Just woke up. Brother Xian, I will treat you to lunch at noon, and I have a class at school in the afternoon. Okay. You can come over. Seeing Chen Muxue again, Xu Xian realized that Chen Muxue's face value was really very high, especially at this moment. She was still veiled. Her skin was like jade, delicate and smooth. Her eyes were clear and bright, deep and charming. The entire person looked very soft, without too much modification, but just charming. Xu Xian swallowed his saliva, and two words suddenly appeared in his mind: Yukai. Zhangchang was the vice-capital city of Hui Province, near the river and pleasant to live in. Yawen recently opened a new Hunan cuisine restaurant, and I heard that the flavor was very authentic. Chen Muxue looked at Xu Xian and timidly asked, Brother Xian, can we go eat this at noon? Xu Xian smiled and responded. Coming down from upstairs, Xu Jiang took the room card and went to check out. At this point in time, there were a bit too many people checking out of the room, but Xu Xian wasn't in a hurry at all. His expression was stable, and inwardly, he was very excited. Ding, congratulate the host to pick up a red packet, get cash 500,000 yuan. Ding, congratulate the host to pick up a red packet, get cash 2 million yuan. Ding, congratulate the host to pick up a red packet, get cash 1 million yuan. Ding, congratulate the host to pick up a red packet, get Ilan Yaju School District Room 50 sets. I shit. Oh, my god. That's great. Waiting to check out of the room for such a short while, Xu Xian picked up 16 red packets, obtaining 13 million yuan in cash not to mention, but also obtained 50 sets of Ilan Yaju School District rooms. Although Xu Xian was not a local of Jiangcheng, he had been living in Jiangcheng since he started college. He had been in college for 4 years, and then worked for 3 years after graduation. Xu Xian was 24 years old this year, and had spent a third of the first half of his life in Jiangcheng. He had once planned to settle in Jiangcheng as well, so naturally, he had had the intention of buying a house. He had paid attention to Ilan Yaju before, but it was just a passing interest. Ilan elegant residence in the city center of the most prosperous area, the average price of 30,000 square meters, the key is also more than 200 square meters of large households. The value of a random suite is more than $6 million. With his previous income level, he could not afford to buy in his life. 50 sets of Ilanya residence school district rooms, even if each set is worth 6 million, that is also worth 300 million. Xu Xian tried to act as calm as possible, but in the face of 50 sets of school district houses, the corners of his mouth still involuntarily rose slightly. Xu Xian wasn't the type of person who was very flamboyant, but he now wanted to send a friend circle to show off. Family members, who understands picking up a few red envelopes at random, one's worth $100 million. The Yawen shopping center was not far away in the neighborhood. Xu Xian and Chen Muxue walked for less than 10 minutes before the two of them arrived at this side of the mall. Due to the good reputation of the newly opened Hunan restaurant, even at noon on a weekday, there were quite a lot of guests. Brother Xian, I'm going to the restroom. HM. Xu Xian nodded and followed Chen Muxue all the way over on foot as he picked up another 50 to 60 red envelopes, all of which were cash red envelopes and added up to more than $10 million. Xu Xian sat in his seat, took his cell phone and checked his account balance, instantly having a feeling of being on top. When he had just woken up in the morning, the account balance was 32 million yuan. Right now, the account balance was 56 million yuan. In just a moment, there was another $24 million in the account. By the way, there are also 50 sets of schoolhouses in Ilan Yaju. According to the current market price, there is at least 300 million. Money came too easily, there was always an unreal feeling. Xu Xian pinched his arm, and the pain he could feel confirmed that this was not a dream. Yo, isn't this my ex-boyfriend who was dismissed from the company and can only run a chauffeur? Xu Xian sniffed and frowned as he looked up. Isn't this my ex-girlfriend who resents the poor and loves the rich and is heartless? Xu Xian looked up at Lu Qingqing, and by her side stood a middle-aged man in his 40s with a big belly. In Chu Xian's 24 years of life, the one thing he regretted the most was becoming boyfriend and girlfriend with Lu Qingqing. Chu Xian, what the hell are you? What gives you the right to say that I dislike the poor and love the rich and am heartless? Do you deserve it? I've been delayed by you for 5 years of my youth, and you're just giving me a break if I'm not looking for youth loss fees. When she heard Chu Xian say that she was too poor to love the rich and was heartless, Lu Qingqing instantly broke down her defenses, pointed her finger at Chu Xian, and screamed with a shrill voice. Chu Xian looked at Lu Qingqing with cold eyes. He didn't even bother to take care of her. In the end, who was delayed for 5 years of youth? From sophomore year together, to work after these 3 years, a total of 5 years, Chu Xian has been good food and drink for Lu Qingqing, earn money every month to stay only 600 yuan of living expenses, the rest of the money all spent on Lu Qingqing. As a result, how did she treat Chu Xian? Going behind his back to find another man? Saying something about not being able to give him the life he wants. Baby, this is your loser ex-boyfriend. Baby, if you had met me earlier, you wouldn't have to suffer so much with this poor bastard. The greasy pot-bellied man beside Lu Qingqing put his arm around Lu Qingqing's shoulder and glanced at Chu Xian and said cynically, I don't think you're much better. Fathead, not only greasy but also bald. Chen Wushui from the bathroom back just heard Lu Qingqing's side of the middle-aged man and the mockery of Chu Xian. Chu Xian has not said anything. Chen Wushui cannot bear it to help Chu Xian dislike the past. I don't know, who are you? What's the matter with you? Lu Qingqing looked at Chen Wushui and said in a harsh voice. Of course I'm brother Xian's girlfriend. Chen Wushui said, directly sat beside Chu Xian, hand holding Chu Xian's arm, head gently leaning on Chu Xian's shoulder. Also have to thank Auntie you don't want brother Xian, otherwise I can't meet such a good man as brother Xian. Who are you calling Auntie? Lu Qingqing was disliked by Chen Wushui's sentence of Auntie some on the head, pinched his waist and shouted angrily. Auntie, don't be angry, it's easy to get wrinkles when you're angry. Chen Wushui 2 or 3 words on the angry Lu Qingqing pulled the greasy belly man fled. Ha ha. Chen Wushui looked at the Lu Qingqing who fled from the scene while he laughed twice. Chu Xian looked at Chen Wushui, the corners of his mouth rose, revealing a hint of a doting smile. Chen Wushui looked at Chu Xian and returned to her senses before she withdrew her hand from Chu Xian's arm and sat up in a proper dignified manner. Brother Xian, I didn't mean to impersonate your girlfriend just now. I just couldn't stand that they were bullying you and wanted to help you teach them a lesson. Chen Wushui pursed her lips and as she spoke, a touch of scarlet appeared on her fair face, which was very charming. Thank you, Wushui. Chu Xian stared at Chen Wushui and softly said. Noticing Chu Xian's hot gaze, Chen Wushui bit her lips and lowered her head, and for a while the atmosphere was more or less ambiguous. Although Lu Qingqing was obnoxious, the middle-aged greasy man she brought over just now had made Chu Xian a small fortune. Ding, congratulations to the host for picking up a red packet and obtaining 200,000 yuan in cash. This is the cash reward opened by the red packet next to Lu Qingqing. Ding, congratulations to the host for picking up a red packet, obtaining 10 million yuan in cash, obtaining a set of 300 square meters of large flat floors in the Royal View Schoolhouse, and obtaining a Lamborghini Big Bull. This was the reward opened from the red packet next to that middle-aged greasy man. There was no need to say more about the $10 million in cash. As for the large flat floor of the Royal View Schoolhouse and the Lamborghini Bull, it made Chu Xian somewhat happy. The Royal View Academy is also considered a high-end residential area in Jiangcheng. The average price is around 30,000 square meters, and the 300 square meters of the large flat floor is worth at least tens of millions of dollars. Lamborghini Big Bull is also a 10 million level of supercar. This is the first supercar since he tied the red packet pickup system. Men, who would not like supercars? Not to mention the Lamborghini Big Bull, which is the dream car of most boys. Ding, congratulations host, your Lamborghini Big Bull has been parked for you in the exclusive parking space of the Royal View Academy. Please pay attention to checking your rewards. Listening to the system's beeps, Chu Xian was in a great mood and prepared to check and collect the Royal View Schoolhouse's large flat floor and Lamborghini Big Bull after having dinner with Chen Wushui. Chapter 3, just pick up tens of millions of dollars in cash every day. After Lu Qingqing tossed around like this, it did allow Chu Xian and Chen Wushui to get a little closer. After eating, Chu Xian sent Chen Wushui back to school. Wushui, don't do the part-time job over at the bar, you're a girl, it's not safe to go to that kind of place. Getting down from the cab, Chu Xian looked at Chen Wushui and admonished once more. Aha. Chen Wushui nodded and answered with a aha sound. You can go back to school first, if you have any difficulties in life you can contact me, I'll help you out. Brother Xian, thank you, you're really a very good person. Chen Mushui took 2 steps towards the school gates and turned back towards Chu Xian and spat out her tongue and said, "Little ninny." The corners of Chu Xian's mouth rose, revealing a doting smile, and his mouth murmured softly. After sending Chen Mushui back to the school, Chu Xian then hoofed it over to the Royal View Schoolhouse site to check on the rewards. In Building 6, Unit 2, Unit 601, Chu Xian sat on the sofa and lit a cigarette in his hand. The 300 square meter large flat, the decoration was simple but not too luxurious, every detail was handled exquisitely, and it was deeply liked by Chu Xian. Some confused ah. After finishing his cigarette and leaning his back on the sofa, looking at the balance of more than $66 million in his bank account, Chu Xian's heart suddenly had a trace of confusion. Mainly because of the sudden wealth, Chu Xian was not too adaptable for a while, and the things that he had pursued in the first half of his life were all realized in an instant. He now did not know what he should do in the future. It wasn't a good thing for money to come too easily. Chu Xian rubbed his temples and came back to his senses as he decided to make a life plan for himself. Since wealth was free, life should naturally be focused on enjoyment. Chu Xian's life plan was actually very simple. First, pick up at least 100 red packets every day. Second, spend the remaining time improving the quality of life and enjoying life. There were red envelopes floating around everyone, and the rewards of the red envelopes varied from person to person. The rewards of the red packets around rich people were very generous. Chu Xian also picked up hundreds of red envelopes, most of them were 100,000 to 200,000 cash rewards. After all, those were the red envelopes around ordinary people. Currently, although there was money in his hands, but without an identity background and social status, it was really not easy to recognize those rich people ah. Leaning his back against the sofa, Chu Xian fell back to laughing at himself. However, Chu Xian was not that greedy. Even if he was picking up the red envelopes around ordinary people, one red envelope had a cash reward of 100,000 to 200,000. If one could pick up 100 red envelopes around ordinary people in a day, that would be $10 to $20 million. A daily salary of 10 million, a monthly salary would be 300 million, and an annual salary would be towards 4 billion. For Chu Xian, there wasn't much difference between having a lot of money to a certain extent and a string of numbers. So much money, it simply couldn't be spent. Ever since he had gotten rich by binding the system, he hadn't had the time to contact his family. Now that he was free, Chu Xian waved his hand and directly transferred $1 million to his mom Zhou Yi's account. Having money naturally meant that he couldn't forget his parents, and Chu Xian wasn't the type of person who was unfilial to his parents. The reason why he only transferred 1 million, or because he was afraid that turning more money would make his parents worried. He was unexpectedly rich, and if he transferred tens of millions of dollars to his parents at once, they would definitely have to worry about whether or not he had done something illegal outside. Moreover, 1 million was not a small amount, and mom and dad were in their old home, Shoucheng, and could not spend that much money at one time. After transferring the account, Chu Xian directly gave his mom a call. "Mom, I started my own business some time ago and made a lot of money. Just now I transferred $1 million to you. You look at the account?" Mom Joey heard Chu Xian said to turn $1 million over. The first time some confused, slowed down the god to open the first sentences. Xian, you did not do what illegal and disorderly things, right? How is it possible? It's all hard-earned money. Chu Xian hurriedly explained, repeatedly emphasized that this is their own business-earned money after this only to dispel the mother's concerns. Hanging up the phone, Chu Xian took a deep breath, fortunately held back. If really give mom to turn 10 million over, estimated that mom and dad this afternoon will have to kill to Jiangcheng. For mom's character, Chu Xian still understood very well. In addition to the mother turned $1 million in the past, Chu Xian also gave himself in the Magic City on the university's little sister Chu Shiryu turned $100,000 of pocket money in the past. WeChat transfer, Chu Shiryu the first time did not receive, backhanded sent 3 question marks over. No, brother, you have a terminal illness? Put. Regret transferring pocket money to you, return the money to me. No, brother, are you rich? I've made a little money from business. Do you want it? Don't return it to me. Yes, yes. Brother, you're really my favorite brother. Chu Shiryu took the money directly. Don't clip it, I'm going to throw up. Chu Xian heard the voice sent by his little sister, Chu Shiryu, and smiled as he returned a voiceover. Little sister, study hard, in the future your pocket money brother will give it to you. Chu Shiryu is 4 years younger than Chu Xian. From childhood to adulthood, Chu Xian is very much in love with this little sister of his. At noon, the beautiful sleep on a sleep, get up after Chu Xian directly to the garage to the Lamborghini Bull to open out. Jiangcheng is not compared to the Magic City, Empire kind of first-tier big cities. Supercars in this side is still rare, especially Lamborghini Big Bull, this kind of 10 million level of supercars. The car has not yet driven out of the neighborhood was the residents of the district to the crowd. Boy, it's so handsome. Lamborghini Bull, ah. My dream car. This streamline, this roar, can only be described as perfect. I envy people who drive supercars in their 20s, while I, in my 20s, can only be a cow or a horse. Brother, let's resign ourselves to our fate. This really cannot envy. We strive for a lifetime of goals, but is the starting point of others, what we take with others than ah. Jiangcheng city center is not big. Xu Xian drove a Lamborghini Bull in the center of the city to stroll around and then go straight to the side of the Su Billion Square. Su Billion Square in the center of the city is the entire Jiangcheng traffic flow of the largest shopping plaza. Looking at the traffic, people coming and going, Xu Xian's heart was really happy. Parking the car directly on the parking space on the side of the road, the first time Xu Xian came down from the car, he began the work of picking up the red envelopes. Ding, congratulations to the host for picking up a red packet and obtaining 100,000 yuan in cash. Ding, congratulations to the host for picking up a red packet and obtaining 100,000 yuan in cash. Ding, congratulations to the host for picking up a red packet and obtaining 200,000 yuan in cash. Ding, congratulations to the host for picking up a red packet and obtaining 500,000 yuan in cash. In less than half an hour, Xu Xian had picked up hundreds of red packets. The smallest cash rewards were all 100,000 yuan, and occasionally, they could also open cash red packets of 500,000 yuan or even 1 million yuan. Xu Xian checked his account balance. The original balance of over 65 million had already turned into over 89 million, and in less than half an hour, the account balance had increased by another 24 million. Xu Xian had originally set himself the goal of picking up at least 100 red envelopes per day, but at this moment, being in the largest crowded city plaza in Jiangcheng, and looking at the red envelopes that appeared in piles in front of him, Xu Xian had to admit that he was still greedy. Moving his arm, lifting his arm, from the first floor of the plaza to the fifth floor of the plaza, from 5 o'clock in the evening to 8 o'clock in the evening, for 3 whole hours, Xu Xian had already lost track of how many red envelopes he had actually picked up. The system's beeps in his head had never stopped. Xu Xian didn't feel annoyed, after all, who could not be confused when hearing about obtaining 100,000 yuan of cash, 200,000 yuan? Phew! When Xu Xian once again saw his account balance, his breathing couldn't help but worsen a bit. $154 million. A deposit of over $100 million and an extra $54 million. Previously, Xu Xian had fantasized that if he ever had assets that exceeded 100 million, he would just lie down and deposit his money in the bank to eat the interest. However, when he had really deposited over $100 million, he was not as excited as he had imagined. This money came too easily. Just as Xu Xian tucked his cell phone into the waist of his pants and prepared to go home and lie flat, a little girl in a skirt stumbled and rushed onto Xu Xian. Dad! The little girl directly hugged Xu Xian's thigh, tilted her head and looked at Xu Xian with her big, cute eyes open, and very affectionately shouted out a dad. Xu Xian froze, squatted down. Little girl, are you recognizing the wrong person? Where is your Abba mom? Dad, you are my dad. The little girl pursed her lips and hugged Xu Xian's arm and said, Daddy, there are bad people. The little girl's words just fell. A middle-aged couple hurriedly ran over from the crowd. When they saw the little girl, the middle-aged woman's eyes lit up and she walked towards Xu Xian. Sir, I'm sorry, our Yaya has a bit of a problem here. I've caused you trouble. That middle-aged woman said while pointing her finger at her head, while she was about to go forward to pull the little girl. She's lying, I don't know them, they're bad people. The little girl hugged Xu Xian's arm tightly and said in a milky voice. When Xu Xian heard the little girl say that, he immediately protected the little girl behind himself. Yaya, quickly come to mommy's side, don't cause trouble for uncle. My name isn't Yaya, and I don't know you guys, you're bad people. It's human traffickers. The little girl looked like she was only 5 or 6 years old, but her speech was clear and organized, not at all like a child with brain problems. Xu Xian looked at the skirt that the little girl was wearing, and then looked at the scruffy middle-aged couple, and combined with what the little girl had just said, he was instantly on guard. Yeah, you're sick again. Quickly come over. That middle-aged man was a bit impatient. Striding over to Xu Xian's side, he was ready to pull the little girl with his hand, while Xu Xian directly picked up the little girl. Little children can't lie. For insurance purposes, I think it's better to call the police. Xu Xian's height of 185 centimeters and stout figure, but scared that middle-aged man did not dare to come forward. I said, what's wrong with you people? Our woman is sick, We want to take her home to take her medicine. The middle-aged woman frowned and said, whether it's your daughter or not, it's better to wait for the police to come. Chu Xian held the little girl and said in a deep voice. As he said that, Chu Xian then directly pulled out his cell phone to call the police. When that middle-aged couple saw Chu Xian calling the police, their faces immediately turned a little white and they could not help but take 2 steps back. Chu Xian saw that the two of them were sneaky and weak-hearted and immediately decided that the two of them must be human traffickers. As expected, the middle-aged couple twisted their bodies and tried to escape. Chu Xian naturally would not let go of these 2 traffickers. There were also more people around. Chu Xian directly ripped out his voice, don't let these 2 people escape, they are human traffickers. As soon as those melon-eating people around heard that the middle-aged couple were human traffickers, they immediately also directly surrounded the 2 of them. The 2 people saw that there was no hope of escaping, and immediately knelt down. Please, let us go. We don't dare to. When they said that, it was like admitting the fact that they were human traffickers. Mud, it's really human traffickers. Human traffickers deserve to die. Fuck, I hate human traffickers. Crawl for me. Let you go? Who let those innocent kids go? Kneel down. Don't move. The crowd of onlookers was large and powerful, and most of them were young people. Facing the 2 traffickers, they were filled with righteous indignation, and many of them cursed and went forward to kick the feet. Chapter 4 picked up cash 100 million. When it comes to cases like human traffickers, the police are still very fast. In about 3 minutes, 6 police officers came to the scene. That couple of human traffickers had already been kicked by the onlookers at this moment and were lying on the ground. Seeing the police come over, the 2 people were like seeing a lifesaver, rolling and crawling to the feet of the police. To be honest, if the police had come a few minutes later, these 2 people might have really been killed by those people around them. After all, no one would show mercy to human traffickers. The crowd also tightened up quite a bit when they saw the police coming over, but the spitting and cursing was still unending. As for the 2 human traffickers, they were controlled by the police at the first opportunity. The police officer who was leading the group had a long sigh of relief on his face after seeing the little girl in Chu Xian's arms. Just half an hour ago, he had received a notice from above that the 5-year-old only daughter of Jiang Cheng's richest man, Wang Lin, had been abducted by human traffickers. Currently, the entrances and exits of the entire Jiangcheng were blocked, and they were ordered from above to find the Wang family's little princess within 24 hours. Captain, she's not the one. The little policeman who followed the police captain's side also had excitement written all over his face the moment he saw Wang Xingyue. Hurry up and notify the leader, the person has been found, just this side of the Sui Plaza. Yes, Captain. Chu Xian was holding the little girl, listening to the conversation between the police captain and the small policeman beside him. He froze for a moment. Can't it be that this little girl is still the child of some big shot? Thank you for the little brother's help. I am Chen Hao, the police captain of the Jiangcheng Mirror Lake District Police Station. Chu Xian, I didn't do anything, this little girl is especially smart, otherwise I would have really let these 2 traffickers have their way. Chu Xian shook hands with Captain Chen Hao, the corners of his mouth rose up as he smiled and said. As he spoke, another team of police officers walked in from outside the mall. Beside the police there were also 2 magnificent middle-aged couples, and the aura on their bodies was such that anyone with a clear eye could tell that these middle-aged couples were definitely not ordinary people. Tuan. A smile finally surfaced on the noblewoman's face after seeing the little girl in Chu Xian's arms. Uncle, my father, Mom is here. Thank you, Uncle. The little girl smiled towards Chu Xian, and Chu Xian put the little girl down while the little girl darted towards her mom and dad. Little brother, thank you for saving my daughter. There is $1 million in this check, keep it. Wan Lin walked to Chu Xian's side and reached out to hand Chu Xian a check for 1 million yuan, making the surrounding onlookers envious. Chu Xian frowned, reached out and directly picked up the red bag beside Wang Lin, then righteously rejected the check Wang Lin handed over. Ding, congratulations to the host for picking up a red packet, obtaining 100 million yuan in cash, obtaining a set of 2,000 square meter Shiyuan villa, and obtaining a McLaren Senna. This red packet reward was really generous. Chu Xian did not move on the surface, but inwardly, he was actually very excited. 100 million cash rewards not to mention, there was also a set of 2,000 square meters of large villa, a limited edition McLaren Supercar worth 21 million. As for this $1 million check that Wang Lin handed over, for Chu Xian's current stature, it really is dispensable. I have a destiny with the little girl, I can't take this money. Chu Xian said with a smile, moreover, I didn't do anything. Wang Lin heard Chu Xian say so, looked Chu Xian up and down. Little brother, good job. I am Wang Lin, I owe you a favor for today. 3 days from now is my daughter's birthday banquet, at that time I hope you can come to participate. Wang Lin revealed his identity, and the surrounding onlookers couldn't help but suck in a breath of cool air. Chairman of Wang's group, richest man in Jiangcheng, a big shot worth $10 billion. I'll go. Wang Lin, the richest man in Jiangcheng? No way. What's wrong with him? That's a check for $1 million. You don't know shit. He's fishing for the big fish. Didn't you hear Wang Lin say he owes him a favor? A favor from the richest man in Jiangcheng? You think it's not worth $1 million? That's a lot of luck. Getting involved with the richest man in Jiangcheng has a bright future ahead of it. Just now, the richest man had invited him to attend his daughter's birthday banquet. Chu Xian had stayed in Jiangcheng for 7 years, and he had naturally heard of Jiangcheng's richest man Wang Lin's name. If he had placed it a few days ago, Chu Xian definitely wouldn't have refused the 1 million yuan check that Wang Lin had handed over. But now, he preferred to meet a bunch of rich people by getting to know Wang Lin. The red packet rewards around rich people were simply too generous. One rich person's red packet reward was more than the red packet rewards around hundreds of ordinary people combined. Wang Lin collected the check and handed over another invitation to the birthday banquet. Chu Xian looked at the invitation and directly reached out to accept it. Jiangcheng's richest man is definitely surrounded by rich people. When the time comes to pick up a few more red packets, a year of KPL are completed. No one would mind too much money. Chu Xian naturally would not be an exception. Just now this side had gathered so many people. Chu Xian looked at the mountain of red envelopes and naturally would not let go. With a lift of his arm and a wave of his big hand, he directly picked up all of those red envelopes. For a time, the system beeps in Chu Xian's mind were also incessant. Ding, congratulations to the host for picking up a red packet, obtaining 100,000 yuan in cash. Ding, congratulations to the host for picking up a red packet, obtaining 200,000 yuan in cash. Ding, congratulations to the host for picking up a red packet, obtaining 100,000 yuan in cash. Ding, congratulate the host to pick up a red packet, get cash 100 million yuan, Magic City Towns into product 800 square meters large flat set. Most of the red packets around ordinary people are 100,000 yuan or 200,000 yuan in cash. As for that open cash 100 million yuan, Magic City Towns into product 800 square meters large flat red packet is a red packet around the wife of the king. Exactly how many red envelopes Chu Xian picked up Chu Xian was not very clear, but when he checked his account balance he was also startled. The previous balance of 154 million had turned into 378 million, exactly 222 million more than before. Wang Lin's couple alone had contributed 200 million. It seems that it is still necessary to know more rich people. Chu Xian mouth murmured, from Su Billion Square out. Chu Xian saw the roadside surrounded by a lot of young people, came close to see, it turned out to be all by their own Lamborghini Big Bull hard control. Crap. Brothers, do not squeeze. If the car is damaged, you can't even afford to pay for it. It's not that bad, is it? Chu Xian responded by skimming his lips. Why not? This is a Lamborghini Dino, a multi-million-dollar supercar. Touch off a bit of paint, have to pay hundreds of thousands of. Hey, little brother, let you do not squeeze, why do not listen to Chu Xian squeezed from the crowd to the side of the car, pulled open the door of the driver's seat under the watchful eyes of the crowd, bent over and sat on the driver's seat. Crap? This car is his? Just now let Chu Xian don't squeeze inside. That person instantly red temperature, full of red face, mouth murmured. Handsome guy, can you add a WeChat friend? Chu Xian started the car with the ignition and was about to leave the side, when a girl wearing a relatively cool dress came close to the car window and looked at Chu Xian and asked. I'm sorry, the friends section is full. Chu Xian looked at her and directly refused. Just kidding, he wasn't some kind of garbage bin? This kind of girl was not something he could look at. However, when he drove away, he also picked up the red envelopes floating around her. Ding, congratulations to the host to pick up a red packet, get cash 100,000 yuan. Since picked up a set of West Park Villa, that previously picked up that set of Royal View Academy School District housing large flat naturally cannot look at the eye. Jiangcheng Villa area is not much, but the Shiyuan Villa area in the whole Jiangcheng is considered to be the top residential area. Shiyuan Villa area in the western suburbs of Jiangcheng, north of the mountains, west of the Yangtze River, the entire Shiyuan Villa area covers an area of more than 6,000 acres, but only 36 villas. Let's put it this way, can live in the West Garden Villa, in Jiangcheng are all non-rich or noble existence. Before, the villa in the West Garden Villa area was something Chu Xian didn't even dare to think about. But now, he has a set of 2,000 square meters of Shiyuan Villa. According to the navigation route given by the system, Chu Xian drove the Lamborghini Dinho straight towards the Shiyuan Villa area. Chu Xian's set of West Court villas was the existence of the king of the building when placed in the entire villa area. The villa had an indoor area of 2,000 square meters, and there was also a 2,000 square meter private garden outside. The villa was very large, and Chu Xian felt very empty just by living here alone. Sitting on the sofa, Chu Xian had just lit a cigarette when his cell phone rang out of place. Master Xian, I've fallen out of love, wow. On the side of the phone, Meng Jiawei shouted out with a wow sound, and even listening to his voice, one could feel his lost soul at the moment. I'm sorry? You told me last week that you were getting married? Why did you fall out of love? Meng Jiawei is Chu Xian's best friend and childhood friend, grew up wearing the same pants. After Chu Xian graduated from university, he stayed in Jiangcheng, and Meng Jiawei brought his girlfriend to Jiangcheng 3 years ago. Meng Jiawei has a talk about 7 years of girlfriend, Chu Xian before met a few times, but to be honest, Chu Xian on his girlfriend's impression is not very good, always feel that she is just Meng Jiawei as their spare tire. I'm not in a good mood to come out and drink? I'm not sure if you're going to be able to get a good look at me. Chu Xian saw his hair little state is not very good, worried that he will have an accident, so he agreed. I'm not sure if I'll be able to get a good deal, but I'm sure I'll be able to get a good deal. Okay. Chu Xian put down his cell phone and directly drove his Lamborghini Big Bull out. It takes almost half an hour to drive from the western suburbs of Jiangcheng to the city center. When Chu Jiang arrived at the barbecue stall, Meng Jiawei, the youngest of his friends, was already a bit confused from drinking. Crap? Lamborghini Bull? Which young master has such a sense of humor that he drove a supercar to eat at a street stall? What a cool supercar! In my lifetime, I wonder if I'll ever have the chance to afford a supercar like this. Don't dream about it, it's a big bull, a multi-million-dollar supercar. We ordinary people can't afford this kind of luxury car even if we work all our lives. At 10 o'clock in the evening, the roadside barbecue stalls were still almost full. Chu Xian's black Lamborghini Bull was very eye-catching, and the first time it stopped at the roadside, it drew the attention of everyone around. Meng Jiawei was holding a beer bottle in one hand and a cigarette in the other, and his gaze was also attracted to the Lamborghini Bull. If only I were a rich second generation, then Su Meng wouldn't abandon me, right? Meng Jiawei murmured softly in his mouth, his eyes were haggard, and his face was filled with unwillingness. Only in the next second, when he saw Chu Xian walking down from that Lamborghini Big Bull, he froze on the spot. Ha! The unwillingness on Meng Jiawei's face instantly turned into shock. His best friend and childhood friend of more than 10 years was actually driving a supercar? Chu Xian wouldn't be an invisible rich second generation, right? Chu Xian, he really deserved to die. Chapter 5, Master Xian, are you for real? Meng Jiawei looked at Chu Xian incredulously, the expression on his face was wonderful. Fear of a brother having a hard time, and fear of a brother driving a Land Rover. Master Xian, don't tell me that you're a top-tier rich second generation. Is this Lamborghini Big Bull yours? Just lifted it, handsome or not? Chu Xian pulled out his chair and sat down. Hearing Meng Jiawei's words, he nodded and smiled in response. Master Xian, you really deserve to die. Meng Jiawei had already gritted his teeth a bit, just now he was still immersed in the sadness of lost love, now it was good, his heart was hurting even more. Tell me, what's going on? Chu Xian handed Meng Jiawei a cigarette, then took out a lighter and helped him light it. Meng Jiawei bit her face, deeply inhaled a mouthful of cigarettes, looked at Chu Xian's side and said, 7 years of feelings, I think I have no shame to Su Meng. She said she wanted to wait to stabilize and then get married. Well, I desperately trying to make money, buy a house and a car. She said to get married to 300,000 dowry. Well, I went to part-time run takeout, do chauffeur, work 18 hours a day, hard to get together 300,000 dowry. But the heart has been hiding their own white moonlight, and now her white moonlight came back, I was mercilessly kicked away by her. Meng Jiawei lowered his head and covered his face with his hands, his expression a little twisted. How many 7 years are there in life? Meng Jiawei sighed, the most infuriating thing is that she said that I am a dog beside her, come when called, wave away. Martyr, I treated her with sincerity, and she said that I was a dog licker. Chu Xian sat next to Meng Jiawei, did not say anything, and waited until Meng Jiawei finished venting his emotions before patting him on the shoulder and said, failing to live up to their true hearts will not have a good end, you're very good, is that she does not deserve. Zhao Wei, since the love cannot stay, then we focus on business. Before you did not say that you want to open a high-end seafood buffet. Well, brother, I give you investment, make money we have, loss count me. Master Xian, you are right, let down the sincere people will not have a good end, is she is not worthy. Meng Jiaowei took a bottle of beer and drank it directly. Master Xian, you have to invest a lot of money to open a high-end seafood buffet. Meng Jiaowei said with a drooping face, the initial investment of at least a few million, and now catering is too voluminous, want to do a good job. I am afraid that before and after the investment must be tens of millions of dollars. Money is not a problem. Listen to Meng Jiaowei mention money. Xu Xian directly interrupted him and said, I will give you to invest 20 million, we strive to build the first high-end seafood buffet restaurant in Jiangcheng. How much? $20 million? When Meng Jiaowei heard that Xu Xian wanted to invest $20 million, he instantly exclaimed in shock. No, Master Xian, are you really a second-generation rich man? Meng Jiaowei, as Xu Xian's sworn enemy and hairdresser, he was still very clear about Xu Xian's family conditions. After all, at that time in school, he was the one who often dabbled in Xu Xian's home. Meng Jiaowei looked at Xu Xian in a puzzled manner. That's not right, I remember that your family's condition is not as good as my family's. That, I saved an old grandfather who fell down before, he was very rich, but he had no children at his knees, and he recently passed away and left me a large inheritance. Xu Xian couldn't explain why he was suddenly rich, so on the way over he just made up a lie about inheriting an inheritance. It sounded a bit absurd, but believing it or not was Meng Jiaowei's business. I'll be damned. It's really a lie? What else? You don't know my family's condition? Can I ask how much the inheritance is? Meng Jiaowei stared at Xu Xian and came closer to ask in a low voice. Enough to spend for a lifetime. Xu Xian smiled and returned. Meng Jiaowei seemed to have instantly regained hope, his eyes filled with light again. Master Xian, you are right, a great man, why not have a wife? Since love cannot stay, then go all out in your career. The advantages of a high-end seafood buffet are still great, and it is true that there is currently no high-end seafood buffet restaurant in Jiangcheng. Meng Jiaowei himself is a chef, belonging to the catering industry workers. Moreover, since he contacted the buffet after the buffet has been to a number of buffet restaurants, in the examination of the buffet after he also gave birth to the idea of opening a buffet restaurant. But the idea, open a buffet restaurant, even if the general scale, before and after the investment will not be less than $500,000. He is an ordinary laborer, and before that he had to support his girlfriend, where can he pull out $500,000? Let's say I invest and you run the business. If we make a profit, we'll split it 50-50, if we lose money, it's on me. Xu Xian has no intention of starting a business right now. Investing is fine, but letting him run the business is a no-brainer. Master Xian, that's $20 million. You're not afraid of losing money if you leave it to me? Didn't I tell you, if you lose, it's on me. Besides, it's only $20 million. I can afford to lose it. Xu Xian's speed was faster than printing money, he could pick up more than $20 million in half an hour at most, so he naturally didn't care about this $20 million. Furthermore, as Meng Jiaowei was his own hairdresser, Xu Xian was still very confident in Meng Jiaowei's abilities. Of course, what Xu Xian appreciated the most was that Meng Jiaowei was sincere, hardworking, and down-to-earth. Besides, if you are rich and powerful, don't forget each other. Xu Xian is not the kind of thinly veiled people, their own developed, to bring up their own hair small, that is not the right thing to do. Meng Jiaowei was moved to tears, pulling Xu Xian's hand on the guarantee, Master Xian, you can rest assured, brother, I must live up to your trust. I'm sure I'll live up to your trust, don't worry. Xu Xian patted Meng Jiaowei's shoulder and gave his approval. The two of them drank until after 1 a.m, and Xu Xian directly called a chauffeur over. He drove the car to the Huai Hotel. The chauffeur looked at the black Lamborghini Big Bull but revealed a face of bitterness. Boss, your car is too expensive, I am afraid. Afraid of what? If something happens, you are not responsible. Xu Xian patted the shoulders of the chauffeur. Buddy, I was also a chauffeur before, the workers do not make it difficult for the workers. Chauffeur brother heard Xu Xian said so on the spot froze. Boss, you really will joke you drive this car still go out to run a chauffeur? Experience life ah. Xu Xian laughed, drive slower that is, don't worry, scrape the touch not let you pay. A Lamborghini Bull only, for Xu Xian's current wealth, not worth mentioning at all. The chauffeur boy skimmed his mouth, and accepted the order with a stiff upper lip. As for Xu Xian and Meng Jiaowei, they took a taxi and went directly to the Huai Hotel. Xu Xian directly opened a suite that cost 5,888 yuan a night, and helped the drunken Meng Jiaowei into the room. The next morning at 9 o'clock, Xu Xian and Meng Jiaowei were woken up by a ringing phone. "Old Meng, phone call, your phone call." Xu Xian rubbed his sleepy eyes and kicked Meng Jiaowei, who was sleeping like a dead pig, directly awake. "What's up?" "Oh." Meng Jiaowei woke up and picked up his cell phone without even looking at the caller ID. "Jiaowei, I have something to discuss with you. Shen Pingyu now want to start a business, he still lacks $1 million of startup capital. I remember your home is not demolished, or you put $1 million into the company of Chen Pingyu," Pingyu said, "to give you 5% of the shares." Meng Jiaowei heard Su Meng's voice, sat up without saying a word, very calmly listened to his ex-girlfriend's upside down. "First, I have broken up with you, Su Meng. Secondly, Chen Pingyu counts a hang hair, he wants to start a business to open the company off what I do? Third, $1 million to me 5% of the shares, his face is really big ah." Meng Jiaowei is not the kind of person who is good at words, but in this case can still be so calm to say these words. Visible Meng Jiaowei on his ex-girlfriend's white moonlight is how not to see. "And you Su Meng, we two have broken up, in the future it is better not to contact, mutual deletion." Meng Jiaowei finished directly hung up Su Meng's phone, and then took the phone to delete Su Meng's contact information. "Old Meng, it seems that you are really hurt this time. However, Old Meng, not that I'm saying, you and that ex-girlfriend of yours should have split up a long time ago." Xu Xian got up, while cleaning up and comforting Meng Jiaowei said. "Old Meng, you give me a bank account, I'll transfer the money to you first." Meng Jiaowei looked at Xu Xian, his eyes flickered. "Master Xian, you really come? When have I ever joked with you, your Master Xian?" Xu Xian frowned. $20 million, Old Meng, don't feel pressured. This side of Jiangcheng is just the beginning, if the business is good, let's go to the provincial capital and open 2 more. Seeing Xu Xian say this in such a serious manner, Meng Jiaowei also sent his bank account number to Xu Xian. Xu Xian nodded, sat on the sofa and lit a cigarette, then casually fiddled with his cell phone a few times. "Alright, $20 million has already been transferred to you, take a look to see if it's arrived." Meng Jiaowei nodded and looked down at his cell phone, just as the text message of the arrival of the bank account was sent to his cell phone. Meng Jiaowei nodded his head and looked down at his cell phone, just as a text message from the bank account arrived on his cell phone. Meng Jiaowei looked at the bank account information, full of excitement. "That is 20 million ah. He grew up so big, have not seen so much money. Let's make a deal, the investment belongs to me, the operation belongs to you, I'm not interested in starting a business or anything." Xu Xian once again emphasized with Meng Jiaowei. "I'm not interested in starting my own business." Xu Xian once again emphasized to Meng Jiaowei. Meng Jiaowei patted his chest and promised. "In a moment, we'll go to the job market and recruit some employees first." Xu Xian was now financially free, and without a job, he had a lot of time on his hands. His goal of picking up red envelopes today hadn't been accomplished yet, but the job market was a place where people gathered, and he could also help Meng Jiaowei recruit some employees in the meantime. "Okay, I'll listen to Master Xian's arrangements." Meng Jiaowei quit his job yesterday. He was thinking of going back to his hometown today, but plans can't catch up with changes. Who would have thought that his own hair suddenly developed, and also invested 20 million to help him develop his career? Meng Jiaowei first sat in a supercar like Lamborghini de Bull. As a man, he cannot help but be a little excited. "You like this car? I'm sure you do." Meng Jiaowei responded without thinking. This was the Lamborghini Grand Bull. It's a top-of-the-line supercar with a price tag of $10 million. There aren't many supercars of this caliber in Jiangcheng. When you open your second store, I'll give it to you. The corner of Xu Xian's mouth rose as he said with a soft smile. Meng Jiaowei, who was sitting in the passenger seat, had his body shaken. "Master Xian, really? You're giving it to me? It's not like it's unconditional, I'm saying that I'll give it to you when you open your second store." "Master Xian. You're my own father." Meng Jiaowei transformed into Xu Xian's own son on the spot, his face red with excitement. Roll, 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 I don't have a son as big as you." Xu Xian responded with a giggle. In the car, Meng Jiaowei leaned on the back of his chair. "Master Xian, why don't you give our cafeteria a name? Mr. Xian, why don't you give us a name for the buffet restaurant? We're doing a high-end seafood buffet restaurant, so let's call it Sea Banquet." "Sea Banquet? That's a good name." Meng Jiaowei didn't go to college and didn't have a high level of education, but when he heard the name Sea Banquet, he couldn't help but be a little moved. "Since you don't have a problem with it, then let's call it Sea Banquet." Xu Xian was also too lazy to think of a name. Moreover, the name of the store, See Banquet, was also really good. Chapter 6. Being a person cannot be too realistic. Jiangcheng talent recruitment market. Xu Xian drove his Lamborghini Big Bull and parked in the parking space. Master Xian, how do I feel? They are all staring at us all. Confidently, go the feeling. Xu Xian had also strolled around a few times in his Lamborghini Big Bull in the past 2 days, and he could clearly feel the hot gazes that the surrounding crowd was casting at him. After all, the Lamborghini Big Bull is a multi-million-dollar supercar. In the Magic City, the Imperial City kind of first-tier big cities may not count for much, but in the Jiangcheng this kind of third-tier small cities, the Lamborghini Big Bull is still very attractive. Old Meng, you go get a recruitment booth, I'll take a look around. Okay, Master Xian. Meng Jiawei straightened up. This kind of busy work he naturally wouldn't let Xu Xian interfere. At this point in time, there were a lot of job seekers in the job market, and it was especially crowded with people coming and going. Xu Xian was however happy. After all, looking at those red envelopes floating around everyone, appearing in heaps and heaps, Xu Xian only needed to lift his arm once to pick up all those red envelopes. Ding, congratulations to the host for picking up a red packet, obtaining cash of 100,000 yuan. Ding, congratulations to the host for picking up a red packet, obtaining cash of 200,000 yuan. Ding, congratulations to the host for picking up a red packet, obtaining cash of 500,000 yuan. Ding, congratulations to the host for picking up a red packet, obtaining cash of 5 million yuan, obtaining proficiency in Han, English, French, Russian, German, Japanese, Korean and Italian, and 8 languages. Crap. With regards to the cash red packet, Xu Xian was already very calm now. However, Xu Xian was still very excited about the skill red packets. He stopped picking up the red packets and raised his eyes to look at the long-legged little beauty beside him. Hello, my name is Xu Xian, get acquainted. Shun Weiwei. Shen Weiwei looked at Xu Xian, frowned, hesitated for a second or nodded and said her name. You are going to apply for the position of department manager? The corners of Xu Xian's mouth rose as he stared at Shen Weiwei's pretty and handsome face and asked. Well, but they all dislike the high salary I want. Shen Weiwei was a little lost. She just returned from studying in France, proficient in 8 languages, doctorate degree in management. With her education, asking for a monthly salary of 50,000 is really not excessive. However, what made her a little disappointed was that the company she applied to heard her request for a 50,000 a month salary, and told her on the spot that it was impossible for the company to give a newcomer such a high salary package. Xu Xian looked at Shen Weiwei and asked with a smile, "Can I see your resume?" Well. Shen Weiwei didn't hesitate and directly handed her resume to Xu Xian. Xu Xian briefly looked through Shen Weiwei's resume, and to describe it in one sentence, her educational background was very impressive. 26 years old with a doctorate degree in management, on this educational background, asking for a salary of 50,000 a month, he felt that it was really not excessive at all. Mission, I'll be straight with you if I have something to say. I'm very satisfied with your resume. I'm currently short of a housekeeper by my side, and if you're willing to do so, I can give you a salary compensation of 100,000 a month. Xu Xian had previously considered finding a capable housekeeper to help him take care of the villa's daily life. After financial freedom, Xu Xian, apart from completing the daily KPL of picking up red envelopes, the first thing he wanted to do was to improve his quality of life and enjoy his life after financial freedom. Moreover, his villa was so large that he definitely needed someone to take care of it. In addition to housekeepers, Xu Xian was also going to recruit some maids, cooks, and security personnel. Shen Weiwei heard Xu Xian's words, and for a moment, she fell directly frozen. To be honest, when she heard Xu Xian ask her to be a personal housekeeper, her instinctive reaction was to refuse. However, after hearing Xu Xian say a monthly salary of 100,000 yuan, she hesitated. A monthly salary of $100,000 would be $1,200,000 a year. She thought that her resume could kill 99% of the people in the country, but she had to admit that she, a white boy who had just stepped into the workforce, would definitely not be able to get a super million annual salary. A monthly salary of $100,000? Shen Weiwei looked at Xu Xian's sincere eyes as she opened her mouth to inquire. Yes, the monthly salary of 100,000, and not counting other benefits, such as the end-of-the-year bonuses and so on. Xu Xian knew that Shen Weiwei was moved, and immediately continued to seduce. As long as you help me take care of my life, the bonus will definitely be less. I'm sorry, can I verify your strength? Shen Weiwei looked at Xu Xian. After all, she looked at Xu Xian as not like what rich second generation ah. Xu Xian Yuan. Xu Xian naturally knew what Shen Weiwei was thinking, and immediately called up his bank account balance. Holding Chu Xian's phone, the moment Shen Weiwei saw the balance, she even felt that the phone in her hand weighed 10,000 pounds. $393,600,000. And that was just the bank account balance. How is it? Are you satisfied with my strength? Chu Xian took back the phone and directly tucked it into the waist of his pants. Miss Shen, how's the consideration? I've agreed. Shen Weiwei did not hesitate too much and directly agreed on the spot. To be honest, although she couldn't look at the profession of a private butler, she had to say that what Chu Xian was giving was just too much. Moreover, Shen Weiwei also had her own considerations. She saw Chu Xuanyuan's account balance. It was more than $390 million, nearly $400 million in cash. What kind of rich second generation could have so much cash in their bank card? Shen Weiwei wasn't the type of person who was noble and lonely, and her family background was relatively average. She studied well, her family spent a lot of money in order to send her to study abroad, and now that she has returned from her studies, she really needs a well-paid job to give back to her parents. A wise move. Chu Xian smiled as he stretched out his hand and handed it to Shen Weiwei. Then welcome Weiwei to become my personal butler. Shen Weiwei blushed slightly and shook Chu Xian's hand. Boss, how do I address you from now on? Call me Master Xian, everyone around me calls me that. Okay, Master Xian. Shen Weiwei's ability to get into character was very strong. She put away her resume and followed Chu Xian's side. Let's both add our contact information, then send me your bank card number, and I'll transfer some money to you first. Chu Xian said with a smile, I just moved to a new home, West Court Villa, and I still need maids, cooks, and security personnel over there. Since you are now my personal butler, you will be responsible for these things from now on. Also, you will be responsible for managing the daily living expenses in the villa. Weiwei, you should be fine with that, right? What Chu Xian was interested in was Shen Weiwei's management ability. After all, she was a doctorate in management. She had no problem managing a listed company. Letting her manage the villa's daily life would be even less of a problem. Although Shen Weiwei didn't have any work experience as a private housekeeper, she was still confident in her abilities. As long as the money was in place, these were all minor problems. No problem, Master Xian. Shen Weiwei nodded and responded. Well, I've transferred $10 million over to you first, so check and receive it. As soon as Chu Xian's words fell, Shen Weiwei received a text message reminder that $10 million had arrived in her bank account. To be honest, Shen Weiwei was also startled when she saw $10 million lying in her bank account. Master Xian, isn't $10 million a bit too much? Aren't you afraid that I'll run away with your money? Shen Weiwei followed behind Chu Xian and softly voiced her doubts. After all, she had just gotten to know Chu Xuanyuan, and she hadn't even signed the entry contract yet. If Shen Weiwei ran away with this money, in a short period of time, Shen Weiwei really had a way to make Chu Xian unable to find himself. Oh, it's only $10 million, it's not a huge amount. Chu Xian, happy, looking at Shen Weiwei's handsome face, said, and I believe that you are not such a shallow person. A meal with the reasoning of a full meal, you will not understand. Shen Weiwei pursed her lips and was silent. Moreover, I bet you don't dare to run away. The corners of Chu Xian's mouth rose, and he smiled and said, Weiwei, you are a smart person, surely you know that rich people's money is not so easy to take. Chu Xian said this out more or less some warning knocking meaning. Shen Weiwei heard Chu Xian say so as also hurried to show loyalty. Master Xian, thank you for my recognition. In the future, I must help you to take care of daily life, do not let you worry. HM. Chu Xian nodded. The professional quality of the maids, cooks, and security personnel should be up to standard, and if the monthly salary, you yourself will see to it. By the way, Master Xian, the first half of my life was too bitter, the second half of my life I want to enjoy life. As long as it is able to improve the quality of life, you look at the arrangements, not enough money to say to me. Chu Xian briefly explained to Shen Weiwei about his requirements for the quality of life. Shen Weiwei listened and then also nodded heavily and responded, Master Xian, I know. I have to say, talking to smart people is really very worry-free. I have to say, talking to smart people is really very economical. Alright, time is still early, you go ahead and recruit some maids, cooks, and security personnel, I'll contact you later. Chu Xian nodded his head and instructed Shen Weiwei. Yes, Master Xian. Watching Shen Weiwei leave, Chu Xian was not worried that Shen Weiwei would roll up the money and run away. Moreover, it was only $10 million. The current Chu Xian really didn't care about that amount of money. After sending Shen Weiwei away, Chu Xian began picking up red packets again. Ding, congratulations to the host for picking up a red packet, obtaining 100,000 yuan in cash. Ding, congratulations to the host for picking up a red packet, obtaining 200,000 yuan in cash. Ding, congratulations to the host for picking up a red packet, obtaining 2 million yuan in cash. Xu Xian also strolled around the talent recruitment market, picking up at least 5 to 600 red packets, and checking out the balance of his bank account. Although he had just given out $10 million, the account balance was only a bit more than that, and had already exceeded $400 million. Billion came to 448,990 million. It's better to pick up the red envelopes around rich people. 5 to 600 red envelopes had only increased by more than 60 million. Xu Xian looked at his bank account balance, did some calculations in his heart, and couldn't help but spit out a sentence on his mouth. But then again, for the cash red packets, Xu Xian really didn't care that much right now. The account balance's growth change he also wasn't particularly mindful of. After all, he came to money too quickly, too simple, tens of millions of hundreds of millions of dollars. For him it was just a string of numbers. After strolling back to Meng Jiaowei's side, there were quite a few people gathered in front of his recruitment booth. Meng Jiaowei is recruiting managers and cooks, and the salary offered is quite good. A monthly salary of 8,000 to 15,000 yuan, 5 insurance and 1 gold complete. In Jiangchang, this kind of salary treatment can be said to be carrying a lantern may not be able to find. See Banquet Seafood Buffet Restaurant? Seems like I've never heard of it. The manager really has a monthly salary of 10,000 yuan? 5 insurance and 1 gold complete? Can a chef really make over $10,000 a month? What's the address of our restaurant? I'll go there sometime to taste it. The monthly salary of 10,000 yuan, 5 insurance and 1 gold complete. To be honest, this salary treatment I am truly moved. Xu Xian looked at so many people gathered in front of the recruitment booth. Meng Jiaowei was a bit busy, he also smiled. This hairy little man of his was hardworking and down to earth, and his abilities were not bad. But before that, he was a laborer, and it was his first time to be a boss. Recruitment of employees, this kind of thing, Meng Jiaowei did not have much experience, can make this has been considered very good. Just at this time, Shen Weiwei also brought a few people towards this side. Xu Xian saw Shen Weiwei and stretched out his hand, signaling her to come over and help out a bit. Master Xian, you command. I'm not sure how much I'm going to be able to afford to pay for this, but I'm sure I'm going to be able to afford to pay for it. Okay, Master Xian. Meng Jiaowei froze for a moment when he saw Xu Xian, and then saw Shen Weiwei beside Xu Xian. Shen Weiwei took over Meng Jiaowei's work. He also hurriedly gave up his position and walked over to Xu Xian's side. Crap, Master Xian, what's the situation with this little beauty? I just recruited a private butler, so you can contact her if there is anything in the future? Xu Xian looked at Meng Jiaowei and said with a smile. Master Xian, the relationship between the two of us brothers has faded after all. Piss off. Xu Xian slapped Meng Jiaowei's shoulder. Didn't you say that I was your own father? How is it? How did it become a brother again? It's not that you haven't gotten your big bowl yet, Mr. Xian. I'm sorry, old Meng people cannot be too realistic Chapter 7 Xu Yang, have the opportunity to drink tea together. Shen Weiwei's work efficiency is still very high, of course, also because Xu Xian gave her the bottom of the air. Is big enough. The 30,000 yuan monthly salary plus the end-of-the-year bonus attracted a lot of attention as soon as it was put up. Even as a maid, there were still a bunch of people rushing to sign up. Shen Weiwei was recruited on the basis of merit, and finally recruited a total of 10 maids, whose qualifications were all university students who graduated from key undergraduate programs. As for the chefs, a total of 5 were recruited, and all of them were senior chef certified chefs. The security personnel also recruited 10, all of them are retired soldiers, strong body, hands are agile and athletic. Master Xian, here are their resumes, would you like to take a look? No need, they're it. Weiwei, give them some training, and customize professional work clothes for them. Xu Xian definitely believes in Shen Weiwei's selection criteria. Besides, if you use someone, you don't doubt them. Shen Weiwei was her own chosen personal secretary, and Xu Xian would not interfere too much with Shen Weiwei's work. Xu Xian looked at the crowd behind Shen Muxue, nodded his head and looked at Shen Weiwei and said, you take them to dinner first, I'll send you the location of the villa and you take them there. Okay, Master Xian. Shen Weiwei nodded her head and answered. Those people behind her then straightened up and looked at Xu Xian very respectfully. By noon, Meng Jiaowei's side had pretty much recruited its staff, and 3 store managers alone had been recruited. Xu Xian's intention was to leave the subsequent recruitment work to the 3 store managers. As for Meng Jiaowei, there were still a lot of things that he needed to be busy with. Let's go to Suyi Plaza and take a look around. Xu Xian patted Meng Jiaowei's shoulder and said, in the meantime, let's see if there are any suitable stores. Xu Xian patted Meng Jiaowei on the shoulder and said. When Meng Jiaowei heard Xu Xian say that, he also nodded heavily. Sui Plaza was located in the busiest section of Jiangcheng, and it was also the plaza with the largest flow of people in the entire Jiangcheng. If the store could be opened in the Sui Plaza, it would almost be considered half successful. As for the remaining half is how to operate the problem. Sui Plaza, people were coming and going. Even if today was a working day, the flow of people was still quite large. Xu Xian's Lamborghini Big Bull had once again become the presence in the spotlight, and quite a few people were casting envious and jealous gazes towards Xu Xian's side. Master Xian, I suddenly don't want this car anymore. Xu Xian was fine, but Meng Jiaowei was a bit unused to being focused on by so many people. When he noticed those people's hot eyes, Meng Jiaowei lowered his head and said with a red face, Master Xian, your car is too high. I don't feel like I can handle it, he said. I don't feel like I can handle it. That's why I said I'll give it to you when you open your second store. The corners of Xu Xian's mouth rose as he laughed. In fact, a Lamborghini Big Bull wasn't enough for around $10 million. Xu Xian naturally didn't care, not to mention, there was also a McLaren Senna that was limited to 500 units worldwide lying in his Shiyuan villa. Entering the Sui Plaza, Xu Xian picked up quite a few red envelopes along the way. Ding, congratulate the host to pick up a red packet, get cash 100,000 yuan. Ding, congratulate the host to pick up a red packet, get cash 200,000 yuan. Ding, congratulate the host to pick up a red packet, get cash 1 million yuan. Xu Xian did not remember how much he picked up a red packet, but all the way over to at least pick up a few dozen red packets, 100,000, 200,000, 500,000, a million have, add up to a little say also as the whole thing adds up to more than $10 million. This hot pot restaurants area is large, business does not look good After all, Sui Plaza is the largest shopping mall in Jiangcheng, this side of the inch of gold, almost all the stores in the mall have been rented out. Now want to come in, either to pick up, or to take the initiative to ask those businesses not good businessmen are willing to transfer. Since we want to be the most high-end buffet restaurant in Jiangcheng, the store area naturally cannot be small. Go over and ask. Xu Xian muttered to Meng Jiaowei, walked to the entrance of the hot pot restaurant, and found the manager of the hot pot restaurant who was on duty. Where is your boss? I'm looking for him to ask something. The manager of the hot pot restaurant raised his eyes to look at Xu Xian and said with a frown, What are you looking for our boss for? I just want to ask if your family store has any ideas of transferring. The corners of Xu Xian's mouth rose as he smiled and answered. Hearing Xu Xian say that, the manager of the hot pot restaurant immediately looked Xu Xian up and down. You really don't have to say, our boss really has the idea of transferring the store during this period of time, I'll help you contact the boss. Hearing the hot pot restaurant manager say that, Xu Xian and Meng Jiaowei could not help but reveal a trace of joy. Not long after, the hot pot restaurant's owner walked out from the store. I'll get right to the point, I do have the idea of transferring the store. But the transfer fee is a bit high, I don't know if you two can accept it. You give an offer, and the two of us will discuss it. Xu Xian is not short of money, how much the transfer fee is won't matter too much. But Xu Xian isn't a big wrongdoer, so if the transfer fee is too much, he won't be able to accept it either. Our store has an area of 2,000 square meters, and the rent is 45 yuan a square meter, so the rent alone is 90,000 yuan a month. The property fee is 5 yuan per square meter, which is 10,000 yuan a month. At present, there are still 6 months of rent and property fees, which is 600,000 yuan. There are all kinds of equipment in the store, as well as tables and chairs, etc. The transfer fee for you to calculate $1.5 million how? Hearing the offer of only $1.5 million, Xu Xian directly stretched out his hand, but we need to redecorate, when can you close the store? The owner of the hot pot restaurant heard Xu Xian say so, and immediately said that he could close the store after the last day today. Call the landlord over, let's sign the transfer contract, and I can transfer the money directly to you. Good, I will contact the landlord now. Taking advantage of the time waiting for the landlord, Xu Xian and Meng Jiaowei also had a hot pot meal over here. Just after eating, the landlord happened to arrive over here. In the landlord's presence, Xu Xian and the owner of the hot pot restaurant signed the transfer contract directly. Mr. Zhang, let me ask, do you have the will to sell this store? The landlord's surname was Zhang, and Xu Xian had just picked up a red packet from his side, obtaining a generous reward. Ding, congratulations to the host for picking up a red packet, obtaining 100 million yuan in cash, and obtaining a 2,000 square meter store in the Yintai department store. 100 million yuan in cash plus a 2,000 square meter store in Yintai department store. Ha? You want to buy it? Yes. Xu Xian did not deny it and directly nodded his head in acknowledgement. This store of mine has an area of 2,000 square meters, 1 square meter is 100,000 yuan, the selling price is 200 million ah. No problem. Xu Xian had money in his hand, and his bottom line was full. Are you serious? The landlord looked Xu Xian up and down. He was also a little surprised when he heard Xu Xian say no problem. Yes, I really want to buy it. Meng Jiawei, who was standing at the side, froze. He knew that Xu Xian was now very rich, but he really did not expect Xu Xian to be so rich. That was $200 million. Meng Jiawei couldn't help but think that if he had $200 million, he would definitely just lie down. 200 million, even if it was deposited in the bank, the interest for a year would be at least 6 or 7 million ah. Full payment or loan? Full payment. If Mr. Zhang is willing to part with it, I can transfer the money at any time. Xu Xian doesn't care about 200 million, after all, money is just a string of numbers for him. Can. The landlord did not hesitate too much, especially after hearing Xu Xian say that he could pay the full amount and transfer the money at any time. He directly agreed. $200 million, he had definitely earned it. Moreover, with the current domestic economic downturn, being able to hold the money in his hands was definitely the wisest choice. Time was still early, so in the afternoon Xu Xian went with the landlord, Mr. Zhang, to the real estate bureau to handle the transfer procedures. When all the formalities were completed, Xu Xian contacted the bank and transferred 200 million in cash to the landlord Mr. Zhang's bank account on the spot. Young Chu, let's have tea together sometime. Good. Xu Xian smiled and answered, after all, more friends more roads, and if he could recognize more rich people through him, Xu Xian was naturally 100% willing. Meng Jiawei had been following by Xu Xian's side, and after watching Xu Xian transfer the entire 200 million to the landlord, Mr. Zhang, his little heart fell and thumped as if he was not competing. After coming out from the real estate office, Meng Jiawei came close to Xu Xian's side and muttered in a low voice, "Crap. That is 200 million ah. Master Xian, you didn't inherit $10 billion, did you?" Xu Xian pursed his lips and looked at the unusually excited Meng Jiawei and shook his head, almost. When Meng Jiawei heard Xu Xian say that, he skimmed his lips. "Master Xian, still the same sentence, you really deserve to die. I have a 300 square meter large flat over at the Royal View Academy, finely decorated, you can live in it with a handbag." Meng Jiawei has been subsidizing his ex-girlfriend all these years, although he has always wanted to buy a house in Jiangcheng, but he simply cannot save money in his hands. "That sweet, I do not live now, you first live, when you open the second store when I transfer to you." Hearing Xu Xian say that, Meng Jiawei, who was sitting on the passenger seat of the Lamborghini Big Bull, immediately sat up straight. "Master Xian. Righteous father, please accept my child's obeisance." Meng Jiawei was his own best friend and childhood friend, and in the past, when they were in school, the two of them would drink a bottle of water and nibble on a piece of dry noodles. Now that Xu Xian had developed, he naturally wanted to bring his youngest friend along. Xu Xian drove Meng Jiawei to the Royal View Mansion, and led him to live in the 300 square meter flat that he only slept in for one night. The moment Meng Jiawei saw the house, his eyes glowed and he directly hugged Xu Xian. "Master Xian. I'm so in love. Crap. You beast. Let go. You're strangling me." Xu Xian didn't expect Meng Jiawei to be so agitated and directly pushed him away, laughing and scolding him angrily. Meng Jiawei didn't care and just giggled happily. After settling Meng Jiawei down, Xu Xian drove straight to the Shiyuan villa. Xin Weiwei and her party had already arrived at the villa, and Xu Xian was now ready to go back and enjoy the life of being waited on. Inside the Shiyuan villa, Xin Weiwei was giving unified training to the newly recruited maids, cooks, and security personnel. All of them changed into uniform work clothes. Time is limited. Xin Weiwei let people directly purchase the finished work clothes, but she has already let people count the sizes. In the future villa, everyone's work clothes will be uniformly customized. In the future, when you see the boss, you should call out to Master Xian, and your attitude should be correct. Xin Weiwei looked at everyone in front of her and admonished. "I know." The crowd responded in unison, and the expressions on their faces were quite excited, especially when they learned that they would be living in this villa in the future. What's wrong with being a maid? Not to mention a monthly salary of 30,000, the key is also being able to live in a villa. When Xu Xian returned to the villa in his Lamborghini Grand Bull, everyone lined up at the first opportunity to come out and greet Xu Xian. As soon as Xu Xian stepped out of the car, everyone, including Xin Weiwei who was standing at the front, half bent over, "Master Xian." To be honest, despite the fact that Chu Xian's mental defenses had been strong enough in the last 2 days, he still could not help but somewhat break his defenses in the face of such a scene. This. Chu Xian stood up straight, the corners of his mouth unconsciously rose, and he murmured in his heart, "How does it feel a bit middle-aged, ah?" In his heart, the expression on his face was still as calm as possible. The villa will rely on you to take care of it in the future. Today is also considered to be the first time to meet, to give each of you a red packet. In a moment I will let Butler Shen make arrangements. After all, these people will be serving themselves in the future, so treating them a little better is naturally desirable. Hearing Chu Xian say that he would send each of them a red packet, everyone present showed great excitement, and the smiles on their faces could not be concealed. "Thank you, Master Xian." Xin Weiwei took the lead, and the rest of the people also chimed in at the first opportunity to thank Master Xian. The difference between having someone to wait on and not having someone to wait on is really different. Just after entering the villa, there was a maid squatting at the door to help Chu Xian change his shoes. Chu Xian just sat on the sofa. There is a maid to bring the brewed tea, cut fruits. This is the life of a capitalist. There is a little bit of extravagance. But I like it. Chu Xian murmured in his heart. His hand just picked up a cigarette. The servant waiting by his side half bent down close to Chu Xian's side to help him light the cigarette. He took a deep drag on the cigarette, leaned his back on the sofa and stretched out, looking at the servant with the ashtray. The corner of Chu Xian's mouth rose slightly. The performance was good. "Later on, I'll speak to housekeeper Shin and have her give you an extra red packet." Hearing Chu Xian say that, the servant with the ashtray hurriedly opened his mouth to thank him. "Thank you, Master Xian." After Chu Xian finished a cigarette, Xin Weiwei also finished the work at hand and appeared at Chu Xian's side waiting at the first opportunity. "Weiwei, give each person a red packet of 10,000 yuan. In addition, the maid who was carrying the ashtray just now, you give her one more. She performed well. Her service attitude makes me very satisfied." "Good, Master Xian." Xin Weiwei, who was standing, was also the first to respond. As for the other maids serving on the sidelines, the excitement on their faces was about to overflow when they heard that the amount of the red packet was surprisingly 10,000 yuan. They were already very happy when Chu Xian said that he was going to send them a red packet. After all, to have a red packet to take on the first day of work, anyone would be very happy. When they knew that Chu Xian was sending them a large red packet of 10,000 yuan, they were on the verge of jumping up and down in excitement. It was also true that it was a 10,000 yuan red packet. For an ordinary person, 10,000 yuan, that could be a month or even 2 or 3 months of their salary. Chapter 8, Mu Shui, are you really willing to go home with me? The villa was large enough, even with 10 more servants, 5 more cooks, 10 more security personnel in the house, plus Chu Xian and Xin Weiwei, the large villa still seemed a bit empty. However, having someone to wait on, this quality of life improved more than a little. Xin Weiwei specially arranged for 2 servants with good face value to follow Chu Xian around and wait. At first Chu Xian was still a bit unable to let go, but after a long time, Chu Xian was happy to do so. Sitting on the sofa, Chu Xian checked his bank account balance. $257,600,000. Seeing that the account balance was left at more than $250 million, Chu Xian could not help but feel some small anxiety in his heart. Coming in money quickly, spending money quickly. The last time he checked his bank account balance there was still more than 440 million, but now there were just over 200 million left, so how could one not be anxious? It seems like it's still necessary to pick up more red envelopes and have a bulging waistline. Chu Xian calculated in his heart and stood up to stretch his waist. "Brother Xian, I have something to do, can I trouble you for a moment?" Chu Xian was planning to go upstairs and lie down for a while. Chen Mushui sent a message to Chu Xian. "What is the matter you say? Between us say what trouble not trouble." Chu Xian's impression of Chen Mushui is good, the person looks beautiful, character is also good, belongs to most men's ideal type of girl. "There's a rich kid in school who's after me, but I don't like him. I heard that he was blocking the entrance to the girls' dormitory today ready to confess to me. I want Xian to pretend to be my boyfriend so that he dies of this heart." Seeing the message from Chen Mushui, Chu Xian didn't hesitate to directly send an OK emoticon. "I will immediately drive over." Jiangqing Normal University, a key domestic undergraduate institution. Chen Mushui looked at her cell phone and pursed her lips. Her heart could not help but give birth to a trace of excitement. Her family conditions are average, her parents are more patriarchal, even her school tuition, living expenses are her usual part-time odd jobs to earn. Chen Mushui good-looking, figure is also good, around the natural inevitable have some suitors. However, Chen Mushui knows that her situation does not allow her to fall in love in the university, so she is clearly rejected before those around the suitors. From the beginning of the university, Chen Mushui has not been able to remember how many boys she has rejected. After she rejected them, they would all give up, but there is always that kind of person, just like a dog's skin plaster, how to get rid of cannot be shaken off. Ding Kai is also a junior, is considered to be the second generation of rich, has a Porsche Cayenne, usually in the school also not less with the girls' gossip. He has been pursuing Chen Mushui since his freshman year, but Chen Mushui has also clearly rejected him, but Ding Kai is like a dogskin plaster sticking up. Today she was studying in the library and was about to go back to the dorm when her roommate sent her a message asking her to come back a little later, saying that Ding Kai had brought people to block the downstairs of the women's dormitory and was going to confess his love to Chen Mushui. Seeing the message her roommate sent to her, Chen Mushui's head was 2 sizes too big. Somehow, she suddenly remembered Chu Xian. If I can get Brother Xian to pretend to be my boyfriend, I should be able to make Ding Kai die, right? Thinking like this, Chen Mushui took her cell phone and sent a message over to Chu Xian. Chen Mushui also didn't expect Chu Xian to reply to her message in seconds, and seeing Chu Xian say that he would immediately drive over, a flash of scarlet appeared on her handsome face for no reason. Chu Xian was afraid that something would happen to Chen Mushui, so he immediately drove his Lamborghini Dinho from this side of the Shiyuan Villa to Jiangcheng Normal University. Driving from the western suburb of Jiangcheng to Jiangcheng Normal University took 20 to 30 minutes, and every time he waited for a traffic light Chu Xian would send a message to Chen Mushui to inquire about the situation. Brother Xian, I'm fine. That's good, wait for me, I still have more than 10 minutes to get to your school, I can't get in by car, you're like this, you wait for me at the school gate. Seeing the message that Chu Xian sent to himself, Chen Mushui's heart was also a lot more solid, packed up her books and left the library. Chen Mushui just walked to the school's main entrance and was blocked by Ding Kai, who was driving a Porsche Cayenne. When she saw Ding Kai's Porsche Cayenne, Chen Mushui couldn't help but frown. How annoying. Like flies. Chen Mushui cursed angrily. Ding Kai got down from the Cayenne with a bouquet of roses in his hands. Shui Shui, I really like you, be my girlfriend. Holding the bouquet of roses, Ding Kai walked to Chen Mushui and directly knelt down on one knee while Chen Mushui didn't react. Those people that Ding Kai brought with him then hurriedly coaxed. Promise him. Promise him. Sister-in-law, Brother Kai really likes you, just promise him. Yes, sister-in-law, just say yes to Brother Kai. Promise him. Promise him. Someone confessed in public, still at the main entrance of the school, all the students coming and going were attracted at once. Quite a few people followed along, clamoring for Chen Mushui to agree to Ding Kai's confession. Chen Mushui's face was slightly white, looking at Ding Kai, who was kneeling on one knee, and shook her head. Ding Kai, I've told you many times, I don't like you. And I already have a boyfriend, don't waste your efforts. Chen Mushui's words did not give Ding Kai any face at all. Hearing Chen Mushui say this, Ding Kai's face darkened, stood up and stared at Chen Mushui and growled in a low voice, Shui Shui, how could you possibly have a boyfriend? How come I don't know? Why should I tell you if I have a boyfriend? Your family lives on the beach? Chen Mushui boarded her face and immediately disliked angrily. Crap? What's the situation? Failed to confess? Even a rich kid can fail at confession? I know that man, the senior, that Porsche Cayenne is his, proper rich second generation. But his reputation is not good, he is very fancy in private. Listening to you, it seems that this sister's rejection of him is really sobering. Come on, she's Chen Mushui. She is the school flower, beautiful, good figure, good temperament, the key achievement is okay. Listening to the surrounding students' comments, Ding Kai's face was also a bit untenable. Chen Mushui, don't lie to me, you don't have a boyfriend at all. I won't give up chasing you. Ding Kai directly broke his defense and looked at Chen Mushui and yelled in a low voice. When Chen Mushui heard Ding Kai say this, her brows tightly frowned, she really didn't expect Ding Kai to be so thick-skinned. She had rejected him in front of so many people, but he still stuck up like a dogskin plaster. Boom! At the school's main entrance, a roar of an engine sounded, instantly attracting the attention of all the students. Holy shit! A big Lamborghini bull? What's going on? Why would this rich kid come to our school? This car is really cool. Whether it's the sound or the flow, it's perfect. It's so cool. But if I drove this car, I'd be even more pretentious than him. If you're envious of a one-handed bull, I don't think I'll ever be able to afford this car in my life. You're overthinking it. You can buy a tire in your life. Chu Xian drove a Lamborghini bull suddenly appeared at the entrance of Jiangcheng Normal University. Those students who had been watching Ding Kai's confession of love all involuntarily threw their gazes to Chu Xian's side. When Chu Xian parked the car and came down from the car, Chen Mushui also saw Chu Xian at the first time, and then her whole person froze. She hadn't known Chu Xian for a long time and hadn't had much contact. But that night, Chu Xian was clearly wearing a chauffeur's clothes. This supercar shouldn't be. Chen Mushui thought that Chu Xian had taken someone else's car, but at that moment, in order for her to be able to completely get rid of Ding Kai's entanglement in the future, she also walked over towards Chu Xian's side. Under everyone's gaze, Chen Mushui stood by Chu Xian's side, her hand intimately took Chu Xian's arm, and her entire person snuggled into Chu Xian's body. Ding Kai, I told you, I have a boyfriend, I don't like you at all, please don't pester me in the future. Chen Mushua's voice was not loud, but to Ding Kai's ears, every word stung. His face was obscure. Staring at Chu Xian and Chen Mushue, and then staring at the big Lamborghini Bull behind Chu Xian, his ears were all filled with the whispers of the onlooker students. He broke his defense. Squeezing through the crowd, he ran away with his head down and a black face. Not even his Porsche Cayenne drove away. Crap. Chen Mushue's boyfriend drove a Lamborghini Big Bull. A multi-million-dollar supercar, this is the real rich second generation. He's tall and handsome. If it were me, I wouldn't bother with Ding Kai. Ding Kai is nothing. The Porsche Cayenne is only $800,000 to $900,000, if it's second-hand, it's only $200,000 to $300,000 at the most, it doesn't match with what rich second generation. I envy Chen Mushui, she has a high face value, good temperament, top grades, and the key boyfriend is a rich second generation with such high quality. I saw favor in his eyes. He really loves her. Chen Mushui sat in the passenger seat of a supercar for the first time, and the expression on her face looked a little unnatural. Brother Xian, this car is mine. The corners of Chu Xian's mouth rose as he said with a soft smile. But Brother Xian, weren't you doing chauffeuring before? Chen Mushui asked out of the heart of the doubt, even if she no longer understand the car, Lamborghini Bull's gold she still knows. Experience life. Chu Xian didn't explain too much, smiled and said that doing chauffeur service before was experiencing life. Hearing Chu Xian say so, Chen Mushui pursed her lips, oh. She lowered her head, crossed her two hands together, somewhat constrained. As Chu Xian drove, she couldn't help but sneak a few glances at Chu Xian's side face. Brother Xian, today is really troublesome for you. What do you mean trouble or not? Last time, didn't you also help me? Chu Xian turned his head to look at Chen Mushui and smiled, saying in a soft voice. Hearing Chu Xian say that the last time he pretended to be Chu Xian's girlfriend and punched his ex-girlfriend in the face, a trace of scarlet was imprinted on Chen Mushui's face. But I still have to thank you for today, or else I would still have to face this situation today in the future. Chen Mushui whispered. A show of hands, besides I don't have much to do, just as driving out for a drive. Chu Xian smiled unconcernedly, haven't eaten yet, last time you invited me to dinner, this time it's my turn to invite you to dinner. Good. Chen Mushui nodded, and again did not hold back to sneak a glance at Chu Xian's side face. It had to be said that Chu Xian's face value was still very high. In the past, when Chu Xian was still a poor loser, his face value was the most impressive merit he had. Brother Xian, I truly did not expect a top-tier rich second generation like you to be so easygoing. In the alleyway next to Sui Plaza, inside a hot pot restaurant with only 7 tables and chairs, Chen Mushui said softly with her cheeks in her hand. Where is it considered a top-tier rich second generation? It's just an ordinary person. Chu Xian laughed at himself and said with a smile, no one stipulates that if you drive a supercar, you can't eat roadside stalls, right? Hearing Chu Xian say that, Chen Mushui pondered for a while, the corner of her mouth slightly curled up. Brother Xian, still the same sentence, you are really a very good person. Can't get over it, can you? The corner of Chu Xian's eyes revealed a doting smile, more or less heartily. After finishing the meal, Chu Xian drove Chen Mushui back to school. On the way to the car, Chu Xian did receive a phone call. It was Chu Xian's mom who called. Chu Xian, the Mid-Autumn Festival is approaching, and I'm thinking of having someone tell you about a marriage. Mom, there is no need to. Chu Xian was shocked, especially since Chen Mushui was still sitting in the passenger seat. The next door to your Uncle Zhang's son is the same age as you, and he has a second child now. You're about to run 3 people, you do not get married now, your father and I, when can we hold grandchildren? Mom heard his son refused, on the spot on the nagging mode. Mom, I actually already have a girlfriend, so don't worry about it. Chu Xian so said, sitting on the passenger seat of Chen Mushui as a heart sinking, slightly lowered the head, in the heart of the original Shen brother he has a girlfriend. You have a fart girlfriend. At the end of the phone, Chu Xian's mom couldn't help but burst out foul-mouthed. I have a girlfriend, she is sitting next to me, I'll let her talk to you. After Chu Xian finished speaking, he turned his head and looked blearily at Chen Mushui. 1 second Chen Mushui was still a little sad and lost, the next second, she seemed to understand what was going on. Hello auntie, I'm Chen Mushui, I'm brother Xian's girlfriend. As soon as Chen Mushui opened her mouth, Chu Xian's old mother was also directly frozen. Brat, you have a girlfriend, why didn't you say so earlier? I also just confirmed the relationship with Mushui. Then you bring your girlfriend home for the Mid-Autumn Festival. What do you say? That's a deal. After Chu Xian's mom finished speaking, she hung up the phone, not giving Chu Xian a chance to refuse. Chu Xian's mom was a bit speechless. She said that she had just confirmed the relationship, so she couldn't bring a girl home so quickly. Brother Xian, I have 3 days off for the Mid-Autumn Festival, so I can go home with you. Chen Mushui blushed and couldn't help but purse her lips after finishing her sentence. She actually had a good feeling towards Chu Xian, even though the two had only known each other for a few days. Chu Xian had indeed helped her a lot. Mushui, are you really willing to go home with me? Chu Xian did not expect Chen Mushui to take the initiative to answer down. He looked at Chen Mushui and softly inquired. Aha. Chen Mushui nodded with a red face. It seems like there aren't many days until the Mid-Autumn Festival, so I'll prepare for it then. The expression on Chu Xian's face did not change much, but the curled-up corners of his mouth revealed the joy in his heart. Chen Mushui's face value was high, her temperament was good, and her character was gentle. Chu Xian would have to say that he did not have any thoughts about her that would definitely be deceiving himself and others. But feelings of this kind of thing, always pay attention to as you love my willingness, and Chen Mushui is still in college. Originally Chu Xian thought that Chen Mushui did not have the idea of falling in love at the university, but now it seems that she seems to be a little bit of feeling for himself. Chapter 9 Just asking if you still have enough money. Jiangqing Normal University, Chen Mushui, Ding Kai, Lamborghini Big Bull 3 keywords directly on the campus posting bar hot search. Crap, eat big melon family members. Today, a third year of a rich second-generation senior with the school flower Chen Mushui confession, mercilessly rejected not to mention, the key is that the last person's boyfriend is driving a Lamborghini Bull too. Families, that's a big bull. It's a $10 million supercar. Ding Kai, I know, he has a Porsche Cayenne, he's usually a drag, his private life is especially chaotic, and it's said that he's been with 100 girlfriends or 80. If he wants to pursue Chen Mushui, he's dreaming. Porsche Cayenne is like a clown in front of a Lamborghini Bull. If I were Chen Mushui, I definitely wouldn't choose Ding Kai. What kind of a fish is Ding Kai? It hurts so much. Chen Mushui is my goddess, and hearing she has a boyfriend breaks my heart. But I still wish Chen Mushui the best of luck. Inside the girls' dormitory, Chen Mushui just went back to the dormitory and saw her 3 roommates staring at her. Honestly, what's the relationship between that Lamborghini driver and you? Are you in love? When did you meet him? How far did you go with him? The Lamborghini Bull. I just checked, it's a supercar that costs over $10 million. Mushui, your boyfriend is a top-tier rich second generation. Chen Mushui looked at the 3 roommates who were excited, and said somewhat sheepishly, don't get me wrong, I'm just friends with him, he's not my boyfriend. He's not my boyfriend. Mushui, are you too reserved or what? Yes, Mushui, when it is time to take action, that kind of top-rich second generation cannot let go. Listen to your sisters, you're the school's top girl. If you take the initiative, he'll fall for you in no time. Mushui, don't forget each other when you're rich. Chen Mushui looked at the 3 kissing roommates who were even more excited and thrilled than herself. She was also somewhat speechless. However, as soon as she thought of Chu Xian's handsome face value, and also thought that she would be going back home with Chu Xian during the Mid-Autumn Festival in a few days, a touch of scarlet appeared on her handsome face. Brother Xian, he is a very good person. Chen Mushui bit her lips and looked at her 3 kissing roommates and said shyly. Blush, tsk, Mushui, there is a situation. Oh. Xian, he is a very good person. He, Mushui, give the sisters an in-depth talk. Mushui, I smell loving you. However, the gap between me and him is too big. Chen Mushui did not say anything, and a trace of sourness could not help but grow in her heart. Her family of origin was not good, her parents favored sons over daughters, and she felt that she was not worthy of Chu Xian. Her family of origin was already too much for her to bear, and she did not want to involve Chu Xian. Chu Xian drove back to the villa, and the household servants lined up to greet him. Good day, Master Xian. Hm. Chu Xian gently nodded, and had to say that the villa was well taken care of by them. Sitting on the sofa, the maids brought freshly brewed tea and fresh fruits. Leaning his back on the sofa, Chu Xian silently sighed. The life of a rich man is really cool. Master Xian. Xin Weiwei, as Chu Xian's personal butler, was also the first to wait by Chu Xian's side after learning that he had returned. Well, Weiwei, your abilities are good, do a good job, you won't be treated poorly. The villa has Xin Weiwei to help manage it. Indeed, let Chu Xian save a lot of heart. For Xin Weiwei's working ability, Chu Xian expressed affirmation. Master Xian, there is a lack of nanny cars in the villa, and traveling is somewhat less convenient. I will make the arrangements. Chu Xian had picked up 10 Alphas and 5 Rolls-Royce Phantoms when he picked up the red packets earlier, and the system prompted that the cars had been stored in the Force store. Chu Xian directly called the number provided by the system. Is this Manager Zhang of the Huanyu car dealership? You are? Chu Xian, I ordered 10 Alpha and 2 Rolls-Royce Phantom in full payment from your family. Manager Zhang on the opposite side froze for a moment, his entire body tensed up, and his voice gradually became fawning. Chu Xiao, your car is parked in our car dealership garage, you give me a positioning, I will now send someone to send you over. Now, although it was already more than 10 o'clock at night, but doing their line of work, as long as the customer had a need, it was basically around-the-clock 24-hour service. What's more, Chu Xian is the super VLP customer of their Huanyu car dealership. Just before Chu Xian ordered those 10 Alpha and 2 Rolls-Royce Phantom with full payment, letting their car dealership earn millions. Shiyuan Villa Area, Villa 9. Yes, Mr. Chu, I will now send someone. No, I will personally bring someone to send the car over to you. Manager Zhang's voice was fawning, and his attitude towards Chu Xian was 200% respectful. Chu Xian's kind of big customer he wouldn't dare to offend, much less be able to offend. Hanging up the phone, Chu Xian took out a cigarette and lit it up, deeply gulped a mouthful before looking at Xin Weiwei and said, before ordering 10 Alpha and 2 Rolls-Royce Phantom, I've already talked to the manager of the car dealership, and they'll immediately consign the car over. Xin Weiwei stood aside, her face expression was calm, but her heart was a little rippled. An Alpha would cost more than $1 million on the ground, 10 units would be more than $10 million. As for the Rolls-Royce Phantom, a single one would land at over $10 million, and 2 would be over $20 million. That's over $30 million just to order these cars. Yes, Master Xian. Xin Weiwei answered and respectfully stood up straight. I'll go up and rest first, just arrange for the car to be parked in the garage when it arrives. Chu Xian stood up and stretched, the corner of his mouth curled up as he looked at Xin Weiwei and softly said, I understand. Xin Weiwei nodded. This little thing naturally didn't need Chu Xian to personally arrange it, otherwise it would appear that she was being redundant as a personal butler. There was a private garage outside the villa. Chu Xian's set of 9 villas was the king of the building, and the private garage that was equipped with it was also much larger than the private garages of other villas. The garage area was nearly 500 square meters, with a total of 36 parking spaces. Currently there were only 2 cars in the garage, one was the Lamborghini Dinio that Chu Xian often drove in the past 2 days, and the other was the McLaren Senna, a top supercar that was limited to 500 units globally. Manager Zhang of the Huanyu car dealership was very efficient, not even an hour had passed before he brought someone to consign the car to Chu Xian's villa door. Manager Zhang, is it? Our Master Xian has already slept. I am Master Xian's personal butler Xin Weiwei, the rest of the matter you and I hand over on the line. Zhang Jiabin looked Xin Weiwei up and down, his expression was respectful, he didn't dare to be slow. Butler Xin, just sign here. Okay. 10 Alphas and 2 Rolls-Royce Phantoms were driven into Chu Xian's private garage in the first hour. Zhang Jiabin was also envious when he saw the private garage of nearly 500 square meters, and he was even more excited when he saw the McLaren Senna that was limited to 500 units. After Xin Weiwei's consent, Manager Zhang took his cell phone and shot at the McLaren Senna. As expected, it is a limited edition of top supercars, even Lamborghini Bulls in the side also only eclipsed the part.A. Manager Zhang muttered on his lips, his heart was even more curious about Chu Xian's identity. Purchase order is not Chu Xian personally, he came over to hand over the car, did not see Chu Xian, from beginning to end, he even Chu Xian's face has not seen. But Zhang Jiabin heart cannot dare to have any resentment, he is just a little curious about Chu Xian's identity, after all, before this, he has not heard of Jiangcheng has Xian master such a big man. The most luxurious villa in Jiangcheng is the Shiyuan Villa, the traveling car is a Lamborghini Bull, McLaren Senna. He spent over $30 million on 10 Alphas and 2 Rolls-Royce Phantoms. Butler Xin, thank you for me and Master Xian, the car has been put into storage, this is my business card, you can contact me at any time if you have any questions. Xin Weiwei took the business card in Manager Zhang's hand, okay. For Xin Weiwei's high spirits, Zhang Jiabin didn't dare to have any complaints and led the people to leave in a hurry. All the servants in the villa were privately whispering after seeing so many cars drive into the garage. Our family's Master Xian is really a top-tier rich second generation Lamborghini Bull, McLaren Senna, Rolls-Royce Phantom, Alpha. These cars alone are worth tens of millions of dollars. Those stars' nanny cars are Alphas, aren't they? I didn't realize that this kind of luxury car in Master Xian's garage is the cheapest car. Hey, let's go out to buy groceries in the future to drive the Alpha. It's really lucky to be able to serve Master Xian. Even though we're only servants in the villa now, the quality of life has improved by a factor of 2. Yes. I never thought I'd be able to make $30,000 a month, live in a luxury villa, and travel in a $1 million luxury car. Put away your little thoughts. Seeing that some servants gathered together to whisper, Shen Weiwei approached over and said with a stern face, "Don't forget your job. In the villa, the first thing we have to do is to serve Master Xian well." Hearing Shen Weiwei's voice, the servants who were still whispering were scared and hurriedly stood up straight. Yes, housekeeper Shen. Well, Master Xian is resting, so other than the staff on duty, everyone else should hurry and go rest as well. Shen Weiwei, as Chu Xian's personal housekeeper, the other staff within the villa were managed by her, and she didn't want to see anyone chewing the cud or having any other ideas within the villa. The servants were also in awe of Shen Weiwei. After all, Shen Weiwei was Chu Xian's hand-picked head housekeeper, and just based on Shen Weiwei's resume, they couldn't help but be convinced. At 26 years old, a doctorate in management, the ability of the year is naturally unquestionable. Late at night, Shen Weiwei was still awake. She had never come into contact with the profession of a private butler before, and since she had taken on the role of Chu Xian's private butler, she wanted to do her job as well as she could. Without any details, Shen Weiwei listed out her job content one by one and recorded it on her notebook. Chu Xian had mentioned to Shen Weiwei that she wanted to improve her quality of life and enjoy a life of financial freedom, and Chu Xian had also clearly told her that money was not a problem. If money was not a problem, then there was basically no problem. As Chu Xian's personal butler, Shen Weiwei naturally had to think about all aspects of Chu Xian's clothing, food, housing, and transportation. Shen Weiwei previously had a classmate whose family specialized in making private custom-made clothing for the rich. From the inside to the outside, a whole set down the cheapest private customization have to be more than 200,000. Shen Weiwei had already contacted her classmate, and tomorrow they would send someone special to Chu Xian's door. Shen Weiwei hired 5 chefs or also senior chef. The specialty dishes are included in the 8 major cuisines as well as a variety of Western food. In addition, Shen Weiwei specially contacted some well-known ingredients suppliers to ensure that Chu Xian ate the freshest and healthiest ingredients every day. Tobacco, wine and tea purchasing standards were also specifically listed by Shen Weiwei. Can get a special supply of absolutely no ordinary market goods, the quality of strict requirements, the price of natural and then also doubled several times. 9 to 5, Huang Helu 1916, Dayleaf. Various brands of cigarettes Shen Weiwei through their own channels to get a special version, is the prices more expensive than the market goods 2 or 3 times. In a word, Shen Weiwei quality requirements is to seek the best. High quality requirements naturally need the support of money. Shen Weiwei never thought that the original $20 million would be so unforgiving. From the afternoon with people living in the villa, all kinds of expenses have spent $1 or $2 million. These are still invisible small money, behind all kinds of bigger expenses calculated down is a not small number. For example, to Chu Xian tailor-made high-end clothes, for seasons a year, each season at least 10 sets, a set of less than 1 or 200,000, a year down, how to also have a few million. Shen Weiwei looked at the account book, more or less some uncertainty. It's better to ask Master Xian what he wants to do tomorrow. Shen Weiwei closed the account book, turned off the light, lying on the bed to summarize the content of today's work before falling asleep. The next morning, Chu Xian slept until 9 o'clock before waking up. Coming down from upstairs, the maid who was cleaning saw Chu Xian also immediately stood up straight and greeted him. "Good morning, Master Xian." "HM." Chu Xian nodded, his gaze looking toward Shen Weiwei who was already instructing the servants in their work. Shen Weiwei was dressed in a professional suit, and her slender figure actually looked very capable. "Weiwei." Chu Xian signaled Shen Weiwei to come over. Hearing Chu Xian's voice, Shen Weiwei walked straight to Chu Xian's side, stood up straight, crossed her hands on her waist, and slightly bent over. "Master Xian, you command." Chu Xian stared at Shen Weiwei. He had to say that today's Shen Weiwei was a bit of a professional housekeeper. "Nothing much, just wanted to ask if you still have enough money." The corner of Chu Xian's mouth curled up. Yesterday he transferred $20 million to Shen Weiwei, but after all, he had just moved to this side of the villa, and there were a lot of living items that needed to be procured. A lot of things had been added to the villa. Chu Xian saw it in his eyes and naturally had to inquire about it. Master Xian, this is the list of various purchases I made yesterday. The amount that needs to be spent is indeed large. I was just about to report it to you, and if you agree, I will then follow the procurement list to pick it up. Xin Weiwei handed over a tablet. Xu Xian just swept two eyes and nodded without hesitation. There is no problem, so let's do it this way. I will transfer another $50 million to you. Hearing Xu Xian say transfer another $50 million, Xin Weiwei was also slightly stunned. She had wanted to say that she couldn't use that much money for the time being, but before she opened her mouth, Xu Xian had already taken his cell phone and shook it at her. The money was transferred, you check it out. $50 million was definitely not a small amount, but how did Xin Weiwei feel that Xu Xian hadn't put $50 million in his eyes at all? Master Xian, the money is in the account. The money was already in the account, so Xin Weiwei naturally wouldn't say any more nonsense, but instead stood up straight and responded in a very respectful manner. Order the chef to prepare some breakfast, I'm a little hungry. Xu Xian leaned his back on the sofa, the corner of his mouth curled up as he looked at Xin Weiwei and smiled as he commanded. Good Master Xian, I will go and order the chef to prepare breakfast for you. Chapter 10, Organizing a Master Xian Charity Foundation? Breakfast looked a bit plain and simple, but after Xu Xian tasted it, he knew that this breakfast was not simple at all. The king crab porridge in casserole was fresh and flavorful. The tender crab meat blended perfectly with the soft rice, and every bite was filled with luxury. The black truffle bread on the plate was crispy on the outside and soft on the inside, paired with the unique aroma of the black truffle was mesmerizing. Xu Xian did not have the habit of eating breakfast before, but now, he vowed to eat breakfast well in the future. However, this breakfast was really not cheap. The king crab used for the king crab porridge was only flown in from Australia last night. As for the black truffle, it was even more expensive, 100,000 yuan for one or two, and it was still the kind that had a price. But how much money? Xu Xian did not mind. After all, he now lacks everything. The only thing he does not lack is money. After finishing his breakfast, Xu Xian stretched his waist to enjoy the pleasant sunlight. Master Xian, yesterday I made an appointment for you to have your private customized clothing made, and they sent someone over who needs to measure your dimensions. Please ask them to come in. Xu Xian nodded and signaled Xin Weiwei to invite them in. Xu Xian was 185 centimeters tall and weighed 75 kilograms. His figure belonged to a natural clothes rack. Master Xian's figure is truly the most perfect I've seen since I've been in the industry. The one who measured Xu Xian's figure was a middle-aged man, an old tailor with 20 years of experience. How much do you charge for a customized set of clothes? Measuring the size, Xu Xian asked with a smile. There are more than 100,000 to a few $1 million. Oh? Xu Xian also froze when he heard the old tailor say that a customized set of clothes would require millions. Then he turned his head to look at Xin Weiwei and asked, Weiwei, in the future, my clothes will all be customized according to the standard of 3 million a set. Ah? The old tailor couldn't help but when he heard Xu Xian say that the customization standard was according to 3 million a set. When he came over, his boss told him that Xu Xian was a big customer and urged him not to offend him. Originally, the old tailor was still a bit unconcerned. After all, he didn't think that there could be any big customers in a small third-tier city like Jiangcheng, and yesterday, Xin Weiwei booked a high-end customization of 200,000 a set. Even if she booked 10 sets in one breath, it would still only be 2 million. But now, he looked at the young but easygoing Xu Xian in front of him, also stood up straight with a respectful expression on his face. If 3 million for one set, 10 sets would be $30 million. And that was only for this season's clothes. If they could cooperate for a long period of time, Xu Xian alone would be able to feed an entire studio of theirs. Yes, Master Xian. Xin Weiwei answered, and although the expression on her face was calm, inwardly she was still shocked by Xu Xian. To be honest, she had once again refreshed her perception of Xu Xian. She knew that Xu Xian was rich, but to be honest, she truly did not think that Xu Xian would actually be this rich. Furthermore, Xu Xian's attitude in spending money made Xin Weiwei feel that Xu Xian was very bottomless. As a matter of fact, Xu Xian, who had finished speaking, was also in a bit of a physical pain. 3 million for a set of high-end customization, and ordering 10 sets at once, that was 30 million ah. Looking at the balance of his bank account, which was left at a little more than 200 million, Xu Xian scratched his head and murmured in his heart, it seems that he will have to work hard today. Xu Xian immediately set himself a pickup goal of picking up at least $100 million in cash. $100 million in cash was not much, to say the least. Even if an average pickup of a red packet could obtain a cash reward of $200,000, $100 million in cash would require picking up 500 red packets. Xu Xian had previously been able to pick up 100 red packets in about half an hour, and with 500 red packets, Xu Xian would have to pick them up for 2 or 3 hours. Time is short, the task is heavy. Wherever there is a large amount of foot traffic, Chu Xian drills into it. Ding, congratulations to the host for picking up a red packet and obtaining 100,000 yuan in cash. Ding, congratulations to the host for picking up a red packet and obtaining 200,000 yuan in cash. Ding, congratulations to the host for picking up a red packet and obtaining 500,000 yuan in cash. Ding, congratulations to the host for picking up a red packet and obtaining $5 million in cash. Jiangqing Pedestrian Street, Chu Xian made 2 trips back and forth. Sudi Square, Chu Xian climbed from the 1st floor to the 5th floor. After 2.5 hours of struggle, when he once again checked his bank account balance, Chu Xian stretched his back with satisfaction. Bank account balance, $465 million. More than 260 million more than when he came out of the villa. Phew. Overshooting the mission, cool. Completing the mission, Chu Xian rewarded himself with a bottle of ice cola, instantly refreshing his body. Going home and lying flat. Chu Xian drove the Lamborghini Big Bull directly back to the villa to lie flat. Drinking tea, smoking cigarettes, and when he was bored, he watched small short dramas and brushed Jitterbug. In the afternoon, Meng Jiawei gave Chu Xian a video call, mainly informing Chu Xian that the store is going to be renovated and remodeled, asking Chu Xian if he wants to go over to visit and guide. I will go over tomorrow afternoon to take a look. Chu Xian agreed, but just to go over and take a look, he did not intend to interfere with Meng Jiawei's work. He had already said that he was only responsible for investing and not running the business, and then again, using people is not a good idea. Chu Xian, since he chose to believe in Meng Jiawei, he certainly would not interfere with Meng Jiawei's ideas. As for the site of Suyi Plaza, Chu Xian will still go over, but also just by the way over to take a look at Two Eyes. After all, there was a large amount of foot traffic at the Suyi Plaza, and the efficiency of picking up red envelopes was a bit faster. Dinner was sumptuous, 6 dishes and 1 soup, meat and vegetables, balanced nutrition. Wei Wei, sit down and eat together. In front of the dining table, Shen Weiwei waited at the side, ready to listen to Chu Xian's dispatch. When she heard Chu Xian ask her to sit down and eat with him, Shen Weiwei was a little frightened. Master Xian, I'm still. Fine, so many dishes, I can't finish them all by myself, sit down and eat them together. The corner of Chu Xian's mouth curled up as he softly said. The corners of Chu Xian's mouth curled up as he softly said. Shen Weiwei pulled out a chair and sat down next to Chu Xian. Chu Xian saw her a bit formal and also joked, relax, I won't eat you. Hearing Chu Xian say that, Shen Weiwei pursed her lips, wanting to speak. Shen Weiwei's face slightly red, the heart cannot help but slander, how is it possible to say relax to relax? A cigarette after dinner, happy like a god. Chu Xian leaned on the sofa and suddenly remembered that he had also obtained 50 sets of school district houses in Ilanya residence when he picked up the red packets earlier. Chu Xian did not lack money and naturally would not sell these properties. However, Chu Xian didn't have a diversion, so those houses couldn't remain unused. Wei Wei, I still have 50 school district houses over at Ilanya residence, you find someone to get an agency to help me take care of them. Ha! Good. Shen Weiwei wasn't shocked that Chu Xian could have so many properties, but speaking of which, the school district houses in the Ilanyaja neighborhood were indeed high-end neighborhoods in Jiangqing, and were one of the residences that quite a few people in Jiangqing dreamed of buying. And it is this kind of high-end school district house, Chu Xian he owns the whole 50 sets. Only rent, not sell, rent according to the market rate to it. Chu Xian actually did not care about the rent, but the house was placed there and he did not live there, it was always good if someone could help take care of it. Besides, mosquito meat is also meat. According to the current market, the rent of Ilanya residence is at least $4,000 a month, a year, the rent of a suite is $48,000. Chu Xian hand this 50 sets of school district room if all rent out, a year also has a 2,400,000, is not a small amount. Moreover, recently Chu Xian had picked up hundreds of houses in other neighborhoods, which could be placed in his own agency to take care of. Chu Xian was still clear about the reasoning of accumulating less into more and gathering sand into towers. Right, there is another thing, the day after tomorrow my friend's little girl has her birthday, 5 weeks old little girl, you help me prepare a gift. Chu Xian thought that the day after tomorrow would be Wang Xinyue's little friend's birthday, and that he couldn't go over empty-handed after being invited to Wang Xinyue's birthday banquet, right? Okay, Master Xian, I'll make the arrangements. Shen Weiwei nodded and answered. The night was boring, although Chu Xian didn't like nightclubs, but there were a lot of people at nightclubs. Driving the Lamborghini Big Bull to the Oscar bar where he first met Chen Mushui, on the crowded dance floor, Chu Xian stretched his arms, lifted his arms, and picked up red packets after red packets with a face full of excitement. Ding, congratulate the host to pick up a red packet, get cash 100,000 yuan. Ding, congratulate the host to pick up a red packet, get cash 100,000 yuan. Ding, congratulate the host to pick up a red packet, get cash 100,000 yuan. The red packet is not less pick up, when 90% are 100,000 yuan cash red packet. Xu Xian from the beginning of the excitement turned into a loss, the heart cannot help but murmur, martyr, really, Ken in the nightclub bouncing her all poor pussy. From the crowded dance floor down, Xu Xian decisively chose to wander in the various card seat. Ding, congratulations to the host to pick up a red envelope, get cash 10 million yuan. Ding, congratulations to the host to pick up a red envelope, get cash 20 million yuan. Ding, congratulations to the host to pick up a red envelope, get cash 10 million yuan. Ding, congratulations to the host to pick up a red envelope, get cash 500 million yuan. The magic city of the eastern suburb of the first villa, a set of Lamborghini Poison A. I mud horse. Route Xu Xian now for picking up the red packet to obtain the reward has been numb, but after hearing such a generous red packet reward he was also shocked too. I've met a real top-tier rich second generation ah. Xu Xian looked at the middle-aged man sitting on the card seat. It was him, no wonder the rewards were so generous. Xu Xian really did not expect to meet Zheng Song in a bar in a small city like Jiangcheng, the only son of the former richest man in the country. Although it has fallen in the past 2 years, the two of them are still worth close to hundreds of billions of father and son. Xu Xian had the idea of approaching Zheng Song's acquaintance, but thought better of it. In a place like a bar, if he rushed to get close to Zheng Song, he would be driven out by the bodyguards around him. Moreover, Xu Xian wasn't a dog licker, and to be honest, Zheng Song's account balance wasn't necessarily as high as his. Xu Xian checked his account balance, and just a moment ago, after picking up the red envelopes around Zheng Song, his account balance had broken through the 1 billion mark, coming to 1,030 million. Sure enough, tonight, my left eye has been jumping all the time. I deserve to be rich ah. Xu Xian whistled as he came out of the bar. On the parking space in front of the bar, there was still a group of people surrounding his Lamborghini Big Bull. Xu Xian smoothly picked up a circle of red envelopes, and then under the envious and jealous gazes of the crowd, he opened the door of the driver's seat of the Big Bull and sat down on his butt. Crap, rich as drag ah. I'm so fucking envious. If I had the strength to drive a Big Bull, I would be even more arrogant than him. Do you believe me? I believe, but please don't dream. This car more than 10 million, just like you, Sell you can't afford to buy this car. You say this really solid ah. The bank account balance exceeded 1 billion. Xu Xian was in a very good mood. After returning to the villa, Xu Xian first time transferred another $30 million to Xin Weiwei. $30 million, just a fraction of the account. Xin Weiwei, on the other hand, was confused, looking at the arrival text message reminder on her cell phone. Xin Weiwei, who was busy with things, hurriedly came to Xu Xian's side. Master Xian, I saw that you transferred another $30 million to me just now. Do you have something you want to order me to do? It's fine, not privately customized 10 sets of clothes, 3 million a set. 10 sets is not exactly 30 million. The corner of Xu Xian's mouth rose, and he said with a soft smile. Oh. Hearing Xu Xian say that, Xin Weiwei froze for a moment before reacting. By the way, there really is one thing. Xu Xian looked at Xin Weiwei and said, I intend to set up the Master Xian Charity Foundation to do charity work and accumulate some merit for myself and my family. After enjoying the life of a rich man for a few days, Xu Xian inexplicably developed a trace of guilt. Xuman's wine and meat stinks, and the road has frozen bones. As the saying goes, if you are poor, you can do good to yourself, but if you are rich, you can do good to the world. Xu Xian had also been an ordinary person before, and he was more able to appreciate the hardships of being an ordinary person. Xu Xian this was also considered to be taking from the people and using it for the people. Xin Weiwei heard that Xu Xian wanted to establish a charitable foundation for charity was also unable to help but froze, but then came back to her senses. Okay Master Xian, I'll make the arrangements. Xu Xian nodded and signaled Xin Weiwei to go about her work. Leaning on the sofa, he smoked a cigarette, swiped Jitterbug for a while, stood up and stretched. It's getting late, let's rest early. Xu Xian looked at the servant who had been standing by his side waiting and smiled and said, Thank you, Master Xian. The two servants stood up straight, crossed their hands in front of their waists, slightly bent over, and responded respectfully. After waking up from a sleep, it was already 9 o'clock in the morning. Getting up from the bed, he put on his clothes and went downstairs. The two maids followed Xu Xian around to serve him closely, serving tea and pouring water. Xu Xian had completely adapted from his initial discomfort to now. After eating breakfast, sitting on the sofa, drinking tea, and playing with his cell phone, the small life was quite comfortable. As for Shin Weiwei, she was also getting busier and busier, the daily expenses within the entire villa, the procurement of all kinds of living materials she was personally responsible for. And last night, Xu Xian also instructed her to find someone to open a real estate agency, the creation of Master Xian's charitable foundation. She is now basically in a state of continuous rotation. However, Shin Weiwei is capable of suffering, and she is even a bit happy about it, enjoying the busyness very much. Shin Weiwei is very thankful for Xu Xian's trust in her. She really wants to do a good job of what Xu Xian ordered her to do. Last night, Shin Weiwei contacted her cousin Tang Tang at the first opportunity. Cousin, I remember that you've been working in a real estate agency. My boss is preparing to open a real estate agency specifically to take care of the houses in his hands. I'm going to let you take over this matter. I'll go. Weiwei, how many houses does your boss have in his hands, and he still needs to open a real estate agency specifically to take care of them? Hearing Shin Weiwei's words, Tang Tang was directly shocked. I'm not sure, but what I know is that there are 50 school district houses over at Ilan Yaju. I'm going to rely on it. There are 50 suites in Ilan residence? Tang Tang, who had been working in a real estate agency before, was instantly shocked to the point that she knew all too well how expensive the school district houses in Ilan Yaju were. Weiwei, this boss of yours has a lot of money. There are almost no small houses in Ilan Yaju. The smallest house is 200 square meters. Don't look at the price of houses in China, but they are all in bad locations. Ilan Yaju side of the school district housing, now each square meter still have to 30,000 yuan it. A suite of less than 6 or 7 million. Your boss that 50 sets of school district housing, at least worth 3 or 400 million ah. Well. Shin Weiwei, as a local of Jiangchang, is naturally aware of how expensive the houses of Ilan Yaju are. Cousin, I think it's okay to leave this to you, right? I'm sure it's no problem. The school district house in Ilan Yaju is not too good to rent. Tang Tang agreed directly, without any hesitation at all. 20% of the rent is at your disposal, and I have to submit the rest to the boss. As soon as Shin Weiwei said this, Tang Tang's side immediately stood up in excitement. Weiwei, don't worry, I will definitely do this matter for you beautifully, and will definitely not let you and the boss down. 20% of the rent. That's at least $500,000 a year. She now earns $6,000 a month, and can't save any money after expenses. Now the opportunity has come, she said would also want to grasp this opportunity. Chapter 11 Pick up a billion jittery coins. Xu Xian asked Shin Weiwei to help him prepare a birthday gift last night, saying that it was for the 5-week-old little girl of his friend's family. Shin Weiwei didn't dare to slack off, directly customized a Barbie doll worth $1 million, placed an order last night, and overnight it was flown from the foreign side to Jiangchang. Master Xian, the gift prepared for the little girl has arrived. Shin Weiwei led the gift box containing Barbie to Xu Xian's side and said, just flown in from abroad, Mattel's privately customized Barbie, worth 1,600,000 yuan. When he heard that the Barbie doll prepared by Shin Weiwei was worth $1,600,000, Xu Xian froze for a moment. He is not heartbroken about the money, mainly he is a little curious, want to see what the Barbie doll worth $1,600,000 is like. I'll take a look. Xu Xian signaled Shin Weiwei to open the gift box. Shin Weiwei nodded and carefully unpacked the gift box. Inside a four-sided box made of tempered glass quietly lay a beautifully crafted Barbie doll. The size was not big, only more than 20 centimeters in height, but the exquisite workmanship made Xu Xian, a big man, exclaim perfection. A head of long blonde hair, hair soft and shiny. The eyes were deep and were set by 2 precious sapphires. The face was exquisite and incomparable, the skin was as white as snow and the lips were as delicate as cherries. Around her neck was a pearl necklace, the stones round and smooth. On her right hand, she wore a diamond bracelet, radiant. The most gorgeous was the evening dress worn on the body, the hem of which was inlaid with countless sparkling diamonds, each of which was worth a lot of money. On the whole, her posture was elegant and generous, especially in her eyes which revealed confidence and calmness, as if she was a true princess. Before seeing the real thing, Xu Xian was wondering what kind of Barbie doll could be worth $1,600,000. After seeing the real thing, Xu Xian only had one thought: expensive things only have one drawback, that is expensive. It's so beautiful, the little girl will definitely like it. The corners of Xu Xian's mouth curled up as he smiled and said, find someone to repackage it, and then just put it in my car. Okay, Master Xian. Shin Weiwei also breathed a sigh of relief. She had taken it upon herself to buy a gift that was worth so much. Originally she had been prepared for Xu Xian to say something about her, but from start to finish, Xu Xian did not have a trace of displeasure, and was even unusually satisfied after seeing the physical object. But thinking about it, his own master Xian had always not cared too much about how much money he spent. $1,600,000 was a huge sum of money for ordinary people, but for the billionaire master Xian, this $1,600,000 was indeed somewhat insignificant. After lunch, Xu Xian came to the garage, before has been driving her Lamborghini Bull. As for that more than 23 million worth of McLaren Senna he has not touched. He hadn't touched the McLaren Sienna. Driving a McLaren Senna worth more than $23 million from the Shiyuan Villa area straight to the side of the Sudi Plaza. Along the way, all the cars were deliberately keeping a distance from Xu Xian's McLaren Senna. Although most people might not recognize Xu Xian's supercar, but with such a cool supercar, keeping a distance was the right thing to do. Otherwise, if they really scratched and touched it, then they would not necessarily be able to afford to pay for it even if they lost all their money. I'll be damned. Am I blind? Pinch me. The car just parked in the parking space attracted the attention of many passers-by. No way. A McLaren Senna, a limited edition supercar like this, would someone really take it out and drive it? Cars are meant to be driven. What do you know? This is the McLaren Senna. It's a limited edition of only 500 units worldwide, with a price tag of over $20 million. The point is, you can't buy this car just because you have money. There are so many rich people around the world, and with a limited edition of 500, it's just not enough to share. This car is really hot pants. That said, Jiangcheng rich people are quite a lot. 2 days ago on this side to see a Lamborghini Bull, today, and here to see a McLaren Senna. Bull in front of the Senna is a younger brother, farts or not. Cannot say so, after all, Lamborghini Bull landing price also have to more than 10 million ah. Fuck me. Holy shit. Shit. Isn't that guy the owner of the Lamborghini Bull? Xu Xian calmly got down from the car, for the envious and jealous gazes thrown by the surrounding crowd he had long been accustomed to. Entering the Sudi Plaza, Xu Xian specialized in picking places with a lot of people, and the efficiency of picking up red envelopes increased greatly. Ding, congratulations to the host picking up a red packet, obtaining cash of 100,000 yuan. Ding, congratulations to the host picking up a red packet, obtaining cash of 200,000 yuan. Ding, congratulations to the host picking up a red packet, obtaining cash of 200,000 yuan. Ding, congratulations to the host picking up a red packet, obtaining cash of $1 million. In the sea of his mind, the system's beeps madly reminded Xu Xian to enjoy himself in the middle of the process, fully immersed in the joy of picking up a red packet. Xu Xian was happy in it, completely immersed in the joy of picking up the red packet. It's so damn cool. Half an hour passed without realizing it. Xu Xian checked his account balance, 1,030 million. Picking up $30 million in cash in half an hour, Xu Xian was directly happy, and when he passed by the Ruweixing coffee shop, he directly spent $12 to buy a cup of ice Americano to refresh himself. He started sweeping from the first floor, not letting go of any of the red envelopes. Ding, congratulations to the host for picking up a red packet, obtaining 200,000 yuan in cash. Ding, congratulations to the host for picking up a red packet, obtaining 100,000 yuan in cash. Xu Xian picked up from the first floor to the fifth floor in one breath, looked at his cell phone, and surprisingly spent 2.5 hours. Before walking to the entrance of Meng Jiaowei's store, Xu Xian once again checked his bank account balance. $1,060 million. A whole 130 million more than when he checked it just now. This speed of earning money was even faster than printing money. Xu Xian couldn't help but mutter in his heart as he looked at his bank account balance. With this thought in his heart, Meng Jiaowei happened to walk out from the store. Master Xian, I thought that you had something to do this afternoon and wouldn't be coming. Meng Jiaowei greeted Xu Xian the first time he saw him. Xu Xian returned to his senses and raised his eyes to look at Meng Jiaowei, the corners of his mouth curled up. Not bad efficiency. It's mainly because Master Xian is powerful. What Meng Jiaowei said was true. After all, Xu Xian had not only taken out $20 million in one breath to give him as a business investment, the key was also to directly throw away money and spend the entire 200 million to buy the store down. Meng Jiaowei certainly do not want to let Xu Xian disappointed. He first time to find the most powerful decoration company in Jiangcheng. From design to decoration, Meng Jiaowei hoped to use the fastest time to rush in the 11th National Day before the completion and trial operation. The store area of 2,000 square meters, the previous renovation all over again. With such a large area, the renovation budget alone is as high as $4 to $5 million. Plus all kinds of hardware facilities, the opening of the store pre-budget is as high as $10 million. The good thing is that now the store has been bought by Xu Xian. Xu Xian also didn't want to collect the store's rent, this year's saved rent. How to say there are more than 1 million yuan. Is the initial capital enough? Xu Xian followed Meng Jiaowei around the store. The equipment from the previous hot pot restaurant had all been removed, as for the previous decoration it had also begun to be dismantled. Master Xian, to be honest, it's not quite enough. Meng Jiaowei laughed bitterly, looked at Xu Xian, skimmed. Just the decoration budget has been 4 or 5 million, plus the back into the equipment. Miscellaneous hardware facilities have not yet opened. The budget has been in the 10 million or so. Money is really not spent. Meng Jiaowei couldn't help but sigh. Let's do it this way, I'll invest another $30 million in you, and if you invest $50 million up front, that should be more than enough. Xu Xian didn't lack money, and he didn't want Meng Jiaowei to be tied up in opening a store because he didn't have enough money. However, I have a little request. Our cafeteria ingredients must be used in the market's best food channels, must guarantee the quality. Aha! Master Xian, you and I have thought of the same thing. Meng Jiaowei heard Xu Xian say this and immediately nodded heavily. RC Banquet Seafood Buffet Restaurant is running towards the top buffet restaurant in the country. In terms of the selection of food material channels, my requirements are also the highest. It is naturally best if you can think this way. Xu Xian patted Meng Jiaowei's shoulder. King crab, Australian lobster. Such seafood must also be paired with gimmick sufficient sum. If you arrange for king crab and Australian lobster, then the price of the meal will have to be raised quite a bit. Old Meng, let me ask you a question. What do you think is the most important factor for a successful buffet? Xu Xian has been to a lot of buffet restaurants before. All price levels of buffet restaurants he has tasted, from $50 a piece to $799 a piece. His deepest feeling is the cost-effective. Cheap? Meng Jiaowei looked at Xu Xian and replied tentatively. No, it's cost-effective. Xu Xian also did not sell. The corner of his mouth curled up, smiled and replied. That's still not cheap. Meng Jiaowei froze for a moment, somewhat unable to understand. No, cost-effective is not the same as cheap. I'll put it this way, a $50 a buffet restaurant, the ingredients have steak, have kippers shrimp. You say for this price buffet, it's cost-effective is not high? It's definitely high. Not to mention the steak, say kippered shrimp, to the market to buy, a caddy how to $20 or $30, right? Eating 2 or 3 pounds of shrimp can return the cost? Meng Jiaowei seemed to understand Xu Xian's meaning a little, and muttered. Yes. Similarly, if we price the restaurant at 799 yuan per person, but our ingredients are also guaranteed to be top-notch, king crab, Australian lobster, the best salmon, tuna, as long as the seafood available on the market, we guarantee that we have everything. As a consumer, would you still feel that the pricing of 799 yuan per person is too high? Master Xian, if you say so, the cost performance is really high. If you want to bring fruit, you can also bring durian, mangosteen and other expensive fruits. Yes, we open buffet restaurant, not afraid of customers to eat, but afraid of customers eat unhappy. Next time do not come, you say, right? That's right, Master Xian, that's the truth. Meng Jiaowei nodded non-committally. Then follow this level. Since you have decided to be a high-end brand, the positioning at the beginning cannot be too low. Xu Xian smiled and continued. Before the 11th National Day, if we can test run the business, we have to start doing marketing now. Jitterbug Tongcheng is a good marketing channel. Do a little pre-sale before opening, priced at 599 yuan a person, and when the event is over directly resume 799 yuan a person. All listen to Master Xian. Meng Jiaowei stood up straight, smilingly patted his chest and said. Ahem, said I do not care about business things. Today is also a whim to say a few more words. Old Meng, you as the boss, the future of the store things still have to you more on the heart, personally do it. Aha. Listening to Master Xian's words is better than reading 10 years worth of books. Don't flatter me, I'm leaving now. Meng Jiaowei sent Xu Xian downstairs. Master Xian, I will go back to keep an eye on them to work. Aha, go. Xu Xian stretched his back. It had already been 3 or 4 hours since he came out of the villa, and all he wanted to do now was to go back and lie down flat. Xu Xian walked straight towards his own McLaren Senna. He had to say, the luxury car is to attract people. Xu Xian looked from afar, his own McLaren Senna surrounded by onlookers, at least 40 to 50 people. Xu Xian did not move, and walked into the crowd. Xu Xian did not move, and walked into the crowd to first harvest a wave of red envelopes. After all, those virtual red envelopes floating in the air were piled up brightly. Xu Xian saw that there was naturally no reason not to pick them up. Ding, congratulations to the host for picking up a red packet, obtaining cash of 100,000 yuan. Ding, congratulations to the host for picking up a red packet, obtaining cash of 200,000 yuan. The system's beeps echoed in Chu Xian's mind. Not too long ago, Chu Xian picked up 50 to 60 red packets. Chu Xian roughly estimated in his heart, just now, this wave, at least picking up 7 to 8 million in cash. Comfortable. Going home and lying flat. Chu Xian stretched his lazy waist, hard from the crowd and squeezed to the front of the car. Just now, there were so many people that Chu Xian had not been able to squeeze in front of the car. Only after squeezing in did he realize that there was a beautiful anchor woman with long legs doing a live broadcast in front of the car. It had to be said that the long-legged beauty anchor's face value was quite okay. Long hair, shoulders, flaming red lips, long legs, small waist. The place that should be convex was convex, and the place that should be arched was arched. There was a red packet floating around her, and Chu Xian took the opportunity to directly pick it up. Ding! Congratulations to the host for picking up a red packet and obtaining 1 billion jitterbug coins, which has been deposited into the host's jitterbug account. 1 billion jitterbug coins? This was the first time Chu Xian had picked up a currency similar to the game's virtual coins, and was more or less curious. According to the exchange ratio of 1:10, 1 billion jitterbug coins were worth 100 million cash. Not bad at all. This billion jitter coins is considered to be a pickup. Chu Xian could not help but feel a little happy in his heart. Chu Xian stepped forward, but before he finished speaking, that long-legged female anchor frowned and looked at Chu Xian. Wait a moment, wait for me to finish this PK fight. Chu Xian heard her say this and was also interested, so he stood to the side and waited, took out his cell phone and opened the Jane Homeland, and directly swiped to the long-legged female anchor who was playing PK. She is Chu Chua. Chu Xian hindsight, before he doesn't watch much webcasts, but he also knows that there is an outdoor anchor called Chu Chu in Jiangcheng. After all, it's a netizen with millions of fans, and it still has some fame in Jiangcheng. It looks like PK is about to lose. For the sake of you using my favorite car as a backdrop for the live broadcast, let's help you out. Chu Xian thought in his heart and immediately sent 10 Carnival in the live broadcast room of Chor Chor. Inside the live broadcast room, the special effects of the carnival floated on the screen. On the scene, the anchor Chu Chu jumped straight up in excitement. Thank you, Master Xian, for sending 10 carnivals. Give me some attention from Master Xian. Chu Chu screamed with excitement, not caring about the gazes of the onlookers at the scene. It was also true that 1 carnival was worth $3,000, and 10 carnivals was $30,000. Even if the platform siphons off half of it and removes the tax payment, there's still more than $10,000 in hand. The PK ended, with Chu Xian's assist. Cho Cho won the PK without any surprises. Ahem, beautiful girl, make way, you're blocking the door of my car. Chu Xian went forward, the corner of his mouth curled up. Chu Chu had an afterthought, but she did move to the side. Chu Xian directly opened the door of the driver's seat. You are Chu Chua, I'm Master Xian, you private message me, add me a friend. Chu Xian is not flirting with the girls, but is mainly marketing for Meng Jiaowei's seafood buffet restaurant. After all, Chu Chu is Jiangcheng's local netizen with millions of fans, so if he can cooperate with her, the marketing effect will definitely be very good. Chapter 12. It won't take long to be worth $10 billion. Crap. After Chu Xian drove the McLaren Senna away from this side, the crowd of onlookers couldn't help but riot any longer. This is a real top-tier rich kid. A McLaren Senna, a top-of-the-line supercar with over $20 million. Young, high face value, and money, what kind of girls are talking about such a man? Chor Chor, that's Master Xian who just rewarded 10 carnivals in your live room. Don't stare, private message him, add him as a friend. If you can hook up with him, you'll be happy for the rest of your life. This Mr. Xian seems to be a real big shot. I work at the Soyi Plaza and I've seen him a few times. I've seen him several times. He drove a Lamborghini before, and today he's driving a McLaren Senna. I heard that a store on the 5th floor of the Soyi Plaza was bought by a young man, spending 200 million should be him. Cho Cho was indeed a bit distracted, thinking back to her attitude towards Chu Xian just now, she unconsciously blushed a bit. She had just thought that Chu Xian wanted to take a picture with the luxury car, and her attitude was more or less not so good. But after seeing Chu Xian open the car door and sit in the car, her entire body was confused. It was too embarrassing, this car was actually his. But the most embarrassing thing was that not only did the other big brother not get angry, instead he directly ran to her live room and swiped 10 carnivals for her in one breath. Right. Hurry up and send him a private message. Cho Cho murmured in her heart and immediately went straight off the air and sent a private message over to Chu Xian's Jitterbug account at the first opportunity. Hello Master Xian, I'm Chu Chu, thank you very much for your support. Xu Xian was driving, naturally he didn't have the time to reply to her first time. Driving back to the villa, Xu Xian sat on his butt on the sofa. The two personal servants hurriedly waited up, freshly brewed tea was brought up, and fresh fruits were fed directly to Xu Xian's mouth. Xu Xian pulled out a cigarette, the maid hurriedly bent down and lowered her head to help Xu Xian light the cigarette, while the other maid served Xu Xian with an ashtray in both hands. Comfortable ah! After finishing a cigarette, Xu Xian drank a mouthful of tea, stretched his waist, the corners of his mouth rose, smiled, and looked at the two servants waiting by his side and said, "Tell Butler Shen, I will reward you two with a red packet each." Hearing Xu Xian say that, the two maids were overjoyed and hurriedly straightened up, respectfully bending over, thanking Master Xian for the reward. Xu Xian had always been generous, they knew that. A single red packet was 10,000 yuan, and to know that their monthly salary was only 30,000 yuan. Where is Butler Shen? Xu Xian had returned to the villa for half an hour, but he didn't see Shen Weiwei. Butler Shen had gone out. Oh. Xu Xian nodded and did not ask what it was. However, he did ask Shen Weiwei to do a few things last night. The birthday gift that he had prepared for Wang Xinyue's little friend had already been brought back, and then he had arranged for someone to take care of his own house over at Yilan Yajiu, as well as creating the Master Xian Charity Foundation. But the latter two things are not in a hurry is all. Lying flat is comfortable, but lying for a long time is also boring. Pick up the phone, just opened the Shake app ready to brush a short drama for a while when I saw a small red circle on the private message. Tap the private message and see that it is the long-legged female anchor Chu who sent a private message to herself, and he also directly returned the message, just drove home, and gave you some attention. In the meantime, I'll give you a little attention. After all, it's a big netizen with millions of fans in the same city, so there's nothing wrong with getting to know each other. Chu went straight back to the small apartment she rented after she got off the air. The apartment is not big, but she doesn't need such a big house for a girl to live alone. She sat on the sofa, wearing white stockings, long legs resting on the coffee table in front of the sofa, holding a cell phone in her hand, somewhat absent-mindedly swiping the jitterbug. I was a little bit not very good attitude, he will not be angry, right? Should not be after all, he also specifically for me to brush 10 carnival to help me win the PK. When he left, let me add his friend, he will not be on my mind, right? He is a rich second generation, there must not be a lack of beautiful girls around, to me probably just play if he asked me out to dinner. Do I say yes to him or reject him? Shuchu, Jane Shurchu, 05 after the small beauty, this year just turned 18 years old. High school grades are not good, the college entrance examination after the failure of the direct choice to comply with the trend of the times in the jitterbug to do up outdoor anchor. Due to the high face value, good temperament, and in the time of even week PK luck burst even a few platform top stream, fans grow very fast, only about half a year time, she is sitting on 1 million fans. She has not talked about love before, but do not want to talk about, mainly because of the age of small, has not had time to talk about love. Just now Xu Xian sat in the McLaren Senna driver's seat, wearing sunglasses to talk to her, looked deeply attracted to her, a time she actually some love, back to the rented small apartment, she was full of thoughts about how Xu Xian has not yet returned to her message. See, Xu Xian replied to the message the first time, she returned the message in seconds, and then sent his own micro signal. Thank you Master Xian for taking me to win PK, this is my micro signal for easy contact. However, Xu Xian's side brushed the small short drama to go, and didn't even notice the message that Chu sent back to herself in seconds. Now the short dramas are getting better and better. This actor's face value is quite a bit higher than the face value of the male and female leads of those dramas. The most exaggerated thing is that the acting skills are even better than those professional actors. Xu Xian did not hold back after finishing a short drama and swiped another short drama. Generally speaking, a short drama had a maximum of 100 episodes, which was only 2 to 3 hours. Xu Xian is to open 2 times the speed brush drama, brush 2 small short drama, look at the time has almost to the early morning. Had Butler Shen not returned yet? Xu Xian stretched his waist, lit a cigarette, raised his eyes and looked at the 2 servants beside him and asked. Butler Shen said in the group that she would be home soon. Well, it's been hard work, take an early rest. Xu Xian signaled the 2 servants beside him to rest early, and he also got up and went directly to the second floor to return to his bedroom. Simply wash up, lie on the bed, open the Shake app, see that there is a private message reminder, he then saw the message that Chu replied to him. Just now brushed the short drama to go, did not notice your message, has added your WeChat friend, through a little. Xu Xian didn't expect that just after he replied to his message, Chu gave him an okay emoticon back. It's early in the morning, why aren't you resting? In the editing video. looked at Chu Xian's message. She lied a little and said that she was editing the video. In fact, during these 2 hours or so that Chu Xian was brushing the short drama, Jane Shirchu's heart could be said to be very tormented. Why hasn't he added my WeChat friend yet? Why isn't he talking anymore? Did I upset him? It's been an hour, he's not sleeping, is he? Ah. It's so annoying. Should I send him a private message? Forget it, let's wait. In this state, there's no way to edit the video, but she can't say that she's just been waiting for Chu Xian to return her message and add her friend, right? Well, the friend request passed, it's getting late, take an early rest, good night. Chu Xian is indeed a little tired, cell phone on one side, closed his eyes not a moment to enter the dreamland. But it is Jane Shirchu see Chu Xian sent a message more or less some disappointment, heart is not willing to reply a good night emoticon package. Chu Xian's sleep quality has always been very good, sleeping until 8:30 in the morning, getting up more than half an hour earlier than usual. Getting up and dressing, he came down from the second floor, where Shen Weiwei was instructing the servants in the house to carry out their daily work. The servants had all changed back into uniform customized suits, a glance would make one feel very competent. Good morning, Master Xian. Seeing Chu Xian descend the stairs, the servants in the house all bent down respectfully to greet him. Shen Weiwei walked straight to Chu Xian's side. Master Xian. Well, Weiwei, I've worked hard for you these days. The corners of Chu Xian's mouth rose as he looked at Shen Weiwei and said with a soft smile. Serving Master Xian, it's not hard. Shen Weiwei responded. It was true that she had been busy and tired recently. But she really didn't feel that it was too hard, and was even somewhat enjoying herself. Before, she still had some disdain for the profession of a private butler, but after taking over the job of a private butler, she felt that this job was still very capable of improving her own abilities. Master Xian, everything you ordered has already been done. Oh? Master Xian's charitable foundation has also been completed? Yes, I went out yesterday afternoon to do this. I have already submitted the materials to the relevant departments. As long as the audit passes, there should not be any big problem. Not bad, the work efficiency is quite good. Chu Xian looked at Shen Weiwei and thought in his heart that he was really a discerning eye. After all, there were so many people in the job market that day, he was able to accurately find Shen Weiwei and recruit her to his side. His eyesight was quite good. Thank you, Master Xian. Good work, when rewarded. Chu Xian patted Shen Weiwei's shoulder. Reward you with 10 red packets. Thank you, Master Xian. The expression on Shen Weiwei's face rarely showed a trace of excitement. After all, having a bonus to take was indeed something to be happy about. Although Chu Xian hadn't explicitly said how much a red packet was, the red packets Chu Xian had sent to each person previously were 10,000 yuan, and that was something that everyone had defaulted to. One red packet of 10,000 yuan, 10 red packets would be 100,000 yuan. Shen Weiwei was still feeling a little tired, but after hearing that she had received 100,000 yuan, the little bit of soreness in her body all disappeared. Weiwei, have you eaten breakfast yet? Not yet. Breakfast is a must. Weiwei, order the back kitchen to prepare an extra breakfast. When Shen Weiwei heard Chu Xian say that, she looked at Chu Xian and her lips moved, somewhat wanting to speak. Okay, Master Xian. Shen Weiwei ultimately did not say anything more and directly answered. In the villa, so many people currently only Shen Weiwei and Chu Xian had sat down to eat together. The servants were also very envious of Shen Weiwei being able to obtain such favor from Chu Xian in private, but envy aside, they did not dare to have jealous little thoughts. In terms of ability, Shen Weiwei was a doctorate in management. In terms of face value, Shen Weiwei was also a schoolflower. In terms of position, Shen Weiwei was Chu Xian's personal butler. In this villa, besides Chu Xian, Shen Weiwei was the only one who could say anything. After finishing breakfast, Shen Weiwei instructed the 2 maids who were serving Chu Xian to serve Master Xian properly. Don't be lazy. Yes, housekeeper Shen. These 2 maids stood up straight and held their heads high, a sincere smile appearing on their faces. The 2 of them were cherishing this job too much right now. The monthly salary of 30,000 was not much to talk about, and although the job was a serving job, Master Xian was really good to them all. The 2 of them had received a red packet from Shen Weiwei last night, a bonus of a whole 10,000 yuan, making the other servants in the villa envious. Chu Xian basically stayed at the villa in the morning. After all, with financial freedom and no pressure in his life, he did not have the idea of starting a business either. In this situation, Chu Xian, besides lying flat and enjoying life, he really didn't know what he was going to do. Wang Xinyue's little friend's birthday party was at 7 o'clock in the evening, and then he would go out in the afternoon to pick up some more red packets. Lying flat was lying flat, but the small goal of picking up red envelopes still needed to be accomplished. When he didn't have money, he felt that if he could have $100 million, it would definitely be enough for him to spend for the rest of his life. But now that he had money, and it was more than $100 million, but he realized that he was spending more and more money now. Master Xian, is the birthday gift for the kids in the Lamborghini Bull or in that McLaren Senna? Shen Weiwei walked up to Chu Xian and inquired. I've been driving that McLaren for the last few days, you put it in that car. Chu Xian said softly. Okay, Master Xian. In the afternoon, Chu Xian directly drove the McLaren Senna from the villa, targeting the pedestrian street in the city center. Along the way, all the vehicles deliberately kept a safe distance from Chu Xian's car. After all, anyone who was afraid of accidentally scraping and touching it, that could really sell them off, couldn't afford to pay for it. After all, Jiangcheng is a third-tier city, with a resident population of only 3 to 4 million people. On weekdays, the pedestrian street in the center of the city is definitely not as crowded as it is on weekends. However, this did not hinder Chu Xian from picking up the red packets. Downtown pedestrian street, Chu Xian was not happy. Ding, congratulations to the host for picking up a red packet and obtaining 100,000 yuan in cash. Ding, congratulations to the host for picking up a red packet and obtaining 100,000 yuan in cash. Ding, congratulations to the host for picking up a red packet and obtaining a Platinum Joy Mansion residential area. The Platinum Joy House neighborhood is also considered a middle to high-end residential area in Jiangcheng, and the value of the building that he picked up is also not expensive. It's just as well that he can give this building to Shen Weiwei to take care of as well. Chu Xian thought in his heart and murmured softly with his mouth. Chu Xian continued to pick up red packets on this side of the pedestrian street, and in an afternoon's work, he had picked up at least 500 to 600 red packets. Looking at the balance, Chu Xian sat on a bench on the pedestrian street and took out his cell phone to look at his bank account balance. 1,536 million. According to this speed, it won't be long before he can become a big shot with a $10 billion fortune. Chu Xian's heart can't help but a burst of joy. Who can think, a few days ago, Chu Xian is still in order to make ends meet and go part-time to do a chauffeur? Chapter 13, A Chance Encounter with a Lifesaver. Kaiyue Haotai Hotel. This evening, the birthday banquet of the richest man in Jiangcheng, Wang Lin's youngest daughter, was held in Kaiyue Hall. Wang Lin got a daughter in his middle age, and is very precious to Wang Xinyue, his only daughter. Tonight's birthday banquet also invited many of Jiangcheng's rich and powerful families. Chu Xian didn't return to the villa and drove his McLaren Senna directly to the Kaiyue Hall Hotel. I'm going to rely on it. Shit. Is that a McLaren Senna? When did we have this car in Jiangcheng? Why don't I know? That guy looks strange, he's not from the circle. Compared to the Lamborghini Bull, Chu Xian's McLaren Senna was even more eye-catching, and even the rich second generation in Jiangcheng's circle couldn't help but envy Chu Xian's McLaren Senna after seeing it. Chu Xian, carrying a Barbie doll worth $1,600,000 towards the hotel entrance, walked over. Just now together, several rich second generation also cannot help but come forward to want to make friends with Chu Xian to get to know each other. Buddy, is that McLaren Senna your car? How much did it cost? It's so handsome. My Ferrari parked next to your car is just cheap. Buddy, you look familiar, you're not from Jiangcheng, are you? Chu Xian was stopped by a few rich second generation, but seeing that they were smiling and had no bad intentions, and Chu Xian was also interested in befriending these rich second generation. The corners of Chu Xian's mouth rose as he smiled and responded, it's my car, the landed price is just over $20 million, it's true that I'm not a Jiangcheng local, but I've recently settled in Jiangcheng. I'm not really a local of Jiangcheng, but I've recently settled in Jiangcheng. Chu Xian did not shy away from facing these few rich second generation people, and in passing, he also picked up the red envelopes floating around them. Ding, congratulations to the host for picking up a red packet, obtaining $20 million in cash, obtaining a Ferrari SF90. Ding, congratulations to the host for picking up a red packet, obtaining $50 million in cash, obtaining 100 sets of rooms in the school district of Shangshuiyuan. Ding, congratulations to the host for picking up a red packet, obtaining $30 million in cash, obtaining 10 downtown pedestrian street stores. Looking at the three wealthy second-generation men of unusual temperament in front of him, and hearing the system's prompts in his mind, Chu Xian was superficially happy. Chu Xian was happy on the surface, but inwardly he was actually happier. It's a great deal of money. As expected, agreeing to come to this birthday party was the right decision. Chu Xian thought in his heart as he extended his right hand in front of the three of them. Those three rich second-generation men did not dare to put up a fight and shook Chu Xian's hand one by one. Master Xian, this is Fang Yu. Their family is in the steel business. The entire Jiangcheng, 90% of the steel business is owned by their family. This is Chao Lei. The Kaiwa Haotai Hotel is the property of their family. I am Chen Wei. Our family is in the aquatic business. Chen Wei character is more outgoing, belongs to the kind of familiar, age is also the smallest among them, looks at most 20 years old, just out of the beginning of that look. Chu Xian is currently unemployed, recently with a partnership in the Sui Plaza side of the preparation to open a seafood buffet restaurant. Hearing Chu Xian say that he was unemployed, Fang Yu and the three of them didn't dare to really treat Chu Xian as an unemployed hobo. Who is a jobless hobo driving a top-of-the-line supercar of more than $20 million? Master Xian was also here today to attend the birthday banquet of the richest Wang's beloved daughter? Looking at the gifts Chu Xian was carrying in his hands, Chen Wei asked out loud. Chu Xian nodded and hummed. I heard that a few days ago, Wang Shoufu's beloved daughter encountered human traffickers. If it is not a good-hearted person to recognize the traffickers, today this birthday banquet cannot be done. It is not easy to say. The two traffickers were caught after the bad dare to Jiangcheng Shoufu's beloved daughter to lay hands on them. How do they dare to? Master Xian, let's add a WeChat friend so we can get together more often. I'm not sure if I can do it. Chu Xian did not deny, more friends more road, and our young people, communication is not much of a generation gap. Chao Lei is the young proprietor of the Kaiwei Haoting Hotel. With him leading the way, Chu Xian followed them straight to the Kaiwei Hall where the birthday banquet was held today. Kaiwei Hall was very large, with a total area of more than 3,000 square meters, and the banquet alone could set up 108 tables. Inside the banquet hall, there were already quite a few people, and looking at their attire, they were basically all non-rich or noble people. Chu Xian was happy in his heart, all the way over. He had nothing to do but lift his arm and move it, and in the center of his mind, the system's beeps never stopped. Ding, congratulate the host to pick up a red packet, get a cash of 10 million yuan. Ding, congratulate the host to pick up a red packet, get a cash of 10 million yuan. Ding, congratulate the host to pick up a red packet, get a cash of 30 million yuan, get a set of villas in the Chengchen residence. Ding, congratulate the host to pick up a red packet, get a cash of 100 million yuan, get a Rolls-Royce Phantom of 10. Holy shit! I'm so happy. Chu Xian was truly having a great time. Chu Xian is really cool. Just such a short while, although only picked up 40 or 50 red packets, but the cash picked up at least 7 or 800 million. There are all kinds of mansions, villas, luxury cars. 7 and 8 added up to 5 or 600 million. Secretly checked the bank account balance, 238,801 million, more than the last time to check the balance of 845 million. Still picking up the red envelopes around rich people was cool. Chu Xian looked at the red envelopes that were still floating around quite a few people in the banquet hall and couldn't help but swallow his saliva. He had to say that these red envelopes were really tempting. Uncle Handsome, Dad, it's Uncle Handsome. When Wang Xinyue walked into the banquet hall, the first thing she saw was Chu Xian, who was sitting with Fang Yu and the others. She instantly became very happy. Wang Lin followed his daughter-in-law's gaze and also saw Chu Xian. The corners of his mouth smiled slightly as he led Wang Xinyue towards Chu Xian. As a matter of fact, he had looked for a private detective to be investigating Chu Xian after he returned that night. To his surprise, Chu Xian really wasn't an ordinary person. Living in Jiangcheng's most luxurious Shiyuan villa area, driving cars that are worth tens of millions of dollars of supercars, and in the past 2 days he also spent $200 million to buy a store in Sui Plaza. After seeing the information presented by the private investigator, he also froze and muttered a sentence in his mouth. It is no wonder that people can't see that $1 million check. Chu Xian also saw Wang Lin and Wang Xinyue children who walked towards the side, and at that moment, he directly got up. Fang Yu, Chao Lei, and the three of them saw Wang Lin walking over toward them and immediately stood up trembling from their seats. Handsome uncle, give me a hug. Wang Xinyue let go of her father's hand and directly jumped into Chu Xian's arms. Chu Xian squatted down and directly hugged Wang Xinyue. Happy birthday, little princess. Chu little brother, I still have to thank you. If it wasn't for you that day, I wouldn't dare to think about the consequences. Wang Lin stood in front of Chu Xian with a smile on his face, and didn't feel the slightest bit of his mighty pressure as the richest man in Jiangcheng. Hearing Wang Lin say that, Fang Yu and the three of them also frowned and looked at each other. However, they quickly thought of the matter of Wang Lin's beloved daughter being abducted by human traffickers earlier. After all, they were still talking about this matter with Chu Xian just now. It was just that they did not expect that the kind person they were talking about was Chu Xian. Little girl, this is the birthday gift that uncle sent you. Open it and see if you like it. Xu Xian took out the gift box that was placed on the seat. Wang Xinyui's little girl didn't have any heart, saw the exquisite gift box and immediately hugged it in her arms. I like all the gifts sent by handsome uncle. Speaking, Wang Xinyue has already opened the gift box. Exquisite Barbie doll lying quietly in the transparent gift box. The crowd glanced at the gift box in the hands of Wang Xinyue, instantly cannot wipe the eyes. This Barbie's workmanship is so exquisite. The skirt is full of diamonds, right? It's so beautiful. This is the Barbie doll. Compared to the Barbie dolls in my collection, there's a world of difference. As a girl, Wang Xinyue naturally liked this Barbie doll given by Xu Xian very much. Wow! What a beautiful doll, I really like it too much. Wang Xinyue held the gift box in her arms and smiled very happily. Crap! Master Xian, are you the kind man who saved the richest man's daughter earlier? Master Xian, that Barbie doll you sent is so beautiful, the workmanship is exquisite. Link there, well, my girlfriend has a birthday next month, I want to send her one too. Chen Wei is very sincere. Look at Xu Xian asked. Ah? That is from abroad overnight air transport over, belongs to the private customized models, the price of 1,600,000. After Xu Xian finished speaking, Chen Wei, who was very much looking forward to it, stumbled and almost didn't fall down. How much? $1,600,000? Yes. There are real diamonds on the hem of that skirt. Xu Xian looked at Chen Wei and added another cut. Count it, it's too expensive, she doesn't deserve it. Chen Wei smiled bitterly, he really didn't expect a Barbie doll to be that expensive. $1,600,000 ah. He is a rich second generation, 1,600,000 he does not know, but his family usually give him the living expenses really not much, a month up to $100,000 pocket money. 1,600,000 can really empty his savings. 1,600,000 Barbie dolls, he really cannot afford to buy a. Even if he can afford it, he can't spend $1,600,000 to buy a Barbie doll. I'll go over and see if there's anything to eat. Xu Xian looked at the banquet hall where there were still quite a few people around who hadn't picked up the red envelopes, and casually found an excuse to walk over to those people. Ding, congratulations to the host for picking up a red packet and obtaining 20 million yuan in cash. Ding, congratulations to the host for picking up a red packet and obtaining 10 million yuan in cash. Ding, congratulations to the host for picking up a red packet and obtaining 10 million yuan in cash. Ding, congratulations to the host for picking up a red packet and obtaining 30 million yuan in cash. The system beeps in the sea of his head continued to resound, and the corner of Xu Xian's mouth curled up, and the smile on his face was about to spill out. What a wave of fat! Xu Xian muttered in his heart, knowing that normally picking up more than 100 red packets would only result in obtaining 20 to 30 million yuan, but here, picking up a single red packet would result in obtaining 20 million, 30 million, or even more. After Xu Xian picked up all the red envelopes around everyone in the banquet hall, he once again checked his bank account balance, $33,666 million. One step closer to becoming a bigwig with $10 billion. Xu Xian looked at the long string of numbers on his cell phone, his heart was happy, but his mind was a lot smoother. I'm going out to get some fresh air. Xu Xian greeted Feng Yu and the three of them and came out of Kaiwei Hall. However, just as he came out of Kaiwei Hall, he saw that the Anfeng Hall next door was crowded with people. Xu Xian wasn't the type of person who liked to watch the crowd, but when he saw those red envelopes piled up together, he didn't hold back for a moment and walked straight towards the Anfeng Hall next door. Ding, congratulations to the host for picking up a red packet. Ding, congratulations to the host for picking up a red packet and obtaining 500,000 yuan in cash. The red packets were all piled up together, and Xu Xian's efficiency in picking up the red packets was very fast, and the system prompts in his head were almost unbroken. To make a mess and pick up a few $1 million in cash, it is really cool. Xu Xian stretched his waist and was about to leave. The moment he raised his head, he saw the bride wearing a wedding dress on the stage was holding $800 to accuse the groom. It was her. Xu Xian stared at the bride on the stage, and his thoughts returned to the time when he had just graduated from college. At that time, he was on his way to a job interview when he had a car accident, and before he passed out, it was a girl who pulled him out of the car, and also helped him call 120 in the emergency services. I later heard that the cab he was in at the time burned up after he was yanked out and ended up burning down to the frame. It could be said that if it wasn't for that girl yanking him out, he would have definitely died in that car accident. After being discharged from the hospital, Xu Xian searched for that girl for a long time, but unfortunately, he never found her. It really was her. Xu Xian's face was first surprised, then angry. Surprised because after many years, he had finally found the girl who had saved his life back then. Anger was because, as a bride, she was now being insulted by her own mother-in-law. On the stage, the bride, Cui Shuaru, held $800 in her hand, her face full of indignation and disappointment. Tan Xiao, you said that it wasn't easy for your parents to raise you. I said that I could not buy a wedding house and live with your parents after marriage. You said that the bride price of 100,000 yuan is too much. I said okay, 100,000 is too much, then pay 11,000 yuan of bride price. But what did you do to me? $800 for the bride price? Are you insulting me? Have you had enough? You're an orphan. You're happy I'm marrying you. You're not worth $11,000 for a bride price. Cui Shualu, put away your noble face. I've been with you for over a year and you won't even let me touch your hand. If it wasn't for your beauty, do you think I'd marry you? The groom, Tan Xiao, pointed his finger at Cui Shuaru, apparently being poked to the sore spot by Cui Shuaru's words, breaking the great defense. Cui Shuaru looked at her boyfriend in front of her, and the disappointment on her face deepened. You have disappointed me too much. Since this is the case, I see that there is no need to tie this marriage today. After Cui Shuaru finished speaking, she directly smashed the $800 in her hand on the groom Tan Xiao's face. Don't regret it if you have the guts. Other than me, I'll see who else would want to marry a woman like you. It had come to this, and Tan Xiao was still Cui Shuaru. Xu Xian frowned. Bah, scum is still shameless. If you don't marry me, I will. Xu Xian directly stood out. He could not bear to watch his life-saving benefactor suffer this aggression. He must help Cui Shuaju today to properly hit the face of the scum man. When Xu Xian stood out like this, everyone's eyes gathered on Xu Xian. I leaned in. Is it so bloody? It feels like the plot of a Shake Shack skit has been projected into real life. If you ask me, there's really no need to get married. $800 for the bride price, isn't this a pure insult to the bride? Haven't you heard? The bride is an orphan. Tan Xiao has no family to back her up. Who's this young man? He's quite handsome. Bull. I'm with you, handsome. Almost all of the guests on the scene are eating their hearts out, while the groom on the stage, Tan Xiao, is grimacing with rage. You slut, you're cuckolding me. How dare you? At a time like this, Xu Xian jumped out and said that he wanted to marry Cui Shuaru. Tan Xiao naturally assumed that Xu Xian and Cui Shuaru had hooked up a long time ago. Cui Shuaru looked at Xu Xian and froze. She only felt that Xu Xian looked familiar but just couldn't remember where she had seen him before. However, at this point in time, since she had already torn her face off, she wasn't prepared to give Tan Xiao any more face. Cui Shuaru wearing a wedding dress ran over towards Xu Xian, close to Xu Xian's side, intimately holding Xu Xian's arm. He is taller than you, more handsome than you, richer than you. Why should I marry you? I'm not sure why I'm marrying you. Rolling. All give me to roll. Cui Shuaru said this, directly causing Tan Xiao to have an emotional breakdown and splash around on the stage. Xu Xian didn't care about Tan Xiao at all. He looked at Cui Shuajiu and decided to help her to the end. He immediately kneeled down on one knee and looked at Cui Shuajiu with his head tilted up. Ms. Cui Shuajiu, I am willing to pay a bride price of $100 million to marry you. Are you willing to marry me? Xu Xian's words dried out everyone present. Especially Tan Xiao on the stage. When he heard Xu Xian say that he was willing to pay 100 million dowry to marry Cui Shuaru, he threw back his head and laughed. 100 million dowry? Where did the little white boy come from to talk so much here? Do you know how much money 100 million is? You just 100 million dowry. Cui Shuaru was also confused. She looked at Xu Xian and wanted to hurry up and end this farce. I'm willing to marry you. With those words, she bent down and prepared to help Xu Xian up. It's just 100 million dowry, it's not like I can't afford it. The corner of Xu Xian's mouth curled up. Shuaru, you send me your bank account number, I can transfer the 100 million dowry to you right now. Cui Shuaru looked at Xu Xian. Stop it, let's go. Transfer it. If you have the guts, do it now. You're a white boy with no skills, you're just a braggart. Tan Xiao growled with a grin on his face. Don't worry about him. Cui Shuaiju pulled Xu Xian's hand and was ready to escape from here. Xu Xian didn't move, held Cui Shuaju's hand and shook his head, smiled and said, trust me. Cui Shuaru was speechless and could only frown and send her bank account number to Xu Xian. 100 million only, even if it is not a bride price. Xu Xian is also prepared to give Cui Shuaru 100 million as a thank you gift for saving her life back then. Pretentious. Cui Shuaru, you stop. You now kneel down to me in my parents' sincere apology. I will pretend that there is no such thing. We will live a good life in the future. You quit your job, peace of mind at home to teach and serve my parents. I will give you another $600 a month pocket money. Tan Bian said the more excessive. Chui Shuaru did not think that she was so close to marrying such a scummy man. She really felt unworthy of herself. Chui Shuaru is to marry a chicken and a dog, but also will not marry you. Chui Shuaru looked at Tan Chao with indignation, turned around and pulled Chu Xian and prepared to leave. Okay, $100 million has arrived in the account, check it out. Chu Xian took his cell phone and shook it in front of Chui Shuaru's eyes. Chui Shuaru froze in place. She picked up her cell phone, just in time to see the text message reminder of the bank's arrival of $100 million. Holy shit? No way, could it be that $100 million was really transferred as a bride price? Looking at the bride's shocked expression, maybe there really is $100 million. What's this called? A blessed man doesn't enter a blessed house. I think this little brother is quite good. Did you really transfer $100 million to me? Chui Shualu looked at Chu Xian and raised her voice by 2 cents. On the stage, Tan Chao had gone crazy, muttering impossibly, absolutely impossibly. He was a little white boy, how could he possibly have $100 million? Chui Shuaru also no longer pay attention to Tan Chao. She looked at Chu Xian, close to Chu Xian's ear. You, in the end, what kind of person? 3 years ago, there was a car accident at the intersection of Huangshan West Road and Furong Road, and you yanked a seriously injured and unconscious man out of a cab and helped him call an ambulance. That man, that was me. Hearing Chu Xian say that, Chui Shualu immediately remembered, so it was you. I told you that you looked familiar, but I just couldn't remember where I had seen you. I have been looking for you since then, and I didn't think that I would meet you here today. Chu Xian said with a smile. Then that cab was burned on the frame. If not, you pulled me out of the car. I must die in that car accident. You are my life-saving benefactor. The $100 million that I transferred to you just now will be taken as a thank you gift for saving my life. Chu Xian came close to Chui Shuaru's ear and said softly. Hearing Chu Xian say that, Chui Shuaru's body could not help but tremble a little. That was $100 million. Ordinary people wouldn't be able to earn that much money even in 8 lifetimes, not to mention not being able to earn that much money in a lifetime. No, it's too much, I can't take it. Chui Shuaru was shocked and decisively chose to reject this $100 million. She saved Chu Xian at that time, did not want Chu Xian to repay her for anything, otherwise, she would not have silently left the scene of the car accident, so much so that Chu Xian did not find her until now. Shuaru, this matter will be discussed later, I will take you out of here first. Chu Xian pulled Chui Shuaru and prepared to leave from here. Tan Chao felt that he had lost face, and after hesitating for a few seconds to slow down, he chased after her with his own family. At the entrance of Kaiyue Hall, Wang Lin, the richest man in Jiangcheng, was standing over there. Chu Xian pulled Chui Shualu's hand towards Kaiyue Hall. I heard that the richest man in Jiangcheng is holding a birthday banquet for his daughter here today. You. Chu little brother, this is? Elder brother Wang, it's a long story, it was always she who once saved my life, and is considered my savior. Chu Xian was talking to Wang Lin, and Chui Shualu on the side was directly dumbfounded. She recognized Wang Lin. After all, really speaking, Wang Lin should be her boss's boss. She couldn't help but look at Chu Xian's side face, and murmured in her heart, he even called himself a brother with the richest man in Jiangcheng, and when he said he wanted to marry me just now, he should have said so in order to help me hit Tan Chao in the face, right? Chapter 14 Brother Xian, I kind of miss you too. Tan Chao chased after him with his own family, but those bodyguards brought by Wang Lin were not vegetarians. More than a dozen bodyguards stood in a row and directly stopped Tan Chao and his party. Throw them out. Wang Lin gave the word, and those bodyguards carried Tan Chao's group of people and threw Tan Chao's people out like chickens. Chu old brother, let me introduce you to some people? Wang Lin looked at Chu Xian and opened his mouth with a smile. As for those people from Tan Chao, Wang Lin didn't put it on his mind at all. Good, then I'll have more old brother Wang to help me with introductions. Chu Xian nodded his head and answered. He also wanted to pick up some more red envelopes and recognize some more rich people. Chu old brother, this is Zhou Yang, Zhou general manager. He is doing mineral water, Tianrun Mountain Spring, local well-known enterprises. Mr. Zhou, this is Chu Xian Chu Young. I remember your factory before is not ready to finance it. You and Chu old brother first chat. I have a prior to go to deal with it. Chui Shualu wearing a wedding dress is not convenient. Chu Xian let someone open a room for her to change clothes. Chu Young, really young and talented. After all, Chu Xian was introduced by Wang Lin. Zhou Yang did not dare to be slow, looked at Chu Xian and said with a smile. Mr. Zhou, I've heard a lot about you. Chu Xian laughed and reached out to shake hands with Zhou Yang. As a matter of fact, Chu Xian had not really heard of Zhou Yang before, but Tianrun Mountain Spring he had bought before. Jiangcheng locally produced mineral water, $1 a bottle. Elder brother Wang said that your factory needs financing? Chu Xian now has money in his hands, although he is too lazy to start a business, but if it is an investment, do a little asset allocation, then it is also considered financial management. Well, we are ready to go out of Jiangcheng and face the whole country. Zhou Yang said about his own business face is also showing a confident smile. Our Tianrun Mountain Spring mineral water is very high quality, and I am also confident to go out of Jiangcheng and face the whole country. Zhou old brother, I invested 500 million, how many shares can I have in your company? Chu Xian also does not hide, directly opened the door to ask. $500 million? When Zhou Yang heard Chu Xian say that he would invest 500 million, his entire person directly froze in place. Chu Xian had been introduced to him by Wang Lin, and he naturally did not dare to neglect him. However, he saw that Chu Xian was so young, and honestly, he did not expect Chu Xian to actually invest in his mineral water company. But now, his entire body froze. 500 million ah. Zhou Yang looked at Chu Xian and couldn't help but murmur in his heart, he looked so young, he really had $500 million? Mr. Zhou? Chu Xian shouted. Zhou Yang instantly back to God, faced with embarrassment said, Chu Yang, according to our company's valuation, if you invest 500 million words can get 30% of the shares. The company's name is The Harmony of the Worlds. Well, Mr. Zhou, I will invest 500 million in your company. 500 million is just not worth Chu Xian wasting too much time. Since Zhou Yang was introduced to himself by Wang Lin, it means that Zhou Yang's own ability is still good. Ah. Chu Xiao, you are prepared to invest $500 million in our company? Yes. What's the problem? Ah, no problem, no problem. Zhou Yang was very excited. He came over today originally thinking that he could recognize a few big brothers and pull investment for his company. He was not expecting Wang Lin to introduce him to such a god of wealth, a $500 million investment right out of the gate. That's $500 million. Their company's yearly net profit was only about $20 million. $500 million, their company can only earn $500 million in 20 to 30 years. Mr. Zhou, find a lawyer to draw up a contract. After we sign the contract, I can put the 500 million into the company's account at any time. Chu Xian now had more than $3 billion lying in his account, $500 million only, he naturally didn't care. Good, Chu Xiao, I'll order the lawyers to prepare the contract. Zhou Yang's face was full of red light, a $500 million investment. With this amount of money, he was very confident in leading his family's Tianrun Mountain Spring out of Jiangcheng and facing the whole country. Mr. Zhou, the domestic mineral water market is actually very saturated, our Tianrun Mountain Springs want a breakthrough, it is definitely necessary to do more marketing. Chu Xian talked to Zhou Yang about some of his ideas. I've set up a Master Xian charity foundation these days, and I've seen that kind of love freezer online before, the kind of freezer that is placed on the side of the road for outdoor workers to get water. Chu Xian looked at Zhou Yang and smiled and said, I am prepared to put at least 10,000 love freezers throughout the country, and when the time comes, they will all use our Tianrun Mountain Spring mineral water. When he heard Chu Xian say that he wanted to put 10,000 love freezers nationwide, Zhou Yang also could not help but freeze. At that time, Tianrun Mountain Spring mineral water could completely take advantage of the opportunity to open up the national sales market. Chu Xiao is really a great love. Zhou Yang took the opportunity to pat his horse's ass, his face full of flattery. The 10,000 freezers placed throughout the country were funded by the Master Xian Charity Foundation that I established. As for Mr. Zhou, you will have to donate tens of millions of bottles of mineral water in the early stages as well to be able to do so. Hearing Chu Xian say that, Zhou Yang did not deny it and nodded his head in response. Tens of millions of bottles of mineral water, the cost is only a few million, this little bit of money he is still willing to give up. Besides, when Chu Xian invested the $500 million, the major shareholder of the Tianrun Mountain Spring mineral water would be Chu Xian, so what qualifications did he have to disagree? Chu Xian truly wanted to do charity, and the Love Freezer was indeed a good charity program. In the early stages, 10,000 freezers were placed nationwide, and this number was definitely not enough. At a later stage, depending on the situation, tens of thousands more freezers could be put in. The freezers could also be customized, and advertising screens could be added to them for advertising. Chu Xian didn't want to rely on advertising to make money, moreover, he didn't care about those two dates. Moreover, advertisements can be divided into commercial advertisements and public service advertisements. For example, he could place photos and information of children who had been abducted and sold to help their parents find their children. If this matter was accomplished, it would really be a great merit. Xu Xian murmured in his heart, and at that moment, he decided that he must accomplish this matter. Wang Xinyue's little friend's birthday banquet ended successfully, and Xu Xian's side was also the first to find Cui Shuaru. Sorry, let you wait for a long time. Where do you live? I'll send you back now. Xu Xian saw Cui Shualu again. She had already taken off her wedding dress and changed into a set of casual clothes. I have to say, her scummy fiancé has a saying that is right. Cui Shuaru looks beautiful. No need, I was renting a house before, because of the marriage has already returned the previous rented house. Cui Shuaru looked a little pale inside and said, I didn't expect Tan Chao to be this kind of person. Well, it's not too late, congratulations on jumping out of the fire pit. Xu Xian saw that she was not in a good mood and comforted her with a smile. Yes, it is indeed worth celebrating. In the past, I was the one who was blind in my eyes and heart, and would actually think that someone like Tan Chao was a man worth committing to for life. Thank you for today. Without you, I really don't know what else to do. Loving people before loving yourself, you are actually quite good. Xu Xian laughed. There are small videos on the internet of you taking money and dumping the face of a scum. You are right, love people first. Tan Chao, that kind of person is not worth making me sad. Cui Shualu looked at Xu Xian. I saved your life before, you also helped me today. Between us is considered to be clear. That 100 million I still transfer to you, it is really too much. Who would not love money? That is 100 million. Who wouldn't love money? That's $100 million. Cui Shualu also decided to return the $100 million to Xu Xian after further consideration. Don't, if you return the money to me that would really be a slap in my face, said Xu Xian with a bitter smile. Xu Xian let out a bitter smile and said, this is a token of appreciation for you saving me at that time. If you hadn't saved me at that time, I wouldn't be able to live until now. But this money is also too much. Cui Shualu pursed her lips and said in a small voice. It's only 100 million, to me, isn't my life worth 100 million? Xu Xian stretched his waist, since you are homeless, let me help you find a place to live. The last thing Xu Xian had in his hand was a house, not to mention that he had picked up hundreds of houses just before. Just now in the Kaiwei Hall, he had picked up hundreds more in one breath. Why are you so good to me? Cui Shuaru had been touched by Xu Xian, her eyes instantly moist, tearful eyes looked at Xu Xian and asked. Saving your life, not to say that you'll give your body to me, you're still not a problem, right? The corner of Xu Xian's mouth curled up, smiled and said, Shuaru, you can rest assured, in the future there is me, certainly will not let anyone bully you again. Sitting on the passenger seat of the McLaren Senna, Cui Shuaru was a bit stunned. She had seen this car on Jitterbug Tongcheng, and at that time, there were comments that this supercar was worth more than $20 million, and she was still thinking that she was afraid that an ordinary person would never be able to sit in such an expensive car in her life, right? But now, she was sitting on the passenger seat, she pinched her arm with her hand, she even felt that she was dreaming. It's not a dream, it really hurts. Cui Shuaru muttered in her heart. I have quite a few houses in Shangshui-Yuan, you'll pick one to live in later. Xu Xian drove straight towards the Shangshui-Yuan residential area. The Shangshui-Yuan residential area was also considered a high-end district in Jiangcheng, with river view houses and an average price of around 30,000 yuan per square meter. Xu Xian picked up 100 sets of houses in Shangshui-Yuan, and all of them were large 200 square meter houses. After settling Cui Shuaru down, Xu Xian then left at ease. Shuaru, you can stay here for now, if there is anything you need just open your mouth and tell me, I will help you out. Cui Shuaru nodded, and although her mouth didn't say anything, in her heart she was thinking, Master Xian, you are so good to me, I don't know how to face you in the future. Coming out of the Shangshu court, Xu Xian drove straight back to the West Court Villa. When he returned to the villa, it was already more than 9 o'clock in the evening. Xu Xian sat down on the sofa with his but it was still comfortable at home. Master Xian. Xin Weiwei stood in front of Xu Xian and greeted him. Weiwei, I invested in a local mineral water company, Tianrun Mountain Spring, have you heard of it? Yes, sir. Xin Weiwei is a native of Jiangcheng. Tianrun Mountain Spring is a 30-year-old brand in Jiangcheng. The mineral water she drank as a child was Tianrun Mountain Spring mineral water. I invested 500 million to them, accounting for 30% of the shares. When signing the contract in a few days, you call on a few capable lawyers to go over together. Xu Xian opening 500 million, Xin Weiwei was calm and not too shocked. However, in her heart, Xu Xian's stature had increased quite a bit. Also, I am going to put 10,000 love freezers throughout the country, and when the time comes to put Tianrun Mountain Spring mineral water free for outdoor workers to drink. Xu Xian looked at Xin Weiwei, the corners of his mouth rose slightly, smiled and said, "When Master Xian Charity Foundation is established, I will directly inject 1 billion in the early stage. This matter will be handed over to you. You find some reliable people to keep an eye on this matter." After Xin Weiwei heard Xu Xian talk about the love freezer thing, she looked at Xu Xian's eyes with some respect. She had originally thought that Xu Xian's establishment of the Master Xian Charity Foundation was just a fresh, small endeavor. However, after learning that $1 billion would be invested in the charity fund in the early stages, Xin Weiwei then felt Xu Xian's determination to do charity. "Okay, Master Xian." Xin Weiwei straightened her body and responded respectfully. Her respect for Xu Xian had increased quite a bit now. To be honest, in her impression, a lot of rich people were that kind of image of being unkind to the rich. Even if those rich people donated a lot of money, they more or less had some purpose behind them. But Xu Xian does charity. He really wants to do charity down to earth. Love freezers. She had seen similar ones on the internet before, but those were mostly love activities organized by individuals. On Xu Xian's side, he was prepared to put in 10,000 freezers in the early stages, and if this matter could really be done successfully, then the influence in the country would definitely be extraordinary. Master Xian, I have a suggestion. You say. If we place 10,000 love freezers nationwide, can't we recruit 10,000 supernumerary employees? Now that the employment environment in the country is tough after all, we can recruit some people whose families aren't so well off to stand guard at the love freezers. They can work 10 hours a day and earn up to $3,000 a month. With a monthly salary of $3,000, a month that would be $30 million is still acceptable. Xu Xian muttered a sentence in his mouth, his heart calculated, looked at Xin Weiwei directly, said, 10 hours of work is too long, so let's do it. Let's one step, 3 shifts, so that we can provide 30,000 jobs. The monthly salary of $3,000 is too little, $5,000 a month it. When Xin Weiwei heard Xu Xian say that, her body then trembled slightly. To be honest, she had not given this suggestion much thought in the beginning, and when she mentally calculated that she would need to spend $30 million a month on wages, her heart also thumped. An extra $30 million a month. A year that would be $360 million. This love freezer was originally a charity project, not much revenue even so, a year and then take the $360 million of salary is too much. I should not talk too much. Master Xian is rich, but Master Xian's money is not a wind blowing. Xin Weiwei thought this in her heart, but then she heard Xu Xian say that he was going to take one step forward, providing 30,000 positions, recruiting 30,000 employees and also raising the monthly salary to $5,000 a month. According to what Xu Xian said, that would be $150 million a month in expenses. In a year, that would be $18 billion. The key is that this $1.8 billion in salary payments is basically pure subsidization. Master Xian, isn't this investment a bit too much? Xin Weiwei listened to some of the heart trembling, thinking that even if Master Xian is rich, but also cannot afford to do so. It doesn't matter, it's only right to spend a little money when you can contribute to society. Your suggestion is very good. We provide 30,000 jobs, at once solve the employment problem of 30,000 people. Moreover, our positions are specifically provided to those with difficult family conditions, which is the same as saving 30,000 unfortunate families. Xu Xian didn't even consider the issue of needing to spend $18 billion a day. After all, he lacked everything but money. Big deal, just go out and work hard a bit more and pick up a few hundred more red packets every day. Of course, Xu Xian still had his own selfishness in being willing to do so. He wanted to mold a golden body for himself, and the premise of this golden body molding was the number of jobs to be provided to society. Put it this way, if he could provide millions of jobs to the society, then he would basically be in a state of great completion of his golden body, and at that time, whoever wanted to touch him would have to consider the consequences first. Xu Xian was still a little transparent right now, and no one would care about him. However, there was no guarantee that one day he might be targeted by someone with a heart of gold. He belonged to the category of the rich, with a weak foundation and unfinished wings. If someone really wanted to mess with him, he would not necessarily be able to carry it off. But if Xu Xian can provide some more jobs for the society, if someone really wants to make a move on Xu Xian, then they will have to consider the opinion of the leaders above. Just follow what I said. Xu Xian stretched his waist and was in a very good mood. All right, Master Xian. Xin Weiwei didn't dare to say anything more, but in her heart, she was a little bit unable to see through Xu Xian's stature again. She had initially thought that Xu Xian was a big shot with billions of dollars, but after serving as a personal butler, she felt that Chu Xian's wealth must be at least tens of billions. Now, she even felt that Chu Xian's fortune could be in the hundreds of billions, or even more. Master Xian's identity background was not simple. Xin Weiwei muttered in her heart, and when she looked at Chu Xian, the expression on her face became a few points more reverent. Weiwei, take an early rest. Chu Xian finished smoking a cigarette, stood up and stretched his waist, gently patted Xin Weiwei's shoulder and said, "HM." Xin Weiwei nodded and answered. Chu Xian returned to the bedroom on the second floor, simply washed up, and lying on the bed, he couldn't help but think of that little ninny Chen Mushui. Ever since the last time he pretended to be her boyfriend, there hadn't been much contact between the two. Chu Xian hadn't sent her a message, and Chen Mushui hadn't sent him a message either. "Mushui, have you gone to bed?" It was now more than 10 o'clock at night. Chu Xian looked at the time and thought in his heart, at this point, she should be sleeping, right? Just after muttering in his heart, Chen Mushui's message came back in seconds. "Brother Xian, still awake? What's the matter?" Jiangqing Normal University, inside the girls' dormitory. Chen Mushui was very excited as she held her cell phone. This text message from Chu Xian, she had waited for 3 whole days. Chen Mushui had a bit of trouble sleeping and eating in the last few days. Chu Xian hadn't been looking for her in the last few days and hadn't sent her any messages, so she thought that she had been given the cold shoulder by Chu Xian. After all, in her thoughts, Chu Xian was a rich second generation and she was just an ordinary person. The status and position of the two of them were originally mismatched. Before Chu Xian to himself may be freshness at work, now freshness past, he does not contact himself is also normal. Chen Mushui on the one hand in her heart, on the one hand she herself was more reserved, she so has been dragging also did not take the initiative to contact Chu Xian. But just now, she was just about to go to sleep, her cell phone vibrated, and seeing that it was a message from Chu Xian, for a moment, sleepiness was all gone. "Nothing much, just miss you a little." Chu Xian still had a bit of a different idea about Chen Mushui, and seeing that Chen Mushui replied to his message in seconds, he also did not hold back from sending a somewhat ambiguous message in reply. Seeing the message sent by Chu Xian, Chen Mushui pursed her lips, and a touch of scarlet instantly appeared on her handsome little face. "Brother Xian, I also miss you a bit." During these 3 days, Chen Mushui had also thought about letting go of her reserve and facing up to her heart. Now that she saw Chu Xian say that he missed her, the bit of reserve within her instantly dissipated. Chapter 15 Mushui, you are too formal. Looking at Chen Mushui's reply, Chu Xian froze. "Do you have time tomorrow?" "Tomorrow is the weekend, there are no classes, there is time." "Then I will pick you up from your school tomorrow, and you will accompany me to go shopping?" "Good." Chen Mushui answered without hesitation, as the ancients used to say, a day without seeing, like March. These 2 days Chu Xian didn't contact her, her heart was in turmoil, thoughts like a tidal wave surged to her heart. "Go to bed early, don't stay up late." Good night." Chen Mushui said good night to Chu Xian, and lay down on the bed by herself unable to sleep. Just now with Chu Xian's chat content she flipped back and forth to read more than 10 times, especially that sentence "a little miss you," she froze to read for several minutes. So, Brother Xian he actually likes me in his heart. Chu Xian put down his cell phone and fell back to huffing and puffing. The next day at 8 o'clock in the morning Chu Xian woke up. This was the earliest day he had woken up in the morning after his financial freedom. Chu Xian opened the door to his room and asked the maid to fill the bathtub in the bathroom with water as he prepared to take a hot bath. "Yes, Master Xian." The 2 maids who served Chu Xian personally did not have any complaints. The 2 of them could not wait for Chu Xian to call on them more. After all, if they served Chu Xian well, there would be a red packet to take. Not too long ago, the maid came out from the bathroom. "Master Xian, the water is ready, you can bathe now." "Master Xian, do you want me to wait for you to take a bath?" "Ah, this." Chu Xian looked at the maid with a serious face and froze, waved his hand and said, "No, you go and order the chef to prepare breakfast." "You can order the chef to prepare breakfast." Lying in the bathtub, Chu Xian's face was full of enjoyment. Knowing that taking a bath is comfortable, but I really didn't know that waking up early to take a bath would be so comfortable. It seems that in the future, the first thing to do when getting up in the morning would be to take a bath. After soaking in the bathtub for more than 10 minutes, he got up and stretched, dried his body and changed into a set of casual clothes. It would take a few more days for the privately customized clothes to be sent over, but the clothes that Chu Xian had been wearing lately were all specially selected by Xin Weiwei from the major brand stores. "Handsome ah." Chu Xian stood in front of the mirror and admired his own face value, the corners of his mouth curling up as he murmured softly. Breakfast was prepared with Buddha jumping wall. There was no need to say more about the delicious soup. The most crucial thing was that it was really tonic ah. Abalone, sea cucumber, ginseng, old chicken soup. Thanks to Chu Xian's body being good, or else this bowl of Buddha jumping over the wall would really be too weak to be replenished. After breakfast, Chu Xian sat on the sofa drinking tea and smoking. There are still 3 days to go before the Mid-Autumn Festival. I will go back to my hometown at that time and give everyone a 3-day vacation. I won't send out Mid-Autumn Festival gifts, so let Butler Shen send each of you a large red packet as a Mid-Autumn Festival gift at that time. Chu Xian looked at the 2 servants by his side and said softly, "Thank you, Master Xian." When they heard Chu Xian say that he would give them a 3-day vacation for the Mid-Autumn Festival, and that he would also send each of them a large red packet, the smiles on the 2 of their faces were almost overflowing. "Tell Butler Shen that he has something to do at noon, so he won't be back for dinner." "Okay, Master Xian." Chu Xian had already contacted Chen Muxue earlier, and she was already up now. Jiangqing Normal University, inside the girls' dormitory. Chen Muxue was sitting in front of the table and was grooming herself. "Muxue, what's the situation? Waking up so early today? I remember there's no class today, why don't you sleep a little longer? Are you nuts? Can't you see that our Muxue is dressing up? As the saying goes, a woman's gotta look good for herself, so it's obvious that she's going on a date." "A date? With that rich kid from last time? Snowy, hey, you're in trouble. You're in love. Listen to me, Muxue, let go of your inhibitions and just pounce on him. You are the school flower of our school, I don't believe that he is a big man can hold it." Chen Muxue listening to her roommate their chatter, she also rolled her eyes. "You really dirty not talk to you, I went out." Chen Muxue originally belongs to the natural beauty of the kind of girl, dress up just put on a light makeup. Although only a light makeup, but Chen Muxue the whole person's face value, temperament has been upgraded by a grade. In September, the weather in Jiangqing was still a bit hot. Chen Muxue wore a white dress, her long hair reached her waist, and her whole person looked like a kind of Jasmine's light elegance. Dude, look, there's a beauty. Crap. This quality is so high. A goddess. Do you know which department she's from? This face, a proper school beauty. Mom, I think I'm in love. Want to go up and ask for her? Forget it. It's no good if you're like this. Chen Muxue, dressed like this today, has a high turnover rate. Many boys are staring at Chen Muxue with a hot look in their eyes. Brothers, I advise you to dye this heart. She is Chen Muxue. She's a junior high school flower girl, and I've heard that she has a rich second-generation boyfriend who drives a Lamborghini Bull. She's Chen Muxue. No wonder Mr. Ding Kai is so mesmerized. Her face value, to be honest, she's a goddess in the entertainment industry. I've read about her in the school bar. She's not only good looking, she's also good at school. Is the school flower is also the school bully, the key to their boyfriend is even more awesome, driving is a million level of supercars, we are this kind of loser man, people do not look with a glance. In front of Jiangqing Normal University, a McLaren Senna stopped. Holy shit! This is a McLaren Senna? How can a third-tier city like Jiangqing have such a top-of-the-line supercar? It's really a McLaren Senna, I thought my eyes were blurry. This car is even more awesome than that Lamborghini Bull last time. I remember this car is limited to 500 units worldwide, priced at over $20 million. The point is, you can't buy this car just because you have money. The Lamborghini Big Bull is nothing. I mean, the Bull is just a brother to the Senna. Look at you, you're looking down on the Lamborghini Bull. Isn't that Chen Muxue? No way, this McLaren Senna is not here to pick her up, is it? First there was the Lamborghini Bull, now there's the McLaren Senna. To be honest, I'm sour. I feel like a lemon. There are so many rich people, why can't there be one more? No, that man seems to be Chen Muxue's rich second-generation boyfriend. That's right, how can he have just one supercar? It's really envious. Chu Xian got down from the car after parking it. He stood in front of the front end of the car, wearing a pair of sunglasses, with his hands stuck in his pockets. The whole person looked very casual. The key was that Chu Xian's face value was also very high, and quite a few girls passing by were peeking at Chu Xian. He really is so handsome. It's my ideal type. Sisters, I'm going to be unable to resist. What kind of girls are talking about such a handsome guy? If he were my boyfriend, I'd make sure he couldn't get out of bed for a month. Do you want to tire the cow to death? Chen Muxue came out of the school and saw Chu Xian standing in front of the McLaren Senna at a glance. She didn't know about cars, but she remembered that the supercar that Chu Xian drove last time was black, and this supercar in front of her was purple, looking cool, but admittedly, tawdry. Brother Xian, you changed your car? Chen Mushui came close to Chu Xian's side and softly inquired. Well, before that supercar is ready to give it to a friend, I won't drive that car in the future. Ah. Hearing Chu Xian say that he was going to give the car to a friend, Chen Mushui, sitting on the passenger seat of the McLaren Senna, she couldn't help but think wildly again. Is it for a girlfriend? I don't know why, Chen Mushui asked a little frustrated. However, as soon as the words were spoken, she regretted it. First of all, she was not in a boyfriend-girlfriend relationship with Chu Xian, and for her to ask that, there was some feeling of jealousy in it. In fact, the car was Chu Xian's, who he wanted to send was his freedom, she shouldn't have asked. No, it's my hair little, recently I cooperated with him over at Sui Plaza intending to open a seafood buffet restaurant. I promised him that when he opens the second store, I'll give him that Lamborghini bull. The corner of Chu Xian's mouth curled up, looking at the side of Chen Mushui's face smiled and said, besides, I don't have a girlfriend When Chen Mushui heard Chu Xian say that he didn't have a girlfriend, her body slightly trembled and her face couldn't help but blush. If I had a girlfriend, how could I still let you pretend to be my girlfriend and return home with me? Chu Xian laughed and said. Right oh. Chen Mushui pursed her lips, the corners of her mouth rising slightly, her heart bursting with joy. A pretend girlfriend is also considered a girlfriend, right? Chen Mushui couldn't help but think this way in her heart. You coming home with me is considered to be a big favor to me. I don't know what you like, you just consume today, I'll pay the bill. Chu Xian parked the car in the parking space of Sui Plaza. From the car down, Chu Xian looked at Chen Mushui and said with a soft smile. Brother Xian, I also don't have anything I want besides, you also helped me once last time That was different. Chu Xian looked at Chen Mushui, you this time is with me back home to see the parents' sacrifice is relatively large. When Chen Mushui heard Chu Xian say meet the parents, the whole person was also slightly stunned, and then a touch of scarlet appeared on her face. Today is Saturday, the foot traffic of the Sui Square is huge. Chu Xian's heart is also very joyful, after all, accompanying Chen Mushui to shop while also being able to pick up a whole bunch of red envelopes in the meantime, that's really don't be too cool. Ding, congratulations to the host to pick up a red packet, get 100,000 yuan in cash. Ding, congratulations to the host to pick up a red packet, get 100,000 yuan in cash. Ding, congratulations to the host to pick up a red packet, get a 200,000 yuan in cash. Ding, congratulations to the host to pick up a red packet, get $1 million in cash. Chu Xian followed Chen Mushui around, and in not too much time, he had picked up 50 or 60 red packets. Chen Mushui did shop around a lot, but as soon as she saw the prices on the labels on the clothes, she flinched again. Usually the clothes she wears are bought at the street stalls around the university town, and a dress that is even more expensive is just over 100. Brother Xian, the clothes over here are so expensive. Chen Mushui looked at Chu Xian and spat out her tongue. A penny for a penny, there is a reason why it is expensive. Chu Xian smiled and said, I see that this dress in your hand is very good, will you try it on and see the effect? Then I will go and try it on. Chu Xian nodded towards Chen Mushui. Coming out from the fitting room, Chu Xian's gaze was always fixed on Chen Mushui. It had to be said that expensive things really only had one drawback, and that was that they were expensive. Originally, Chen Mushui wearing her own white dress was already stunning enough, but the cyan-colored long dress that she was wearing now almost didn't hook Chu Xian's soul away as soon as she revealed herself. Beautiful. Chu Xian couldn't help but utter a word of praise, it fits well, the key is very compatible with your temperament. Chu Xian could not stop looking at Chen Mushui. Chen Mushui was looking at some embarrassed, lowered his head, red face, bit his lips, murmured softly, but it is so expensive. $5,800 are enough for my tuition for a school year. Chu Xian did not hear what Chen Mushui said, he looked directly at the shopper beside him and said, wrap this skirt up. When the shopper heard Chu Xian say wrap it up, she brightened up and hurriedly answered, yes, sir. Chen Mushui was somewhat embarrassed, but she did not say anything else. She instinctively wanted to refuse Chu Xian to buy something for herself, however, once she thought that her repeated refusals might draw Chu Xian's displeasure, she stopped refusing. I didn't see you carry a bag before, people say that a bag cures all ills, I'll send you another bag. Chu Xian finished, directly pulling Chen Mushui's hand towards the side of the Dior counter. Chen Mushui was pulled by Chu Xian's hand, body bones in an instant on the soft, almost did not lean on Chu Xian's body. This bag is quite compatible with your temperament, do you like it? Like, but too expensive. Shen Wuxue said. Chu Xian's gaze looked over. That bag she really is the price of 48,888 yuan. Let her daunted. If you like it, take it. Chu Xian does not care about the price, but also only more than $40,000, there is nothing to hesitate. Chu Xian said directly to the shopper at the counter, this bag, take a look at us. The shopper looked up and down Chu Xian, and did not dare to be slow, straight down. Chu Xian looked at the bag. Can work in the Dior counter. Shopper, eyesight is still there. Chu Xian body wearing this outfit without hundreds of thousands of dollars is certainly not down. Not bad, Mu Shui, I told you it goes well with your temperament. Chu Xian smiled and said, we'll take this bag, open the invoice. Seeing Chu Xian so dry, the shopper's attitude fawned a little more. Brother Xian, I let you break the bank today. Mu Shui, you are too polite with me. Hearing Chen Mushui say that, Chu Xian pretended to say with some displeasure. Brother Xian, I don't mean that, I just have some. Feeling that Chu Xian's tone was a bit unpleasant, Chen Mushui panicked a bit and hurriedly explained. However, the more she explained, the more confused she became, and she stuttered a bit. Mu Shui, you are too formal. Chu Xian laughed and did not intend to tease her anymore. Hungry or not, let's find a restaurant to eat. Chapter 16. Master Xian sends out Carnival X100. Chu Xian could feel Chen Mushui's nervousness and constraints when he stayed by his side. He looked at Chen Mushui, came close to her, and asked in a soft voice. I know that there is a pot rice on their side, the flavor is especially good. Good, go and taste how the flavor is. Chu Xian not without favor responded. In fact, Chen Mushui had some regrets after she finished speaking. Although Chu Xian acted very easygoing, but he was a rich second generation, could he really be able to eat a $100 or $200 portion of boiled rice? However, Chu Xian did not have any dissatisfaction with Chen Mushui's suggestion to go eat boiled rice. The expression on his face was very natural, and even when he looked at Chen Mushui, there was more than a hint of doting on his face. While walking all the way over, Chu Xian picked up quite a few red packets along the way. Ding, congratulations to the host for picking up a red packet, obtaining cash of 100,000 yuan. Ding, congratulations to the host for picking up a red packet, obtaining cash of 200,000 yuan. Ding, congratulations to the host for picking up a red packet, obtaining cash of 100,000. Ding, congratulations to the host for picking up a red packet, obtaining cash of 500,000 yuan. The red packets around the ordinary people, the cash rewards are basically all 100,000 or 200,000 yuan, and although the amount is not much, there are quite a lot of them. The reasoning of gathering less into more Chu Xian still understood, and since he only needed to lift his arms and stretch his hands to obtain these cash rewards, he was naturally happy to do so. Cool. After finishing his meal, Chu Xian stretched his back. The taste of this boiled rice was indeed very good, no wonder their business was so good. Hearing Chu Xian say that, Chen Mushui pursed her lips, and a hint of scarlet appeared on her face. Brother Xian, he really isn't quite the same as those rich second generation. Chen Mushui thought this in her heart. Eat and drink enough and accompany me for another stroll? Chu Xian looked at Chen Mushui and said, small half a year did not return home, this time the mid-autumn festival to go back, have to give mom and dad to buy some gifts, you help me reference to buy what gifts? I'm not sure what to do. Chen Mushui nodded and answered softly. Sui Plaza first floor, Lao Fengshan gold counter. Big gold chain, gold bracelet, gold ring, gold necklace. These are all wrapped up for me. The shopper answered down with a face full of excitement, thinking in her heart, today this is to meet a tycoon. Chu Xian's shopping style is indeed very much like the mob. Do not look at the number of grams, do not look at the price tag, just use their fingers to point to the goods they fancy. This jadeite bracelet is good, take it out and look at it. The shopper took a look at the emerald bracelet that Chu Xian was pointing at, and her heart was even more joyful. Mu Shui, will you try it on? Chen Mushui followed Chu Xian's side. Watching Chu Xian's crazy shopping in the gold store for a while was also a bit confused. Only after hearing Chu Xian speak to himself did Chen Mushui come back to her senses. She glanced at the price tag and was immediately a little nervous in her heart. Sale price, 108,000 yuan. Brother Xian. Chen Mushui had just opened her mouth when Chu Xian directly took her right hand and gently slipped that jadeite bracelet onto her wrist. Not bad, it suits you very well. The corner of Chu Xian's mouth curled up as he turned his head to look at the shopper at the counter and said, this bracelet is also wrapped up. Good, boss. Coming out of the Lao Fengshan gold store, Chen Mushui was still a little confused. In just a moment, Chu Xian had spent millions inside. My mom loves gold. Xu Xian carried a large bag and looked at Chen Muxue and said with a smile. Brother Xian, this emerald bracelet is too expensive, why don't you give this to auntie as well? No, where is the reason to take back what was given out? You feel free to wear it. More than 100,000 yuan of things, Xu Xian has not put on the heart. I'll send you back to school first, I'll pick you up the day after tomorrow afternoon. Chen Muxue lowered her head and hemmed with a red face. The first time Chen Muxue returned to the dormitory, she was surrounded by her roommates. Muxue, what's the situation? You were adopted by him? My god, this is Dior's new bag this year, selling for more than 40,000 ah. Honestly, Muxue, did you give it to him? And this skirt, 5,800 a piece of mu. Chen Muxue pursed her red lips. I do not know what the situation now. Today he let me accompany him shopping, these are the gifts he sent me. Sour. I feel like I'm turning into a lemonade essence. Muxue, you really didn't give it to him? Really? No, I just held hands with him. No way. No way. He's so innocent when you say that, Michelle. Muxue, let's have dinner with him sometime, and we'll help you two get together. Hearing her roommate say that, Chen Muxue's pretty face flushed. He's quite busy, he doesn't always have time. TSK, Muxue, you're turning your elbow outward. This isn't even together yet and you're protecting it? He's a rich kid. What's he so busy with? Isn't the Mid-Autumn Festival in a couple of days? Why don't you bring him out and we'll check him out for you? Not for the Mid-Autumn Festival. Chen Muxue tilted her head and said quickly. Why not for the Mid-Autumn Festival? The three roommates looked at Chen Muxue and couldn't help but frown and ask, didn't we agree before that we wouldn't go home for the Mid-Autumn Festival? The situation has changed. Mid-Autumn Festival, I want to pretend to be his girlfriend to accompany him back to his hometown. The more Chen Muxue said, the smaller her voice became, and the more she said, the redder her face became. I'm going. Holy shit. Crap. Shocked. Petrified. The gazes of Chen Muxue's three roommates all gathered on Chen Muxue for a moment. Pretending to be his girlfriend? And go back home with him to meet his parents? Otherwise, you two can just pretend to be real. Returning to her senses, Chen Muxue's three roommates spoke to each other, while Chen Muxue lowered her head, biting her lower lip, and couldn't help but think in her heart that it wouldn't be a bad idea to pretend to be his girlfriend, but she didn't know what Brother Xian was thinking. Chen Muxue can feel Xu Xian on his own ideas, but Xu Xian did not confess to himself, his own a girl, cannot be a little bit of reserve or not it. Moreover, when she thought of the gap between herself and Xu Xian, she still had some inferiority complex in her heart. After Xu Xian's side returned to the villa, he first sent a message to Chen Muxue. Muxue, I'm very happy to have you shopping with me today. When Chen Muxue saw the text message sent by Xu Xian, her face couldn't help but blush a little. Brother Xian, thank you for the gift you sent me, I like it very much. In addition, accompanying you to go shopping, I am also very happy. Inside the villa, seeing Chen Muxue's second return message was in a great mood, directly instructing Shen Weiwei to send a red packet to all the servants in the villa. Shen Weiwei stood beside Xu Xian, nodded and answered, okay, Master Xian. There were 10 servants in the villa, 5 cooks, 10 security personnel, plus Shen Weiwei the personal butler one, just to send out a red packet, one time it would be 260,000 yuan. However, for Xu Xian's current fortune of several $billion, it was just a small amount of money. The servants who received the red packets privately honored Xu Xian even more, but privately they would also get together to talk about gossip. Master Xian must be in love. I don't know what kind of girl can be so lucky to get Master Xian's favor. The corners of Master Xian's mouth are rising a bit too much today. The smile on his face is about to overflow. I heard Master Xian is going back home for the Mid-Autumn Festival? That's right. It's been confirmed. We'll have 3 days vacation, and I heard Master Xian is giving each of us another big red packet. I'm so happy to be working under Master Xian. My classmate was bragging to me that she got into a big factory and signed a contract with a salary of $300,000 a year, and I was really envious at that time. But now I don't envy her at all. But we have to work hard and not let Master Xian down. Of course. If Master Xian tells me to go east, I'll never go west. Weiwei, I'm going back to my hometown for the Mid-Autumn Festival the day after tomorrow, so go out and do some shopping. Xu Xian came out of his hometown right after New Year's Eve, and he hasn't been back home in the last half year. This time home is also considered to be a homecoming. Xu Xian is going to let Shen Weiwei purchase some more Maotai, china to give to family and friends at home. Xu Xian's hometown Shoucheng is considered an 18th-line small county, but has a long history and cultural heritage, and in recent years under the leadership of the county's leadership team is building a tourist and cultural city. The potential for development is very huge. Xu Xian went home this time. 1 is to reunite with his parents, 2, he is also ready to invest in building his hometown. Understood, Master Xian. Shen Weiwei nodded her head and responded, and immediately instructed the servants in the villa who were purchasing household items to do this. Weiwei, you go rest, there are them over here. Xu Xian sat on the sofa, a cigarette lit in his hand, took a deep breath, raised his eyes to look at Shen Weiwei and said with a smile. Shen Weiwei gave a hem and retreated. As the private butler within the villa, she was in total charge of many tasks within the villa, and as Xu Xian had recently set up quite a few tasks for her, she had been in a state of back-to-back rotation for the last few days. Tired for sure, but one could not help but admit that she had grown quite a bit recently, and her work ability had been greatly improved. Having nothing to do, Xu Xian opened the Shake app, and just after refreshing the interface, Xu Xian saw that it was connecting with someone to play PK. Everyone's big brothers, let's crowdfund this game of PK. Is an outdoor anchor, and at this moment, she's live broadcasting by the river. The person she's PKing with is also an anchor with millions of followers, but that one is a face value anchor, and there are a lot of big brothers guarding the room. Thank you for the rocket sent by Brother Chang. Thank you for the carnival sent by Brother Morningstar. Numa, love you to death. The big brothers of the opposite anchors all fired in unison, and for a while, Chorchor's PK progress bar was directly crushed by the opposite side. Some people are happy and some people are sad. Chorchor was still selling crowdfunding in the live broadcast, but when she saw that people were sending rockets and carnivals, her whole body directly collapsed like a deflated ball. Crap. The big brother on the other side is also too fierce, right? This round of PK will definitely be lost. Rocket plus carnival, the opposite side is a bit tough. The face value of the other side's anchor is a bit high, so let's go over and pay attention first. Our Choo-Choo's face isn't bad either. And our Choo-Choo's face is plain, so she definitely looks better than the opposite side's face with filters on. Choo-Choo's live room, the number of people online at this moment is 169, the pop-up screen is quite active. Choo-Choo pursed her lips and raised her eyes just in time to see Xu Xian enter the live broadcast room. Originally, all of them had already resigned themselves to their fate. Chorchor instantly raised his spirit. Welcome me Master Xian into the live broadcast room. Master Xian, save me. Choo-Choo pouted at the camera, and the fans in the live broadcast room instantly boiled up. Crap? What did I see? Choo-Choo is actually pampering herself? Is this still the same Chorchor I know? Master Xian? What a familiar LD. I remember. This is a real top-notch rich kid. He's driving a McLaren Senna? Really? Master Xian's car is a McLaren Senna? Why would I lie to you? All of Chor Meng's fans know that. Just 2 days ago, when Choo-Choo live-streamed her PK, Master Xian gave away 10 carnivals in one go. Looking at the pop-ups in the live broadcast, Xu Xian's mouth smiled slightly, and immediately casually sent out 10 carnivals, instantly helping turn the situation around for Choo-Choo. When the special effects of the carnival floated on the screen in the live broadcast room, the pop-ups in the live broadcast room instantly exploded. Crap! Master Xian is worthy of being a top-tier rich second generation, and he gave out 10 carnivals in one go. Bullshit. Cho is well-lived. Master Xian alone can withstand 10 big brothers across the street. Holy shit. Master Xian gave away a month's salary. You're good at Versailles. You make 30,000 a month. Why don't you upvote the anchor? The pop-ups in the opposite broadcast room also exploded. It's bad. The opposite anchor is coming to the big brother. This is too fierce, right? 10 carnivals smashed down, who can catch this? How? Yutong, today is your birthday. If you want to charge, let's charge together. Even if the opposite big brother is fierce, we'll help you win this game of PK. Yes, Yutong, I've prepared 20 carnivals today, and I was originally going to play slowly. But now as long as you nod your head, I'll definitely help you win this game. The anchor on the other side is called Yutong. Her face value is really high, and it's her birthday today, so there are quite a few big brothers cooped up in the live room. Then let's punch it? Yutong also very much want to win this game PK. After all, this is the first game of PK she opened today. PK time is still 5 minutes. With Yutong's a punch shouted out, the many fans in her live room is also all together to power up. It can't be? The opposite side of the drug, so fierce? I just went to the opposite side and strolled around, and today seems to be her birthday, and there are indeed quite a few big brothers guarding the opposite side's live room. No wonder it's so fierce. Xu Xian saw that Chuchu's PK progress bar was again crushed by the opposite anchor, while he frowned and gently tapped his finger on top of Carnival. Master Xian sends out Carnival X1. Master Xian sends out Carnival X2. Master Xian sends out Carnival X3. Master Xian sends out Carnival X99. Master Xian sends out Carnival X100. Although the PK streak of the two anchors is still going on, no matter if it's Cho or the opposite side's anchor, Yuton, they are silent for a while. Cho was shocked, and the opposite anchor Yuton was shocked by Xu Xian's dominance. However, the pop-ups in the two people's live broadcast room were unusually active. Crap. People numb, in my lifetime I actually saw the Carnival X100? Master Xian is really too fierce crap. I haven't even swiped 100 in a row with a small heart. Let's see, one Carnival costs $3,000, 100 is $300,000. Mud, I only make $3,000 a month. I'm numb. This big brother across the street is a real big brother. He's really tough. Yuton, let's just admit it. This Master Xian is so fierce, we can't even beat him with all of us. Master Xian? Looks like we've added another hero to the jitterbug scene.